Hey guys and welcome back to my channel. This is part 1 of what if Naruto had the powers of Sonic the Hedgehog and got a harem. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and also go and support the author, link in description. It was raining. When it rains, it can mean many things: birth, rebirth, death and destruction. This rain however means only one thing: destruction. Or better yet, the final battle that's currently taking place. In a deserted area, two young men are seen on opposite sides of each other as they slowly stood up from the ground. The area around them had multiple craters and fissures surrounding them, along with some fire that was slowly dying due to the rain. Both young men's clothes have been nearly burned or ripped off. They were covered in blood, from the cuts and bruises they sustained from each other. One of the young men has spiky red streaked blonde hair and whiskers on his cheeks. He glares up at his opponent, spitting out some blood that was in his mouth. He grins weakly and tiredly. Damn. The young man spoke up. This fight is even longer than the one I had with Sasuke a little while ago. Though we had used up all of our chakra at that point and lost our arms as result. As that's so, his opponent breathed out, wiping the blood from his lips. He has long shaggy dark red spiky hair with black streaks in them. He too has whisker marks on his face and he had cold blue eyes. Well then, guess it's time we finally ended this battle. A dark grin forms on his face. And you'll lose more than just an arm this time, Naruto. The same grin forms on Naruto's face along with a matching glare present. As that's so, well then, bring it on. He and his opponent gave out yells as energy erupted from their bodies. The two then charged at each other, the yellow aura for Naruto and the black aura for his opponent, clashing against one another. If one were to see so far in the distance, then they could see two streaks of light clashing into each other as the area around them shook due to such intensity of the clash. As they continued to clash, Naruto begins to see his life flash before his eyes while hearing his friends call out to him. You can do it, Naruto. Give it all you've got. Get back home safe. Don't die, Naruto. Hurry up back, man. We know you can win. I believe in you. After this last clash, they fell to the ground on either side of a large crater. Just like before with his battle with Sasuke, Naruto could feel he was almost out of chakra and he could tell that his opponent was in the same boat. He can also tell that they also got the same amount of chaos energy. Looks like if he wants this battle to end once and for all, he's gonna have to give it all he's got, even if it kills him. Or even if he disappears entirely. Naruto and his double weakly got up, though it did take some difficulty doing so. Luckily they were able to stand on their feet, though they were kind of wobbly. They took deep breaths as they glared at one another. Naruto's eyes, full of brightness and warmth, stared into his double's eyes, full of coldness. Naruto soon starts to charge up a Rasengan as his opponent did the same thing. At the same, Naruto's inhibitor rings fell off his wrists and he was covered in yellow-reddish chaos energy while his double was covered in purple-blackish chaos energy as well. Naruto looks down at the star charm in his pocket, recalling what she said to him before he left, bringing a soft smile to his face as he closed his eyes in remembrance. Don't forget, wherever you go, I'm always with you. So please, come back to us, to me. I promise, I will come back to you, to all of you. Naruto opens his eyes and smirks confidently. Let's finish this. The two gave a giant leap as they charged at each other once more. As they did, they transformed into their super forms one last time, one of positive and one of negative. Naruto oh. Nazu. In that last moment, just as their Rasengan was gonna clash, Naruto also recalled the last 3 words she said to him before he left. I love you. Both Rasengans clashed with each other, bringing forth a powerful blast of force that wiped out everything around them. As the clash continued, the two started to push one another back while pouring out more and more chaos power into their jutsu. The two gave out battle roars as a bright light soon erupted from the clashing Rasengan. I love you too, was Naruto's last thoughts as he and Nezo vanished into the light. Hold up. Okay, so, I'm guessing you guys are wondering, what the heck? And, what's going on? Am I right? Of course I am. And I'm also guessing you want to know what happened, right? Well, I'll tell ya, but it's a long story. So try to keep up, since I tend to move very quickly. I guess I should start from the beginning. After all, this is my story. Ultimate 1. Introducing Naruto Uzumaki. The world's ultimate ninja. Chapter cover. In a white empty space stood Naruto Uzumaki. He has a large scroll on his back and wore a happy grin on his face as he twirls a gold ring on his finger. Behind him stood Sonic, Shadow and Silver with their backs turned, but they looked at Naruto over their shoulders with smirks on their faces. This is the story about a very special boy who lives in Konoha, also known as the village hidden in the leaf. 13 years ago, a giant 9-tailed fox appeared out of nowhere and it began to attack the village. It made lots of chaos and killed many innocent people along with the shinobi of the village. However, one man was able to stand up to the beast and managed to fight it. But he sacrificed himself and sealed a newborn baby. This man was known as Minato Namikaze, the Hidden Leaf's Yellow Flash, and the fourth Hokage. As for the newborn baby in which the Nine Tails is sealed in, his name is Naruto Uzumaki and he is the son Minato Namikaze and the red-hot-blooded habanero Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto was supposed to be treated as a hero who helped defeat the demon fox, but the villagers accused him of being the reincarnation of demon who attacked their village and killed their family and friends. While he was growing up, many of the villagers and shinobi would always ignore him and look at him with anger, contempt or fear. Whenever he walked around the village, the citizens would always ignore and glare at him behind his back and whisper something. Naruto never had any friends because the parents told their children to stay away from him. He only had one person who treats him nicely and always treats him to his favorite food, which is ramen, and that is the third Hokage himself, who he would always call old man. There was also the Ichirakus, who owns the ramen restaurant he always goes to as he met them on a rainy day. However, he did become friends with someone who became very precious and important to him. But she vanished. He looked all over the village for her and tried to leave, but nobody didn't care, except for the old man. He grew to hate them and would sometimes attack them. It was sometime after Naruto started the academy, he met this girl and became best friends with her. However, 2 days after his birthday, she vanished right in front of him. After that, Naruto just became violent and would attack anybody who said anything bad about her or try to take the gift he got from her on his birthday. But after a talk with the old man, Naruto returned to his normal prank-loving knuckleheaded self. But some of the villagers along with the shinobi were still fearful of him, especially some of the academy students, because of his behavior. So Naruto has been working hard to get everyone to acknowledge him. Speaking of the academy, this year would be the last time where those who were at the academy would become ninjas. All Naruto had to do was to pass a genin exam, which would be his one step closer to being a ninja, and then being the Hokage so that the villagers would acknowledge him and not treat him like trash. And to search for his missing best friend. But sadly that failed when he couldn't do a simple clone jutsu and failed. Just when his hopes of reaching his dream would die down, his other sensei Mizuki told him that there was another way for him to pass. All Naruto had to do in order to pass was to steal the forbidden scroll of seals and go far away from the village and go to a house that was there. We currently see the blonde hair, six-whiskered cheek, orange jumpsuit wearing, soon-to-be Hokage, panting in exhaustion from trying to master the jutsu that was in the scroll, which was strapped to his back. Naruto. The voice of Iruka Umino shouted, staring down at him. Oh, hee. Hey Iruka-sensei. What are you doing here? Naruto asked, smiling sheepishly and rubbing the back of his head. What am I doing here? What are you doing stealing the scroll? Iruka asked, waiting for an answer for him. Hee. Guess you caught me, huh? And I only had time to master one jutsu, Naruto said sheepishly, earning a surprised look from his teacher, big brother. Iruka looked surprised for a moment before he saw how dirty Naruto's clothes is. He's been practicing. Listen Iruka-sensei, I'm gonna show you this amazing new technique and you're gonna let me graduate and everything is going to be okay. That's the way it goes, right? Naruto asked happily, causing Iruka to get a confused expression. Huh, where'd you get that idea from? Mizuki-sensei told me about it, believe it. Naruto exclaimed as he turns around, showing the scroll. He told me where to find the scroll in this place. He trailed off, seeing the shocked expression on his teacher's face. Mizuki? Iruka asked. He couldn't understand it. Why would Mizuki? The Chunin instructor heard something and turned his head, seeing kunais heading towards them. Look out, he shouted as he pushed Naruto out of the way and got hit by the kunais. I see you found our little hideaway. Naruto and Iruka turned to the voice and saw a silver-haired Chunin with 2 giant shurikens on his back and an evil grin on his face standing on a tree branch. So that's the way it is, huh? I should have known you'd be behind this, Mizuki. Iruka said, ignoring the pain he was in from the kunais. Huh, Naruto asked, looking back and forth between his teachers in confusion. Naruto. Give me the scroll, Mizuki told him. Wait, what's going on? Naruto asked. What just happened? Why did Mizuki-sensei attack Iruka-sensei? Naruto. Don't let Mizuki get the scroll. Iruka told him also. It contains forbidden jutsu that can put this village in grave danger. Mizuki used you to get the scroll for himself to gain power. What? A shocked Naruto asked as he looked to Mizuki. This was all a trick. Naruto. Mizuki spoke, grinning at him. Iruka is just trying to scare you so that you won't have the scroll. He saw the confused look on his face and watched him turn to Iruka. Stop lying, Iruka said, taking out the last kunai out of his shoulder. Don't let him get to you, Naruto. Mizuki chuckled evilly. Oh, I'll tell you who's really lying. No, Mizuki. They've been lying to you your whole life, Naruto. Since the decree that was made 12 years ago. Decree? Naruto asked. Everyone knows about this except for you. What is this decree? Why does everyone else know about it? Naruto asked, wanting to know. Don't tell him it's forbidden. Iruka shouted. The decree is that no one can tell you that the nine-tailed fox is inside you. Naruto's eyes widened in shock and disbelief as a gasp escaped his lips. The fox spirit that killed Iruka's parents and destroyed our village has taken over your body. You are the nine-tailed fox. Mizuki exclaimed. Stop it, Iruka roared. Naruto just stood there in complete shock and as realization hit him. The whisperings, the stares, everyone ignoring him, all that because he had the nine tails sealed inside him. He didn't even notice that Mizuki took out one of his shuriken while laughing. It's time for you to die, Naruto, he said as he launched his shuriken at Naruto, watching him still standing there. No way, the nine tails is inside me, he asked himself as time seems to have stopped in an instant. Naruto opened his eyes and saw that he was inside a white space. He blinked and looked around before his eyes widened comically. What is this? Where am I? He starts to run around in circles, waving his arms up and down frantically. Hey, a male voice called out. How did I get here? Why am I here? Naruto asked as he frantically looked around trying to find an exit of some sort. Excuse me. Another male voice spoke up as well, but was ignored as Naruto continued to scream. Am I dead or something? He's ignoring us. A third voice sighed in annoyance. I think he's too busy freaking out. Hey, Naruto Uzumaki, chill out. Naruto instantly stopped freaking out and looked around the white space, a comical freaked out expression on his face. Huh, who said that? Up here. Naruto looked up and saw three glowing balls of light coming towards him. One was cobalt blue, the second was crimson red, and the third one was pure white, a cyan aura surrounding it. Naruto blinks and rubs his eyes, looking at the three floating orbs. What the heck, are you guys talking? Yeah, though it was kind of hard with you and the screaming. The white ball said. Naruto laughed sheepishly at that as he scratched his head. Sorry. He blinks at them and points at them angrily. Hey, I have every right to be freaked out. I don't even know where the heck I am, believe it. I don't even know who or what you floating orb things are. Kids got a point. The blue ball chuckled. Whatever. The crimson ball said in annoyance. He was acting like an idiot running around in circles like that. Who are you calling an idiot? Naruto demanded as he came up to the crimson ball, a red vein on his head. You obviously. The crimson ball said as Naruto growled. This thing was starting to sound like Sasuke. That does it. I'm gonna kick your butt. Naruto tried to punch it, but Red moved away and knocked him down by hitting his head. The Uzumaki blinks and looked up at Red. That all you got? Naruto growled, comical veins appearing on his head. He stood up, getting ready to charge at Red again. Whoa. White exclaimed as he and Blue backed Crimson and Naruto away from each other. We're not here for a fight. We came here to finally talk to ya, Naruto. Hey, how do you guys know my name? And who are you? Naruto asked, raising an eyebrow at him. Hold on a sec, dude. We need a change of scenery. Blue said, much to Naruto's confusion. The whisker blonde heard something and looked down to see the white space change into a green grassy field. He looks up and saw the sky had appeared and the sun was shining brightly on him. Whoa, what's this? Naruto asked as he looked around. This is Green Hill. It's from our world. Blue spoke up from behind him. Huh. Naruto turns around to face the three balls of light, but what he saw shocked him comically as a dumbfounded, confused expression appeared on his face. What he saw wasn't spirits but instead was three hedgehogs. Hey, the blue one waves at him. Naruto screamed as he examined them. The hedgehog who spoke first is Blue. He has emerald jade eyes, red sneakers with a white stripe on them, and each sporting a golden buckle. He also had white gloves, his muzzle and arms were peach-colored. The second one was black. He had red streaks on his spiky quill, red eyes, and white fur on his chest. He had on white gloves with rings around him. And his sneakers were white, black, red and yellow. The third and last one was more silver-colored. He has white fur on his chest surrounding his neck with yellow eyes and tan skin on his muzzle. He wears white gloves with cyan circles on them with lines sticking out of the bottom leading to his golden bracelets accented in cyan. The tops of his boots are of a similar fashion with a red gem set in gold. The rest of his boots are navy blue, white and cyan. He has two large spines at the back of his head, while at the front of his forehead there are 5 distinct spines flared up and back, the 2 final ones covering up most of his ears. Holy crap! Talking hedgehogs! Naruto yelled in disbelief, backing away from them, which made the blue hedgehog chuckle sheepishly. Quote. Should have seen that one coming. The silver one deadpanned. Moron. The black one muttered as he shook his head, though Naruto heard him. Okay, Who the heck are you guys? Naruto demanded as he stepped back. And how are you talking? My name's Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog. The blue hedgehog introduced himself, grinning and pointing at himself with a thumbs up. I'm Shadow the Hedgehog. The black hedgehog introduced himself, crossing his arms. And my name is Silver the Hedgehog. The silver hedgehog introduced himself, waving. Sonic, Shadow, and Silver. Naruto looked at the hedgehogs as he called out their names. He then shook his head, holding it. Okay, I'm dreaming. This has to be a dream. Dude, if this was a dream, your dream specifically, then there would be a million bowls of ramen everywhere. Sonic deadpanned. Naruto giggled as drool escaped his lips. Oh yeah, a million bowls of ramen. He slapped himself and wiped the drool away. Alright, if this isn't a dream, then how did I get here? We're inside your mind, genius. Shadow replied in an annoyed tone. My mind. I have 3 hedgehogs inside my head. Naruto asked before Shadow punched him upside the head. Ow. Will you shut up and focus? The black hedgehog asked. Okay, sheesh. Naruto exclaimed, rubbing his head. So if we're inside my mind, then where did you come from? The hedgehogs looked at each other and back at Naruto. The funny thing is, we don't know. Silver said. Huh. Naruto tilted his head to the side. What he means is that we don't remember. Sonic said, scratching his head in confusion. It's faint, but I somehow remember that we were fighting something. After that, everything became blank. Shadow said, shaking his head. Then we found ourselves here with a giant 9-tailed fox behind a cage. Silver finished as Naruto's eyes widened in shock and disbelief. That guy's got some serious attitude problems. Sonic said, putting his arms behind his head. Tried to have a nice conversation with him and he gets all angry. Saying how he's the oh-so mighty 9-tails fox, and that he's going to rip us to pieces. Guy needs to take a chill pill. If that paper wasn't on the cage, I'd teach that overgrown fox a lesson on who's the strongest there is. Shadow said. So it's really true. Naruto spoke up, looking down sadly, getting the hedgehog's attention. It's really sealed inside of me. He blinks and looks around fearfully. Wait a second, where is it? Yeah, Sonic trailed off. Let's just say we sent you to another part of your mind, so that way we can have a friendly chat with ya. Oh, Naruto sighed in relief. And we seriously gotta be honest with you, Naruto. Silver spoke up. We've been inside of you the second you were born. Huh, Naruto had a dumbfounded expression. You guys were inside of me after I was born. Yup, right before the 9-tails was sealed inside you. Sonic exclaimed. In other words, we saw what happened when that masked man came and attacked your parents. Shadow added, and that made Naruto's eyes widen at the mention of his parents. You saw my mom and dad. The preteen asked as he grabbed Shadow's shoulders and began to shake him. What happened to them? Please tell me. I want to know. A vein appeared above Shadow's head as he flipped Naruto over his shoulder. Ow. If you really want to know, then shut up and listen. Shadow said, looking down at Naruto with half-lidded eyes. This guy is too much like Sasuke. Naruto thought. Okay, so this masked man found out that your mom, Kushina Uzumaki, was the second host of the 9-tails. Silver started as Naruto sat up with widened eyes. Just moments after you were born, he popped out of nowhere and killed the third Hokage's wife and another woman. After that, he held you hostage and placed paper bombs at you. Your dad managed to catch you and teleported to another location where you'll be safe. Shadow continued. But that was what the man wanted. He wanted your father out of the way so that he can kidnap your mother and get the 9-tails out of her. He looked down. And your father was too late to stop him. But he did save your mother and brought her to you, so that she can keep you safe. After the fox was unleashed, the masked creep did something to him and sent him to attack the Leaf Village. Sonic finished. Your dad and the creep fought each other and he up and disappeared, leaving the fox to destroy the village as many people, your father included, fought him. So what happened next? Did the fourth Hokage came and fought also? Naruto asked. The hedgehogs looked at each other then back to him. About that, Sonic said, scratching his head, a conflicting expression on his face. See, the thing is, after leading the 9-tails further away from the village, your mom volunteered to have it resealed inside her, but the fourth Hokage denied it and decided to have it seal in you. But I don't understand, why didn't my dad say anything to stop him? Naruto demanded, a bit angry that his father didn't stop the fourth Hokage to seal the 9-tails inside him. Because he is your father, Naruto. Silver answered. Naruto gasped as his eyes widened in complete and utter shock and disbelief. What? The fourth Hokage is your dad? Sonic said softly. Naruto didn't say anything as his eyes widened further from the news. His father is the fourth Hokage. The same man he looked up to as the greatest hero in the village was his father all along. Various emotions ran through his eyes as he looked down, hair shadowing his eyes. With the Nine Tails chakra being too immense to seal in an infant, your father made it so that he can cut the beast's chakra in half, sealing the yin half in himself. Shadow continued. The Nine Tails realized what was going to happen was about to kill you. But your parents used themselves as shields and protected you from it. They risked their lives to protect you, their only child. Naruto never said anything. He still had his head down and was trembling. Kid, Sonic asked. Why? Naruto repeated before tears came out his eyes. Why did he seal the Nine Tails fox inside his own son? Does he have any idea what I've been through because of that? Did he even already know that something like this would happen to me? Naruto. Sonic and his fellow hedgehogs looked at each other sadly. Listen, Naruto. Your father didn't know that would happen to you. Silver said. Before he died, your father requested the third Hokage to tell everyone to see you as a hero. Naruto looked at Silver in confusion. He's right. Sonic agreed. That was your dad's final wish to everyone in the Leaf Village. He truly believed that they will see you as a hero, and some of them did. As for the others, well, not so much, but that's only because the Nine Tails kill all of their loved ones and more or less resent you for it. And as for the why he did it, the reason why he did it was because he believed in you. Shadow stated. What do you mean? Naruto asked, wiping the tears away. Out of all the infants in the leaf, why do you think he chose you, his own son, to seal the Nine Tails? Seeing Naruto's confused expression made Shadow continue. It's because he believed in you. He believed that you alone would someday learn how to control the Nine Tails' power, making it your own, and change the shinobi world for the better. He did? Naruto asked in a whisper. Believe it. Silver smiles, using Naruto's catchphrase, though he did frown at what he said next. You wouldn't believe how much your parents loved you, and if it wasn't for that masked man, then you'd still have them. But if that's true, then why didn't the old man tell me? Naruto asked. Well, actually he did tell you, remember? Sonic asked. You asked him what were your parents like, and he said that they were incredible ninjas. And he was right. Naruto's eyes widened before he rubbed his sheepishly. Also, if he were to tell you that you was the son of a famous Hokage, you would probably shout it out for the entire village to hear like an idiot. Shadow said, making Naruto glare at him. Look, he didn't tell you who they really were because your dad had lots of enemies, and if they found out about you, then you'd be in serious danger. Your father's enemies would take their revenge out on you by killing you. That's also why he didn't tell the village about the fourth being your father, though the people who look at you as hero already figured it out. Naruto gulped nervously at that as blue lines covered his face. Oh, that makes sense. The me getting killed part at least. Besides, even though you never made a friend before because of the grown-ups, you kind of did. Remember? Silver asked with a smile. Yeah, her. Naruto said as memories of him meeting a girl flashed through his mind, making him smile. My best friend. He smiled sadly at the memories. She and him were quite similar to each other that it was no wonder the two bonded the day they met. All the fun things they've done together, the pranks him actually pulled together, he wished he would go back to those days before she vanished. He really missed seeing her face and often wondered what she was doing right now. When he finds her, he was going to introduce her to Iruka-sensei. Naruto then blinked as he realized something. Oh crap, I forgot about Iruka-sensei. I gotta save him from Mizuki. Calm down, Shadow said. Your teacher is safe. When you entered your mind, we managed to stop time all around you. Still I have to help him. Naruto exclaimed. Mizuki tricked me to stealing something important and I want to kick his sorry ass. Okay, Sonic said happily as a grin formed on his face. Wait a second. Naruto said. What about you guys? Will I be able to see you in the real world or something? Dude, we've been with you since you were a newborn. Sonic deadpanned as Naruto looked sheepish. The blue hedgehog then looks down Sadoi. Besides, this is the last time you'll see us. Huh? Naruto asked. What was Sonic talking about? Our time is coming to an end. Shadow said. We'll be leaving soon. What? Naruto asked wide-eyed. What do you mean? Leaving? Why you guys just can go yet? You just said you've been with me since I was born. Now that I met you, you're just going to leave. He just couldn't understand. What was the problem? Why did they have to go already? I'm sorry, Naruto. Silver shook his head sadly. We've been holding on for a long time just to finally meet you. And now that we did, it's time to say goodbye. Shadow finished. But, Naruto was about to yell but then looks down, tears gathering in his eyes. That's not fair. He didn't want to say goodbye to them. If anything, he hoped that they would stay with him, that way he would be able to get the chance to know them better. Because honestly, Naruto see the hedgehogs as older brothers he wished he had, even though they just recently met. But knowing that they've been inside of him since he was born, that told him they were always looking out for him. He also wanted to learn more about their world and where they came from. Naruto felt a pat on his leg and looks down, seeing Sonic smiling up at him. Cheer up, Naruto. Before we hit the road, we have something to give you. The blue blur told him. Think of it as a late birthday present. A late birthday present? Naruto asked, a surprised look on his face. He looks at Shadow and Silver, seeing them nod their heads at him. They have a present for him. He didn't expect that. What is it? Close your eyes, Sonic ordered. Naruto blinks from that but did so anyway. Once he did, Sonic, Shadow and Silver turned into their former forms and circled around Naruto as 7 colored emeralds appeared around them. You may not see us again, kid, Shadow said, but we'll never forget about you. Deep down, we'll still always be with you. Silver continued. Through the good and bad times, even when things seem hopeless. You have a strong will that can't be broken, no matter what situation you're in. You stay true to your word and you never give up no matter how hard things are. Sonic said happily. That's what makes you special and what makes you Naruto Uzumaki. Shadow said. The next Hokage of the Leaf Village. Silver continued. And one awesome ninja. Sonic finished. The 3 balls of light stopped spinning. They combined into one and floated in front of Naruto's chest just as the emeralds began to glow. Gee guys, Naruto said in a soft whispered tone as tears starts to fall from his closed eyes. He felt touched by their words and he could tell that they meant every word of it. No one has ever said such honest things to him about himself. The only person he knows who did say such things was her. We leave this gift, our legacy. The 3 said in sync as they began to enter Naruto's chest. To you. Real world. Time seems to have returned to normal as the large shuriken came flying at Naruto. Naruto, get down, Iruka shouted. When Naruto didn't move, he was about to jump in and take the hit. However. Clang. Both Chunin eyes widened in shock as a green energy barrier appeared in front of Naruto, deflecting the shuriken away and embedded itself into a tree. They looked at the weapon before turning to Naruto, seeing his eyes were being shadowed. Their pupils shrank when they saw blue, crimson and cyan aura appear around his whole body as he reared his head back and let out a scream. Music. His World E3 version, Sonic the Hedgehog, 2006. Wah hhhhhhhhh. They formed into a pillar around Naruto as they erupted into the sky, causing the Chunin to cover their eyes from it. What the hell is this? Mizuki asked, trying to open his eyes. Is the fox being released? Iruka asked in a scared tone. No, I don't sense any demonic chakra. What's happening to him? As Naruto continued to scream and the Chunin covered their eyes, they didn't see that 7 glowing emeralds had appeared and were spinning around the pillar. The emeralds soon flew off and disappeared. What in the world? Inside his office, Hiruzen Sarutobi, the 3rd Hokage, is watching the events take forward from his crystal ball. He cursed Mizuki for telling Naruto his burden and was starting to get worried for his surrogate grandson. Naruto, what's happening to you? The pillar faded away and both Chunin uncovered their eyes. They looked towards where Naruto was standing and gasped in shock at what they saw. There before them is an all-new, all-different Naruto Uzumaki. Seeing how Naruto was the shortest one in class, he definitely gotten taller, going past Sasuke's height a little bit. His spiky hair got longer, gaining 6 short spiky quills, similar to a hedgehog, and it had red streaks in them. His face has lost its baby fat and became angular while his features were more sharper. He wore a black sleeveless shirt, showing off his now muscular build arms, a white vest, with green trims and fur on the collar, a white cloth and blue pants. He wore some odd shoes. The shoes themselves had a smooth red surface, with a white line going through it, while the heel region was black. Around the rim of the soles, the shoes have cyan strips of metal on the rear and front of the bottom, broken below the insteps. He had gold rings on his wrist that has black cuffs with red tongues, and he wore white gloves. The palms of his gloves have cyan circles, which were glowing. Naruto? Iruka asked in complete shock by the boy's transformation. Mizuki. Naruto spoke in a deeper voice, causing both Chunin eyes to widen in shock. You're going to pay for tricking me and for what you did to Iruka. He held his right palm to Mizuki. I'm gonna take your ass down. As that's so, Mizuki yelled. Then come at me. Show me what you can do, nine-tailed fox. The cyan on Naruto's palm started to glow and Mizuki was covered in cyan light. Iruka's eyes widened in shock when he saw Mizuki floating and he was coming to Naruto by force. How is he doing this? He asked himself. What the hell is this? Mizuki demanded, struggling to get out of this. I can't move. Naruto did a hand sign while still holding Mizuki. Shadow clone jutsu. Iruka's eyes widened when he saw over 100 Narutos appear in a puff of smoke. Incredible. He smiled proudly. He's mastered an extreme jutsu. Why you? Mizuki exclaimed with a hint of fear in his voice. What the hell are you? Naruto stared at Mizuki before he answered. I am Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. A dark grin appeared on his face. Your worst nightmare. Get him. He ordered the clones as they charged at Mizuki. Ah. Pow. Whack. Smash. After a couple minutes of the beatdown, the clones have disappeared and Naruto was staring down at the beat-up look on Mizuki's face. He looks up to see that the sun is rising. He turns to Iruka and smiled. Music. The last scene, Sonic Adventure 2. Are you okay, Iruka? Yes, I'm fine. Iruka nodded but then gained a curious expression. But Naruto, what happened to you? Naruto looks over at himself and smiled happily. Let's just say, this is a late present from some awesome guys I met. He placed a hand on his heart. And they will always be with me. Iruka looked confused at first but then he showed a smile. Whoever or whatever it was that caused him to change into this, he couldn't help but feel happy. It's shown that they obviously care about Naruto, if him saying it's a present was any indication. Hey Naruto, I wanna give you something. Close your eyes. Naruto did so and was waiting for something to happen. Okay, you can open them now. He opened them and noticed that Iruka wasn't wearing his forehead protector. His eyes widened in realization. You mean, Yup, you just graduated from the exam. Congratulations Naruto, Iruka said proudly as Naruto hugged him. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thanks Iruka-sensei. Thanks a lot. Ouch. Be careful, I'm still hurt you know. Iruka exclaimed, though inwardly he was smiling. No matter how much he changed on the outside, on the inside he's still the same old idiot Naruto. Sorry, just a little bit excited. Naruto chuckled. He looks up at the sky with a grin. Soon, he'll be close to reach his dream. Now that he's a ninja, that means he'll be leaving the village sometime soon and go on some adventures. That also means, he'll be able to finally begin search for her. Just thinking about it makes him excited. Don't worry, her smiling face appears in his head. I'll find you soon, I promise. The spirits of Sonic, Shadow and Silver appeared behind him looking up as well. Naruto looks at them and they looked back, giving him thumbs up before they disappeared. He looks back up and raised his fist at the rising sun. All right, let's do it to it. 2 days passed since the Scroll of Seals incident. Ever since Naruto's sudden transformation and the defeat of Mizuki, the Hokage called him in wanting to speak to him alone about it, which was perfect for Naruto, since he can talk to him about his parents. After telling the Hokage that the transformation was a belated birthday present from some very interesting, hedgehogs he had met earlier, much to the Hokage's confusion. Hedgehogs. There's never been any hedgehog sightings ever in the Leaf Village. And what exactly did they do to Naruto to make him turn into this? Were they summon animals or something? Knowing that was all that he was going to get out of Naruto, he dismissed him. But before leaving out to get some rest, Naruto told the Hokage something that made his heart freeze. You were also right about something, old man. My parents, they weren't just great ninjas. They were the greatest heroes the Leaf Village ever had. Naruto said those words softly while staring at the picture of the fourth Hokage, a small smile on his face as he turned to the Hokage and saw the dumbfounded expression. The old Kage was about to ask how Naruto knew, but the preteen put a finger to his lips and winked before leaving. After he left, Hiruzen could have swore that he saw Minato's picture serious expression change into a smile, making him smile as well. It would seem that whatever those hedgehogs did to Naruto, they somehow told him the truth about who his parents are. He just had a feeling that it was definitely them, making him even more curious about them and where they're at. It was then that Naruto started to do his training. The greatest thing that Naruto noticed about his change is that he gained the powers and combat skills of Sonic, Shadow and Silver. The reason why is because he kept receiving visions of them using their powers and skills in action. From Sonic, he has inherited his incredible super fast speed. Even though it's an innate talent that all hedgehogs from their world possess, Sonic's speed was in a class of its own. It had took him a while to get the speed under control as he had ran around the entire village as a yellow blur and would sometimes crash into stuff. But he got it under control in an instant. From Shadow, he inherited his incredible raw power. While he and Sonic were evenly matched in both speed and power along with combat, it's Shadow's power that outclassed Sonic's speed. From what he learned, he now has the power to tap into this chaos energy which lets him unleash his chaos powers. He learned that the inhibitor rings he wore on his wrists limits the amount of power he uses in combat and other situations. Once he removes them, his full power is unleashed, which explains the large crater formed after he took them off while he was out in the village. He surely didn't want to cause a scene. From Silver, he inherited his telekinesis, if him using it against Mizuki was any indication. His telekinesis is a powerful force on its own as he used it to mash a bunch of trees together into a giant ball and flew it off somewhere in the distance. He hoped that the ball didn't land on someone's house or something. Unfortunately for him, it did, and he had to make sure no one knew it was him. He also became more acrobatic and agile as he used his shadow clones to dodge a bunch of their attacks. His reflexes were also heightened to the point that he can tell who's gonna attack him from a mile away. All in all, with the otherworldly powers of Sonic, Shadow and Silver, Naruto is definitely what you call an ultimate ninja. Yeah, he likes the sound of that. Naruto Uzumaki, the ultimate ninja. From now on, that's gonna be his new title. Now today, Naruto is excited. The reason why. Today is the day that he'll be put on a squad. Before he left, he made sure to grab his forehead protector, including with the star charm she gave him. While he was walking to the academy, he saw a box with 2 eye holes on it and they were painted to look like rocks. An amused smirk appears as he lifted a finger and pointed at the box. The box was covered in cyan lights and was thrown away, showing a little boy. "What's up, Konohamaru?" he greeted the boy. Konohamaru is the grandson of the 3rd Hokage. He wore a yellow shirt with the Konoha symbol in red, gray shorts, and a long blue scarf. He had on a gray helmet that had an orange frowning face on the right side, a red circle on the left side, and had a hole at the top for his brown hair to stick out of. The two met each other after Naruto went to take his ninja registration, and the little kid claims he wanted to become the 5th Hokage. He wanted the people of the village to see him as Konohamaru Sarutobi and not as honorable grandson. Naruto then decided to take the kid in as his rival and little apprentice. He took him around the village, teaching him what little he knows about chakra. Not only that, but he gave Konohamaru a demonstration of his sexy jutsu. He even had the kid try to turn into a woman, only to turn into an ugly fat version of her. Of course, Naruto got punched by the woman while she was telling Konohamaru to keep practicing. He even ran into the kid's caretaker Ebisu, the closet pervert who Naruto enjoys mocking. "That was a slick and awesome move that you did, boss," Konohamaru exclaimed happily. "You gotta teach me how to do that." "Sure." Naruto looked away. In other words, "Sorry kid, not happening. I got to go back to the academy for my team placement." Team placement? Yeah. Naruto points to his forehead protector, which is on top of his head with cocky grin. "Today, you're looking at an official ninja." "Wow," Konohamaru said in awe. "Catch y'all later," Naruto said as he ran off really fast, turning into yellow blur, leaving an Konohamaru behind. That is so cool. Ninja Academy. All of the genin who graduated from the academy are talking amongst themselves that they're finally going to become ninjas kunoichi. Most of the girls, however, wanted to be kunoichi because they wanted to impress the last survivor of the Uchiha clan, and maybe he'll go on a date with one of them. Naruto is seen walking through the door and took a seat right next to the girl's object of affection. He put his arms behind his and kicked his feet up on the desk, whistling a tune. One of the students, Shikamaru Nara, stopped walking to go to his seat and took a look at the new guy. Who the heck is that? He never saw him before. His eyes widened in shock when he saw the whisker marks on his face. There was only one person in the village who only have whiskers. "Naruto, is that you?" he asked as the whole class stopped what they were doing and took a look at the red streak blonde, making his eyes widen. "Oh crap, I was so caught up in training I forgot that these guys haven't seen the new me." The girls began to blush at Naruto's new appearance, especially a certain Hyuga girl who blushed up a storm at seeing his muscles. "Hey, what's up with the genjutsu? I thought you sucked at that. And what are you even doing here?" "This is for graduates," Kiba Inuzuka asked. "I did graduate," Naruto exclaimed, surprising everyone by how deep his voice got, as he pointed at his forehead protector. He then stood up on his desk, holding his arms out. "This isn't a genjutsu. It's the real deal." "Yeah, right," a boy said as he did a hand sign. "Release." Nothing happened. No smoke. No orange-clad Naruto. No nothing, which shocked everyone again. Satisfied, Naruto smirks. "Wait, if this is you, actually you, then what happened?" Shikamaru asked. Well, Naruto sweat nervously as he tried to come with an answer. What the hell was he supposed to them? He can't just say, "Oh, there were 3 Hunan-like hedgehogs that were inside me since I was born and they fused together with me." He had to come up with something that would seem believable. I hit puberty earlier." All was silent, which made Naruto sweat faster. He silently wished, prayed even, that someone or something get him out of this mess. "Ha, I made it first. Fat chance Ino pig, I made it." Everyone turned to the screaming voices and saw that it was the pink-haired girl Sakura Haruno and the platinum-blonde girl Ino Yamanaka. "Oh, thank you God," Naruto thought as happy tears of relief fell from his eyes. "Hey," Naruto looked and saw Sakura walking up to him, looking at him. "Who the heck are wait a second Naruto?" Sakura asked in shock. "What happened to you? You look different." "Wait, that's Naruto," Ino asked as well. "Damn it, why?" Naruto thought to himself, before he turns to the two. "I hit puberty early, hee." "Oh come on," Naruto complained inwardly. "That's gotta to be believable." "Damn, so you hit puberty before any of us. I'm actually jealous," Kiba said. "What a drag. Of course it's puberty," Shikamaru said as everyone agreed. Quote. They actually fell for it. Yes. Thank you again, God. Naruto thought happily. Anyway, you're in my way. Move it. Sakura pushed Naruto off the desk, making him fall off and land on his feet. Oi! Naruto exclaimed as he held his palm out, covering Sakura in cyan light, getting everyone's attention. You didn't even say please. He began to lift her off the ground, making everyone's eyes widened and causing Sakura to scream out. What is this? Sakura screamed as she floated in midair. Everyone was now shocked as they turned to Naruto. They never, throughout their years together in the academy, see Naruto do something like that before. Since when did Naruto have telekinesis? They watched as Naruto began to spin his finger, causing Sakura to spin as well as she screamed. Naruto. Put me down. Sakura pleaded. Nope. Only till you say please. Naruto laughed. Please put me down. Sakura screamed. Okay. Naruto said as he put his arm down, making Sakura drop on Sasuke's lap, making the girls scream in outrage while Sakura blushed heavily that she was on her crush's lap before getting off him. Sasuke glared at Naruto for the stunt while said red-streaked blonde smirked evilly at him before pulling his eyelid and sticking out his tongue. Meanwhile, the Hokage and a couple of Jonin are seen in his office and they watched everything that was going on in the academy through the third's crystal ball. And to make things simple, they was surprised at Naruto and that power he demonstrated to the whole class. Well, that was unexpected. A silver-haired man said. Yes, Naruto is just full of surprises. The third chuckled. The crystal ball starts to show Sasuke still in his brooding state looking at Naruto. The most promising new student, Sasuke Uchiha. A male Junin said. Is that him? Yes, he is the one. The third said. He's the only survivor left of the Uchiha clan. A female Junin with black hair said. That's right. Everyone watched as the image in the crystal ball started to move and started to get a close-up on Naruto's face, showing a teasing smile on his face. Naruto Uzumaki. Huh, the silver-haired Chunin thought. Oh man, Naruto. Kiba laughed. That was awesome. Since when did you do that? Since puberty came. Naruto shrugged, deciding to keep to his puberty lie. Whoa, Choji Akamichi said while eating a bag of chips. This is the first time I actually saw someone use telekinesis before. Shikamaru said. I didn't even think something like that exists. Well, it does now. Naruto smirked, putting his arms behind his head as he leaps and took a seat next to Hinata, making her eyes widen as her face turns red. Naruto is sitting next to me. What do I do? What do I do? Hinata thought to herself. Everyone went quiet when they saw Iruka entering the room. Okay class. Take your seats. Iruka told them as everyone did so. Naruto, knowing full well what Iruka was going to say next, tuned him off. His speech was about hardships of being a ninja and the responsibilities that they now had to take, blah blah blah. He eventually heard his sensei talking about the three-man squad and began to call out the teams and the genin who was placed on it. Squad 7. Iruka spoke. Sasuke Uchiha. Sakura Haruno. Ha, take that Ino pig. Sakura shouted pointing at the platinum blonde. Shut up forehead girl. Both of you shut up. Iruka shouted using his famous big head jutsu. Sorry Iruka sensei. They apologized. And Naruto Uzumaki. Your Jonin will be Kakashi Hatake. Iruka said. Ah man tilde I'm with Mr. Edgy and his wife Missy's bubblegum. Naruto whined as the two glared at him, getting his attention. He shrugs at them. What? I got nothing else to describe you two. HMPH. Just don't get in my way, loser. Sasuke told him. What the foo? Naruto was gonna shout before Iruka decked him in the face with an eraser. Squad 8 will be Kiba Inuzuka, Hinata Hyuga, and Shino Aburame. Your Jonin will be Kurenai Yuhi. Iruka said, ignoring Naruto's groans, as the three nodded. Hinata however was sad that she won't be on the same team as Naruto. She turned to him and saw that he was looking back smiling at her. Oh my gosh. Naruto is looking right at me. She began to blush tomato red when he leaned to her ear. Good luck with your new team, Hinata. He whispered, making her nod as she looked down, a smile on her face. Squad 10 will be Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, and Choji Akamichi. Your Jonin will be Asuma Sarutobi. No, Ino yelled in disbelief as she slammed her head on her desk as well. What a drag, Shikamaru said as he closed his eyes with Choji nodding his head in agreement. That's all for today. You will await here for you Junins to come and pick you up. Good luck and be careful out there. Iruka said as he exited the room. Later. The genin have met their sensei and went with them except for Squad 7. Sakura is seen pacing around back and forth with an angry look on her face. Naruto is lying on the desk with his eyes closed and feet tapping impatiently, and Sasuke was brooding as usual while looking at the window. There was nothing but complete silence. Okay, that's it. Naruto yelled as he stood up and he looks at the eraser board and used his telekinesis to lift it above the door. Naruto, what are you doing now? Sakura asked, putting her hands on her hips. Teaching our teacher a lesson. Naruto said, a smirk on his face. He's a high-level shinobi. Sasuke said. There's no way he could fall for such a stupid stunt. Oh yeah, just watch. Naruto chuckles evilly. He'll be here in 3, 2, 1. As this squad 7. Now, Naruto released the eraser as it landed on the silver-haired Jonin head, making white chalk dust appear. Sasuke looked on with a raised eyebrow, Sakura had a surprised and slightly nervous expression, and Naruto had that smirk on his face. The Jonin didn't say anything as he stared at them. How do I put this? The Jonin said looking thoughtful. You're all a bunch of idiots. That caused Sakura to have a depressed expression. Sasuke glared at him, and Naruto had a half-lidded expression. Well, meet me on the roof. He said as disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Quote. I hate him already. Naruto said. Unknowingly Sasuke agreed. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were all seated on the roof of the academy, while their sensei was in front of them on top of a railing. Okay, now that you are all here, let's introduce ourselves. Huh, what do you mean? Sakura asked. You know, likes, dislikes, hobbies, dreams for the future. The Junin said. Why don't you start first? Sakura suggested, causing the Jonin to say. Well, my name is Kakashi Hatake. I have a few likes, and many dislikes. My hobbies are not your concern. All we know is his name. The Genin thought. Okay, you're next, Kakashi said, pointing at Sakura. My name is Sakura Haruno. My likes. Sakura blushed and turned to Sasuke. I mean, the person that I like is. Still looking at Sasuke. My dreams for the future. She blushed even and squeaked happily. And what do you hate? Naruto. You still mad about that? You need to let it go. Naruto said, uncaring, picking his ear. You'll start to have wrinkles early if you keep that up, ya know. What? Shut up. No, I won't. Sakura denied, even though she secretly took out a mirror to check to see if there were any wrinkles. Kakashi's sweat dropped from that before pointing at Naruto. Okay, you're up. Hey, Naruto's the name. Speed's my game. My likes are hedgehogs, adventures, chilling, ramen and chili dogs, among other things. That's too long to list and I really don't feel like saying. Naruto said as everyone looked at him with confused expressions. Hedgehogs? Kakashi asked. He began to wonder why this kid likes hedgehogs so much, but he did sweat drop at the last bit. What are chili dogs? Sakura asked. Tell you later. My dislikes are, okay, that list is too long as well, so I'll skip it. I don't have any hobbies, unless rolling around at the speed of sound counts. Kakashi sent a deadpan look at Naruto, wondering what he was talking about. My dream is to be the greatest Hokage to ever exist and to surpass all the Hokage from the past. Naruto's face softens as he looks down. And most of all, to find someone very important to me. Everyone stared at Naruto as he spoke in that soft, gentle voice. Sasuke and Sakura had no idea that of all people had someone important to him, so of course they were curious about it. They even wanted to know who that special is. Kakashi, however, just nodded his head and turns to Sasuke. Okay, you. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke said. I hate a lot of things and I don't like anything. My dream for the future. No, my goal is to avenge my clan and kill a certain someone. He finished darkly. The atmosphere grew very dark from what Sasuke said as everyone looked at him with various reactions. He's so hot, Sakura thought with a blush. Sheesh, who the hell pissed him off? Naruto thought, giving Sasuke a pointed look. Just as I thought, Kakashi said, looking at Sasuke. He turned to the others. Good, you're each unique and have your own ideas. We'll have our first mission tomorrow. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Naruto stood up in excitement. So, what's the mission? We kicking any bad guy butt or something? It's a task that the 4 of us will do together. Kakashi said slowly. Come on, don't leave us in the dark. What's the mission? Naruto asked, now getting impatient. A survival exercise. Kakashi replied, getting his Genin squad's attention. Naruto had a disappointed look on his face. Say what, tilde? I thought we were supposed to have a real mission, not more practice. Sakura said. We already did this stuff at the academy, that's how we got here. I don't think this is like our previous training. Naruto said for Kakashi, causing Sakura to look at him with a curious expression. He's right, you know. Kakashi chuckled. Of the 27 graduates who just came here, only 9 will actually be accepted as Genin. The other 18 will be sent back to the academy. So in other words, Naruto spoke up, getting everyone's attention. It's a pass or fail test. And if we fail, we'll be sent back. Give the boy a prize. Kakashi said, clapping his hands. He got up. Meet up at training ground 7 tomorrow and skip out on breakfast or else, you'll puke. That's all for today. He finished as he disappeared in a swirl of leaves. You gotta be kidding me. Naruto deadpanned as he ran and jumped off the roof, landing onto the next one, leaving Sasuke and Sakura behind. Next day. The sun is seen rising over the horizon and Squad 7 is waiting for their sensei. Sakura had an angry look on her face, Sasuke is resting on a tree, and Naruto was tapping his feet impatient. The sun has now high in the sky and their sensei have finally arrived. Morning everyone. Ready for your first day. You're late, Sakura screeched. Well, a black cat crossed my path so I had to take the long way. Kakashi said, I smiling at them. Really? Naruto asked with a half-lidded gaze. Kakashi walked over to a stump and sat an alarm clock on it, getting curious glances from his genin. He pushed the yellow button that was on top of it and took out 2 bells. What's up with those? Naruto asked. Your assignment is very simple. You just have to take these bells away from me. That's all there is to it. Kakashi explained. Now the alarm is set to noon. So if you can't get them by then, you can't have lunch. He turned to the 3 wooden posts. You'll be tied up to those posts and watch while I'll eat my lunch in front of you. Stomachs can be heard growling and the kids had hungry looks on their faces. Why did we listen to this guy? Naruto thought in despair. Hey, hold on, there's 3 of us. Sakura said. So how come there's only 2 bells? Well, that way, at least one of you will be tied to a post and ultimately disqualified for failing for completing the mission. Kakashi explained, I smiling at them. That one goes back to the academy. You may also begin to go all out on me. But sensei, wouldn't you get hurt? Sakura asked, causing Naruto to just shake his head. He's a jonin, Sakura. Meaning that he can't get hurt from us genin. That's right, Kakashi said. You may begin. Now. Sasuke and Sakura jumped away, hiding from away while Naruto stood there with a tired expression on his face. Kakashi tilted his head to the side with a deadpanned expression. You know, compared to the others, you're a little weird. Yeah, well, the only thing that's weird here is that haircut. There, that hurts, don't it? Naruto asked as he did a few stretches. Yeah, that's right, I'm stretching. Got a problem with that? I want to enjoy taking you down, without some pulled muscle slowing me down. He then started to do a few jabs. Okay, let's do this. Course, if you wanna run away. He starts to do push-ups with one hand. Please feel free. There's no shame in it. He stood up. Well, maybe a little shame. Kakashi, along with the other 2, sweat drops at Naruto. They watched as he got up and cracked his knuckles. Kakashi reached into his pouch and took out an orange book that read, Ika Ika Paradise. What the? Naruto asked with a sweat drop. What are you doing? Just reading. And I just want to find out what happens in the end. Kakashi said, reading it. A vein appeared on Naruto's head as his eye twitched. This guy was mocking. Oh, he's so gonna regret that. Battle music. Emerald Beach, Sonic Battle. He took off in an yellow streak of light and went into Kakashi's face, which surprised him. He went forward to go and punch him, but he quickly dodged it by jumping a few meters away. Naruto ran to him again and went to go try to knee him in the face. But his sensei blocked it, with his arms, and was sliding across the dirt while still standing. Whoa, Kakashi thought, looking at Naruto. That was seriously too close. I didn't sense any chakra, that was pure speed. He might even be faster than Guy. The third wasn't joking, this kid is seriously full of surprises. Sakura, who was hiding under a bush, watched the event take forward in awe. She never saw Naruto move that fast before, and he actually made their sensei slid across the dirt. Whoa, how did Naruto move so fast? Sasuke, who was hiding on a tree branch, watched everything with his eyes widening in shock. All he saw was a yellow blur and Naruto just appeared in front of him. There's no doubt about it. That was pure speed Naruto had. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto did the hand sign. In a puff of smoke, 7 Narutos appeared around him. Get him. The clones charged in at Kakashi, who just looked at them while holding his book. Wow, so the rumors are true. The clones jumped to the air and began to air dash towards him. Just when Kakashi was about to move in, he was stopped by 2 other Narutos coming from behind him, which in turn caught him by surprise. You should never turn your back on your enemy's sensei. The real one exclaimed, crossing his arms. Sasuke gasped from that, and Sakura was in awe how cool Naruto became. They watched as the rest of the clones began to hold Kakashi in as he was struggling to get them off of him. I was wrong. Naruto is definitely cool, Sakura exclaimed, smiling at him. Cha, take him down, Inner Sakura exclaimed. He used the clones as a way to keep him immobile. Nice, Sasuke thought as a smirk appeared on his face. Naruto held his palm out and the cyan circles begins to glow with his hands being covered in cyan aura. Move, he commanded the clones as they did so, and Kakashi was now seen floating with a cyan aura appearing all over him. Well now, this is really impressive, Kakashi said, looking at Naruto. You're actually using telekinesis. That's a rare ability to have. Thanks. He smirked as he moved his hand back and began to gather enough psychokinetic energies. After he was finished charging, he moved his hand forward and sent out a strong shock wave of psychokinetic energies, making Kakashi fly backwards to a tree. Sasuke and Sakura gasped at how fast Kakashi was sent flying, but all he had was a bored expression. When he hit the tree, he gasped out in pain but soon disappeared in a puff of smoke, causing the genin to raise an eyebrow. When the smoke cleared up, Kakashi was replaced with a log, making the genin's eyes to widen. What the hell, where did he go? Naruto asked. He looks around the area and saw that a bell was on the ground. A half-lidded expression appeared on his face before grinned smugly. Does he really think I'm gonna fall for a stupid trick like that? His eyes looked around him before he used his telekinesis to make the bell come to him. His eyes widened as he sensed danger. Naruto, look out behind you, Sakura called out, causing said red streak blonde's eyes to widen. Oh crap. He turns his head really fast and saw Kakashi kneeling behind him with a hand sign. His pupils shrank when he saw his hand was aiming for his butt. Why you wouldn't dare. Hidden leaf jutsu. 1,000 years of death. Kakashi called out with a twinkle in his eyes as he charged his hand to Naruto's behind. Music ends. Ah, Naruto screamed comically as he got sent flying away and into the pond. Sakura had an annoyed expression. All he did was poke him. She whispered. Those two are total idiots. Sasuke whispered as he shook his head, but then his eyes widened as he realized Kakashi's wasn't paying attention and was only picking up the bell. His guard is down. Now's my chance. He threw a bunch of shurikens at him. The shurikens hit Kakashi, causing him to fly a few meters back. That made Sakura gasp in shock that their sensei just got hit. Poof. The white-haired Jonin used a substitution jutsu again, and this time he disappeared without a trace. Sasuke soon started to jump from tree branch to tree branch, trying to escape from the Junin since he gave away his position. He let his guard down on purpose. Naruto has just rose from the pond and coughed out water. He spun around really fast and was dry in a second. Oh, it's on. Naruto growled in anger at being stabbed in the butt. He then ran off. Sakura was following, searching for her crush. Sasuke, where'd you go? Don't tell me Kakashi-sensei got to you. No, he can't capture my Sasuke. I won't let him. The pink kunoichi stopped her running when she saw Kakashi leaning on a tree reading that perverted orange book. Good, she whispered. He didn't see me. I'm safe. Sakura, behind you. She gasped and turned around only to be face to face with her sensei. She suddenly felt really dizzy and there was a whole bunch of leaves flying around her. She closed her eyes and opened them again as she turned to many directions with a confused expression. Oh my, I think I felt something. What was it? Sakura. Sasuke. Sakura beamed happily as she turned to him. She then stood there as her precious Sasuke was all bloody and that he had several kunais on his body. Sakura. Help me. Please. Help me. Sakura's eyes started to tear and she screamed to the heavens above. She soon fainted. Kakashi is seen sitting on a tree branch reading his orange book. I think I overdid it a bit. But she's got to learn how to see through these things. Naruto blinked as he stops running and looks around. Sakura. What the heck happened to her? He asked himself. His eyes widened as he sensed something close by. What? He looks to where his senses was tingling, completely forgetting about his revenge for that sneak attack. He runs towards it and saw that there was a small hole in the ground. Huh. Naruto digs the dirt out and his eyes widened as he saw a green glowing emerald. An emerald. What's that doing out here? He slowly reaches out and touched it. The moment he did, he felt a surge of energy seep into his system. As it did, Naruto saw a vision of the 7 emeralds together before it changed to show Shadow holding one of them in his hands. The vision also showed Sonic transforming using those emeralds, including Shadow and Silver. The vision ended as Naruto snapped out of his thoughts and shook his head. He looks down at the emerald in awe. Chaos emeralds, the gems of miracles. Naruto closed his eyes and began to concentrate on the emerald. Once he did, it started to glow. Chaos control. Once those words left his lips, time stopped all around him. Naruto runs to the clock and saw it stopped. Whoa, it worked. Which means, Naruto trailed off. He quickly ran off and saw Kakashi standing behind a tree watching Sasuke and Sakura. Oh, this is gonna be good. He walks up behind Kakashi and took the bells, putting them in his pocket. He then took another pair of different bells which were gold and had a blue string on it. Still though it doesn't make sense. Why would our teacher give us this test with just 2 bells when there's only 3 of us? 3 of us but only 2 bells and only 2 of us can pass. Naruto thought out loud before his eyes slowly widened. What if this isn't just a test for one of us to get the bells but all 3 of us to get them together, as a team? That's why we're a 3-man cell. That's also why he's making us Genin fight him a Jonin. We're supposed to fight him together to get the bells, not at once. He face-palmed himself in disbelief. Damn, could have figured that out sooner. Hey, at least now I know I feel smarter. He looks around and heads back to the kunai-shaped stone. Time for me to return time back to normal. He snaps his fingers as everything returned to normal. Re-en enang ggg. I am so gonna have fun with this. Naruto muttered to himself as he threw the emerald in the air before catching it and putting it in his pocket. He was going to walk off but stopped when he saw a bento lying around. His stomach growled as he eyed it before looking left and right. He ran up to it and opened it up, seeing that there was actual smoking hot food in it. Naruto drooled at the sight of it. Well, maybe a tiny bite won't hurt. He picks it up and was going to walk off. I don't think so. A voice spoke up from above Naruto, making him stop in his track. Crap. Naruto sweated before he chuckled sheepishly. Say, you know I'm just playing around, right teach? Nice try, Kakashi said. Naruto had crocodile tears falling from his eyes. The reason why? It's because he's tied to one of the posts while Sasuke and Sakura sat in front of them. Kakashi stood in front of them, looking at them with hard look in his eye. Well now, Kakashi spoke up appearing before the genin. Looks like all three of you didn't manage to capture the bells, which means you fail. Oh yeah, Naruto asked, as his entire being glowed. Something came out of his pocket and floated in front of everyone, showing it were the bells, shocking them to the core. The bells? Sakura asked. When did? Sasuke thought in shock. Kakashi checked his pouch, where the bells were hung, and they were there. No wait, these are different bells as they were colored gold and they had blue ribbons tied on them. He actually switched the bells around. He turns to Naruto in amazement. How did you? When you weren't paying attention to me and was busy fighting Sasuke, I used my telekinesis to quietly get the bells and managed to replace them with the ones I got from the store. Naruto lied, as he didn't want to tell them about his time-stopping ability, yet. He got out of the ropes and wrapped his arm around Sasuke's neck, bringing him close, much to his annoyance. It was all a part of the plan, right Sasuke? Plan. Kakashi tilted his head to the side. What are you talking about? Sakura asked. Sasuke blinked and looked at Naruto, since he had idea what he was talking about. Yup. After you caught Sakura, I managed to drag Sasuke away and told him about this awesome plan of mine. Naruto explained. Sasuke is more of a lone wolf type of guy, so I told him to distract you while I went into hiding and use my telekinesis to take the bells, right from underneath your nose. He stuck his tongue out. When did you get the time to actually talk to Sasuke? Kakashi asked, slightly impressed. Hey, I'm the fastest thing alive. Naruto smirked. Not even you can keep up with me. Right Sasuke? He turns to his rival and winks at him. Sasuke was no fool. He knew damn well that Naruto is a total liar and he actually got their sensei fooled. But he must have some reason to lie to their teacher like that. And judging from the look in his eyes, he wanted him to play along. TCH. Sasuke scoffed and released himself from Naruto, looking away. Sakura was amazed at Naruto's plan as she looked at him in a whole new light. But she won't lie, she felt herself embarrassed at being caught in simple genjutsu and fainted like that. Kakashi stared long and hard before he smiled. Very impressive. Looks like Naruto managed to capture both bells at the same time, especially with Sasuke's help. Now the question is, who are you going to give the bells to? Both of them, Naruto said, using his telekinesis to give them to his squad, causing Sakura to gasp and Sasuke's eyes to widen. Are you sure, Naruto? Kakashi asked. Cause if you give those to the bells then you'll be the one to be sent to the academy. Yeah, I'm cool with it, Naruto said. But Naruto, Sakura spoke, getting his attention. That means you just failed the test. What about your dream of becoming Hokage or finding that person you were talking about? She hands the bell back to him. Here, you can have mine. Huh, Naruto blinked in surprise. Did Sakura just offer him a bell? No, you keep it. I don't want it. But you got them before us. So you at least deserved it. But I don't want you guys to fail. We're supposed to be a team, right? What kind of teammate am I if both of you don't pass? Sakura's eyes widened from that along with Sasuke. She looks at the bell then at Naruto. Then I don't want it, she said as she threw the bell at Kakashi, who caught it in his hands. I don't want it neither, Sasuke said, getting everyone's attention. He tossed the bell at Kakashi. The fact that Naruto's plan worked and that he's willing to give them to us, shows that he wants us to be a team. And if he doesn't get to be a part of our team then I might as well not take it. Sasuke. Sakura. Naruto was absolutely stunned silence. He was not expecting that kind of reaction at all, especially from these two. It nearly brought a tear to his eyes. Well then, you all pass, Kakashi said, smiling with the genin, except Naruto, looking at him with confused expression. Huh, what do you mean we passed? Sakura asked. You're the first squad to ever succeed. Kakashi said. Really? We're the first? Naruto asked, making sure he heard right. All the others had no idea whatsoever about this test. Unlike you, that's why we put you into 3-man squads. It's all about teamwork. Kakashi explained. Here's something I would like all for you learn. He walks up to a kunai-shaped structure that has people's names on it. Have you ever seen this stone? The names engraved on it. These are ninja who are honored as heroes in the village. You mean? Naruto trailed off, looking uncomfortable, as Kakashi nodded. This is a memorial stone. The names of my closest friends are on it. Some of them, including one of my friends, broke some rules but were still considered heroes in the end. The genin looked down in mourning for those heroes. Mom, Dad, are you on there? Naruto asked. In the ninja world, those who break the rules are scum, that's true. Kakashi looks up at the sky. But those who abandon their friends are worse than scum. Naruto chuckled as grinned. Oh, Sakura smiled. Sasuke closed his eyes and smiled. Insert song. You're my number one, Sonic R. The exercise is over, Kakashi said. Everyone passes. Squad 7 starts its first mission tomorrow. He gave his genin a thumbs up. Yes, Sakura cheered happily. All right, Naruto flipped in the air and did a pose. Sasuke nodded to himself. Let's go home, Kakashi said as they all walked away together. Naruto looked at the stone one more time before he smiled and nodded to himself as he walks away. Song ends. Naruto is in his apartment, staring at the Chaos Emerald. A Chaos Emerald. 7 emeralds that hold the key to unlock unlimited power. I can't believe Sonic and the others had these in their world. Naruto stared at the emerald once more as he lied in bed. From the vision I saw, these emeralds have both positive and negative energy, which the hedgehogs, or anyone in general, can use them for amazing or terrifying things. I hate to imagine what would happen if someone managed to get their hands on all 7 of them and used them for evil purpose, especially if they're ninja. Another beautiful day in the Leaf Village as the sun shines down on a field of trees. Sasuke, I'm in point B. Sakura, I'm in point C. Speed Demon, I'm in point A. And come on, use your code names. No need for that, Naruto. Quote. Fine. Ruining my fun. Okay, Squad 7. The target has moved. Follow it. Rustling can be heard as Squad 7 moved to go and search for the target. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were hiding behind trees and they slightly peeked, seeing the target, which was a small 4-legged shadowy creature. The genin squad moves from tree, hiding from the creature's sight. Target is 5 meters away from us. Naruto spoke. Ready when you are. I'm ready too. Sasuke spoke up. So am I, Sakura said. Okay, now. The 3 genin jumped at the shadowy figure and Naruto captured it. And the target? A brown cat with a pink ribbon on its hair. Music. Fooling mode, Naruto. Hold still, you damn cat. Naruto screeched, holding the struggling cat, but screamed as it got on his face and began to scratch him. He looks at Sakura and saw she was smiling at the cat. Hey, a little help please. He then blinked as he realized. Wait, what am I doing? A cyan aura appeared around him and he lifted the cat away from his face as it looked at the ground in a dumbfounded manner. Affirmative, we got a positive ID. Sasuke told Kakashi. Right. Lost pet Tora captured. Mission accomplished. That's right. Today's mission was to capture a runaway cat. After Squad 7 passed the bell test, they've been taking on D-rank missions for the past few days. For D ranks they had to watch out for the owner's pets, babysit for the parents, etc. These D rank missions suck. Naruto roared as fire came out of his mouth. Oh my precious kitty, a chubby woman said, hugging her cat to death. I'm so happy that you've come back, she said as she walked out of the office with her cat crying anime tears. Squad 7 were at the mission assignment desk, watching as the fire daimyo's wife left the room. That's what you get, you little punk, Naruto muttered, glaring at the door. So that's why he ran away, Sakura said. Now then, the third Hokage spoke up. For Squad 7's next mission, we have several available tasks. This better be something good, Naruto thought bitterly. Among them is babysitting the chief counselor's 3-year-old, helping his wife clean the front. Okay, time out, Naruto exclaimed, getting everyone's attention. I'm sorry for the interruption, but can we please go on a mission that's really a challenge? We're genin. We want some action and adventure, not something little kids should do. He does have a point, Sasuke thought. But he's such a brat sometimes, Sakura thought. Kakashi had deadpanned expression on his lone eye. I knew this was coming. How dare you, Iruka yelled, standing up. You're just a brand new genin with no experience. Like everyone else, you start with simple missions to develop your skills and improve yourself. Develop our skills. Improve ourselves, Naruto asked, raising a brow and crossing his arms. How does babysitting a 3-year-old kid improve ourselves? What in being a parent or something? Matter of fact, what kind of ninja takes missions like this anyway? You can't even call it a mission, it's just us doing chores that people around here are too damn lazy to. Bonk. Naruto went into a kneeling position and held his head. He glares up at Kakashi comically. Will you put a lid on it? Kakashi asked. Music ends. Naruto was going to tell him off but he cut off by Hiruzen. Naruto. It seems you don't understand the tasks that you've been given. The third said, getting his attention. Listen, many different kinds of requests come to our village every day. From babysitting to assassination. As the Hokage continued to explain the concept and reasons for the missions that are ranked DA, with everyone listening of course, Naruto looks at him while tapping his foot impatiently. He turns to the readers and points his thumb at the Hokage, shaking his head. He runs out faster than the eyes could see and came back with 2 chili dogs in his hands. Naruto takes a bite out of one his dogs but noticed the Hokage stopped talking. He looks and saw everyone staring at him. What? Where did you get those from? Kakashi asked, pointing at his chili dogs. What? I'm hungry. Naruto moved his chili dogs away from Kakashi, making him wave his hand to saying, he doesn't want them. Anyway, Hokage continued. Yeah, we get missions every day and for whatever missions we do, we gain more experience. The more experience we get the higher the missions are. Naruto said impatiently as he ate the other chili dog. He sighed happily before he gained a serious expression, catching everybody completely off guard. Look, Lord Hokage. He ignored the shocked expression on everyone's face. We done enough of these D-rank missions to earn a rank up. The red streak blonde said in a matching voice. But in all honesty and seriousness it's stupid and a complete waste of our time. These D ranks are something even children at the academy can do. In fact, we should have done something like this a very long time ago since we entered the academy, so that way we can already know about the different rank missions as we grow older and gain experience from them, even though we were in training. So that way, when we were to graduate and officially become genin we can automatically do C ranks. We're not little kids anymore. We're ninja and we are ready for the next stage. Or why train us at all? Everyone stared at Naruto in complete surprise at his explanation. Earlier, he was acting like a brat and was being disrespectful towards the Hokage, but now his personality just shifted and he turned into a completely different person. He even called the Hokage, Lord Hokage instead of the old man he would normally call him. Even the Hokage himself had his eyes widened in surprise. Now that he thought about it, that actually made a lot of sense. None of them didn't know about the different rank missions yet. They'll learn about that after they become a team. If they had learned about that in the past and done then they would have been gotten past the experience and do C ranks once they graduated. Plus, they have been doing a lot of D rank missions for the past couple of days. Hiruzen then smiled to himself as he saw Minato appear in Naruto's place, the same expression he had, before he changed back to Naruto. You really are your father's son. He thought to himself. So be it. I'm giving you a C rank mission. You'll be bodyguards. Sasuke and Sakura gasped in surprise while Naruto's serious expression turned into a happy grin. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Naruto exclaimed as he did a backflip. So who is it? Is it a princess? I bet it's a princess. I'm waiting Tilda. Don't be so impatient. I will bring him in now. Hiruzen smirked. Send in our visitor. Squad 7 turns to the door and they saw an old man enter. What the? A bunch of snot-nosed little kids. They're gonna protect me, he asked taking a drink of his beer. You, the tall and spiky one with the idiotic look on your face. You expect me to believe that you're a ninja? Tall and spiky. Naruto looked at Sasuke and noted that he was only a little taller than him. He touched his hair and noted the spikes that resemble Sonic's quills. Idiotic. A comical vein appeared on his head as he tried to walk to him. However, Kakashi grabbed him by his jacket, holding him back. Say that to my face, old man. I'll kill ya. No killing the client, Naruto. It doesn't work that way. Kakashi told his student as Sasuke and Sakura shook their heads. Whatever. Naruto crossed his arms. The man took a drink from his beer and wiped his lips. I am Tazuna, a master bridge builder. And I must return to my country. I'm building a bridge there that could change our world and I expect you to take me. Without even saying please, Naruto smirked before he turns to everyone. Alright guys. We got our mission, so let's do it to it. He instantly ran out of the open window in a yellow blur. Sasuke, Sakura, Iruka and Kakashi all sighed at Naruto's way of leaving while Hiruzen shook his head, tipped his hat down. Tazuna blinked in shock from that sudden speed. He looks at his beer then back to the window. This is gonna be a long way back, isn't it? Later. Squad 7 and Tazuna walked outside the village gates with their book bags prepared and everything. However, Naruto was already at the gate and was waiting on everyone to show up. He just couldn't hold in his excitement. He was finally going to leave the village and head out to explore the rest of the shinobi world. He was finally going to have his very first adventure. Who knows, he might even get a clue on where his friend is if he asked around in Tizuna's country. Right now, they were starting to walk away from the village, enjoying a nice peaceful travel. Say Mr. Tizuna. Sakura spoke up. What is it? Your country is the land of waves, right? Yeah, what of it? Kakashi-sensei, there are ninja in that country too, aren't there? Sakura asked. No, there are no ninja in the land of waves. Kakashi answered. But in other countries there are hidden villages, each with their own different customs and cultures, where ninjas reside. To the people of this continent, the existence of shinobi villages means strength. That's how they protect themselves and maintain the balance of power with neighboring countries. The ninja village are not controlled by any government, they're independent and have equal status. Is that so? Naruto asked, putting his arms behind his head, looking slightly interested in the story. Yup. Now the land of waves, which is a small island, doesn't need to be ninja village because its natural protection is the sea around it. There are 5 ancient lands that have shinobi villages. The land of fire, which we live in. And the rest are lightning, water, wind and earth. Together, they're known as the 5 great shinobi nation. Fire has the village hidden in the leaves, water has the village hidden in the mist, lightning has the village hidden in the clouds, earth has the village hidden in the stones, and finally wind which has the village hidden in the sand. Oh, Sakura beamed happily at her sensei's explanation. Then that means that our Hokage is really important. Cha, is that old man really such a big deal? Inner Sakura asked. But we won't run into foreign ninjas, right? Sakura asked. Not likely, Kakashi said. In all honesty, Naruto hopes they do run into foreign ninjas. All those days when he's been secretly training in his newfound powers will be seen. He needed some action and being bodyguards are a perfect way to get some. He saw something ahead that caught his attention and he became confused. What the heck? Naruto stopped walking, causing everyone to stop as well and turn to him. What is it? Kakashi asked. That. Naruto pointed up ahead. Everyone looked to where Naruto was pointing at and they saw small water on the ground. It's water. What? You want something to drink? Tizuna asked. No. Naruto rolled his eyes. Think about it for a second. It's summer, right? So why would there be water on a dry ground? Kakashi's eyes were narrowed at the water. Naruto's right, there shouldn't be water on dry ground and on a clear day no less. Naruto saw the look on his sensei's face. He instantly grinned at seeing that look, which can only mean one thing. It's party time. Music. Boss 1, Sonic Adventure 2. A ninja came out of hiding and another came out of the water, both of them wielding long sharp and spiky chains as they caught Kakashi, surprising those around. What the? Sakura exclaimed. Do it. One of the ninja ordered as he and his partner pulled their arms back and they shredded Kakashi in pieces, causing Sakura to step back, a fearful expression on her face. A serious expression appeared on Naruto's face as he felt them appear behind him. Now it's your. Don't think so. Naruto jumped up and landed on one of the ninja's head and jumped off. Sasuke jumped in the air, taking out his shuriken and kunai. He threw them at the chain and embedded it on a tree. He landed on both ninjas' metal gauntlets, he grabs hold of both and donkey kicked the two in the face, making them stumble back as their chains got off on the gauntlets. The twin ninja regained their footing and dashed. Naruto turns and saw one of them heading towards him and the other was heading for Tizuna, but Sakura got in front of him. Nice try. Naruto ran behind him, gripping his arm. He grabs his other arm and backflips really fast, before slamming the mysterious nin on the ground. He jumps off and turns into a spinning spiky yellow ball and slammed into the back of his head, knocking him out. Naruto grins and instantly turned to face the other nin. Guys, are you? Wah. Naruto blinked as he saw Kakashi appear, his arm out and gripping the other ninja's neck with Sasuke, Sakura and Tizuna blinking. Yo, nice job Naruto, Kakashi said. Music ends. TCH. Naruto turns around and pouts, making Kakashi tilt his head in confusion. You stole my thunder, Kakashi. Sensei. He's alive, Sakura thought happily. HMPH. Show off. Sasuke deadpanned. Good job Sasuke. Very smooth. You too Sakura, Kakashi said. By the way, Mr. Tizuna. Yeah what? Tizuna asked. We need to have a talk. Kakashi spoke in a serious tone. Someone's in trouble tilde, Naruto thought. Later. So, who are these guys? Naruto asked, staring at the two tied up, knocked out ninja. The Demon Brothers. They are Chunin-level missing nin from the village hidden in the mist. Their specialty is relentless attack. They keep fighting without any sacrifice. Kakashi told everyone. And they thought that by disguising themselves as a puddle of water, on a clear sunny day no less, was to fool us. Naruto asked. One of them was about to wake up, but Naruto wouldn't have any of that. So the ultimate ninja kicked him in the face, knocking him back out, making Sakura and Tazuna flinch while Sasuke and Kakashi raised brows from the sudden action. Pathetic. To get knocked out by a simple kick from a genin. Naruto scoffed. And they call themselves chunin. In that case, why did you leave it for the genin to fight? Tazuna asked, ignoring what Naruto did as it almost creeped him out. I could have taken them out quickly, but then I'd have learned nothing. I had to know who their target was. Kakashi said, looking at Tazuna. And what they were after. The rookies looked to Tazuna in confusion, while Naruto had a serious look on his face. What are you getting at? Tazuna asked, feigning ignorance but knew he was screwed. You asked for standard protection from simple robbers, but you didn't say anything about no ninja looking for you, hunting you down. If we knew this, this would be AA ranked mission. Our task was to simply follow you to your destination and protect you while you finish the bridge. If we knew we would be fielding attacks from enemy ninja, we would have staffed differently and charged for the cost of AA rank mission. You apparently have your reasons, but lying to us is not acceptable. Tazuna looked down, not meeting anyone's eyes. We're first year genin, this is too advanced for us. Sakura spoke up softly. We should go back. No, I'm still going, Naruto said, causing everyone to look at him. Naruto, what are you saying? Do you know how dangerous this is? Sakura asked, eyes widened from what came out of his. I know and I don't care, Naruto said, crossing his arms, his serious look coming back. I'm not the type of person to abandon someone who needs help. That's not how I roll. But Naruto, we have rules. And who the hell cares about some stupid shinobi rules that some old farts from the past made? Naruto interrupted Sakura. Personally, I don't believe in any of that bull, because whoever made them up can go shove it. His reply shocked and surprised everyone. Naruto. Kakashi tried to speak up, but Naruto wouldn't have it. We may be ninja, but we're still humans. It's in our nature to help those in need, no matter who they are or where they're from. It's the same with all creatures in this world. Shinobi can't just kill their emotions because of a dumbass rule that some idiot made. Emotions are what makes us humans, it's what gives us strength. Naruto looks down at his gloved hand and closed it. We were given great power and we should use it to help people, to save lives. We shouldn't think of ourselves as tools or weapons when we're out on the mission. Squad 7 were stupefied to hear such passionate words from Naruto Uzumaki, the knuckle-headed class clown. But then again, his words did make sense. In the academy they were taught to kill off their emotions when they were out on the field. The most important thing about a shinobi is to be a tool in achieving their village and country's goals. And here was Naruto, someone who was excited to be a ninja, saying that he doesn't believe in the shinobi rules. Tazuna is a good man and sure he had his reason to lie, but so what? That alone is proof that someone out there wants his head on a platter and he needs someone to protect him until he can finish his bridge. He looks up at everyone with a determined grin. And that's gonna be me. No matter how strong the enemy is or how much of a threat they are, I won't run away like coward. I will stand and take them down. He turns his back to his stunned squad and walks away before stopping. Kakashi, you told us that those who break the rules are trash, right? Well, then I guess I'm the biggest trash you've ever met. He shrugs uncaringly, not paying attention to the wide-eyed looks sent his way. Because guess what? I don't follow anyone's rules, including the Hokage. I follow my own rules. I do things my way. He turns and points his thumb up at himself, grinning all the while. My own way. Music. It doesn't matter, instrumental, Sonic Adventure 2. Having said his piece, Naruto turns back and walks away. He didn't pay attention to the stunned look on everyone's faces from hearing his speech and seeing that determination on his face. They honestly couldn't believe how far Naruto is willing to go to help someone in need, even if it means facing severe consequences. He even called himself trash because he simply follows his own rules and he doesn't even care. Needless to say, all of Squad 7 got new respect for Naruto. Naruto. Sakura whispered. She couldn't believe she was saying this, but he was right. She was always told by her parents and instructors to always follow the shinobi rules. But now, after hearing Naruto's moving speech, fills her up with newfound determination. She's a shinobi, but she's still human. Maybe she should follow Naruto's example and just follow her own rules. She showed a smile as she nodded her head. Hey Naruto. Wait up. She ran after him. Sasuke closed his eyes and nodded his head before joining him. He too was thinking about what Naruto said. Following his own rules, do things his own way. Kakashi watched his Sasuke and Sakura follow Naruto. In truth, he too was also moved by Naruto's speech. Shinobi are born with great power, and they should use that power to protect things that matter to them. Like family or friends. Naruto's speech most definitely made an impact with Sasuke and Sakura, seeing how they're following after him. His strong sense of justice had won the two over. Looks like he'll have something to tell the Hokage once they get back from the mission. Alright, looks like we'd continuing with the mission. He walks ahead before looking back at Tazuna, seeing stare at Naruto's back. Yo, you better hurry up before we leave you behind. Why yeah, coming. Tazuna walked to him all the while looking at Naruto in a whole new light. He knew that the mission would be dangerous but he wanted to continue anyway. That kid. He smiled and shook his head. That kid is something else. Music ends. Meanwhile, at an unknown hideout, where no sun is shown to be shining down on it, there is a house in the middle of it. Inside the house where a group of thugs were hiding in. Failed. A small businessman growled at the man before him on the couch staring at his thugs. I spent a lot of money to hire all of you because I heard you all were skilled ninja. He shouted to the man who was sitting on his couch. Stop complaining, Gatō. The man said as he held his long sword to the businessman's neck, making him sweat. I'll use this decapitating knife and kill that guy. Are you really sure you guys will be okay? Gatō asked. It looks like the bridge builder has hired some good ninjas, and since the demon brothers failed in the assassination, they'll be more cautious, so it won't be easy. Who do you think I am? The man giving Gatō a death glare. I, Zabuza Momochi, was called the demon of the village hidden in the mist. Squad 7. I see land, Naruto told everyone throughout the misty lake. How can you tell? Sakura raised a brow along with Sasuke. I have good eyes, Naruto smirked. Everyone was riding in a boat, crossing the border to go to the land of waves. While riding the boat, the entire squad has learned that Gatō, the owner of a company and one of the richest men in the world, is the one who wanted him dead. They also learned that Gatō took over land of waves and is the one who's controlling everything in the village, which made Naruto increase his anger for the man. In fact, land of waves is now a poor country thanks to that bastard Gatō. Once they reached land, everyone got out of the boat and continued on their way to the village. While they was walking, Naruto heard something coming from the bushes. He took out his shuriken and launched them at the bushes, causing the group to stop walking. Naruto began to walk to the bushes and moved them to the side. When he did, his eyes widened in comical shock. What he saw was a snow-white bunny with the shuriken surrounding his being, looking like a deer that got caught. Oops. Naruto chuckled sheepishly, picking up the rabbit. Sorry about that, little guy. I thought you were. He stopped as he sensed something coming. Get down. Kakashi suddenly yelled as he grabbed Tazuna and went to the ground, along with the genin as a large sword flew in the air and embedded itself on a tree. Hey, that's dangerous, Naruto exclaimed as he released the rabbit, who quickly ran away. Everyone got up and turned to the sword. They saw a gray-skinned man with bandages wrapped around his lower face standing on it. Kakashi narrowed his eyes at the man before them. As that? Who's this guy? Naruto asked. You know what, forget it. This guy threw a sword at my head. He was about to charge in but stopped when Kakashi held his arm out. He pouted at Kakashi, who ignored it. I should have known that Gatō would hire you. Kakashi spoke up, getting the man's attention. Zabuza Momochi. The demon of the mist. Zabuza Momochi, huh? Naruto snarled as he cracked his knuckles. Perfect. I know the name of the punk I'm gonna beat down. No, Naruto. He's way out of your league. Kakashi said sternly. Kakashi of the Sharingan eye. Zabuza spoke up. Did I get that right? Kakashi's lone eye narrowed. The what eye? Naruto asked, scratching his head in confusion. What? Is that some sort of special power? Sakura asked. Sasuke looked at Kakashi with a disbelief expression on his face. No way, he has the Sharingan. But how? It's too bad, huh? But you'll have to hand over the old man. Zabuza said as Kakashi gripped his forehead protector that was covering his left eye. All if you stay out if this fight and protect Tazuna. Kakashi told his squad. I taught you all teamwork and now is the time to use it. He moved his protector upward and opened his left eye, which was red and had 3 black dots on it. Well, looks like I get to see the Sharingan in action. It's an honor, Zabuza said, turning his body fully to everyone. Okay, can somebody please tell me what this Sharingan thing is? Naruto asked impatiently, an annoyed expression on his face. Sharingan. Sasuke spoke up, looking down, getting everyone's attention. A rare power. It resides in the eyes. The user of this visual jutsu or dojutsu can instantly see and comprehend any taijutsu, genjutsu and ninjutsu and reflect the attack back at the attacker. The Sharingan is a special rare form of dojutsu. However, there's more to the Sharingan than that. A lot more. You got it right, boy. Zabuza spoke up. But you only scratched the surface. The Sharingan can analyze an opponent's technique and copy it to the smallest detail. A mist starts to appear. As for you, Jonin, Zabuza continued as he looked at Kakashi. Any assassination unit of the hidden mist, we had a standing order to kill you on sight. Your profile was in our bingo book. They called you the man who copied over 1,000 jutsu, the copy ninja. Kakashi's eyes were narrowed as he glared at Zabuza. Copy ninja. Wow, I had no idea you were famous, Kakashi. Naruto said in an impressed tone. Let me get an autograph later on. Can you please take this seriously? Sakura asked in annoyance. Her annoyance grew when Naruto's smirk grew. Can't. The party is getting started. Sasuke continued to stare at Kakashi with a look of confusion. Wait a minute. The Sharingan is a rare trait that only occurs in a few members of the Uchiha clan. My clan. Could he be? I need to exterminate the old man. Now, Zabuza states as he bent down, getting ready to strike Tazuna, who gasped. The genin quickly formed a circle around Tazuna, weapons drawn. So I'll have to eliminate you first, Kakashi? Zabuza asked, staring down at him as he stood up. He grabbed his sword and jumped off the tree, landing on the water. Over there, Naruto yelled, turning to the splash noises. He and the others saw him in a stance as wind started to pick up around him. They looked around and saw the mist getting heavier by the second. Ninja art. Hidden mist jutsu. Zabuza exclaimed as he disappeared into the mist. So this guy wanna play hide and seek, huh? Naruto asked. Sensei. Sakura called out. He'll come after me first, all of you stay with Tazuna. Kakashi said, taking a few steps forward. So hold up, just to be clear, this guy is like a former assassin for the Hidden Mist. Naruto asked. That's right, Zabuza Momochi, the ex-leader of the Hidden Mist assassination unit. He's a master of the silent killing technique. So he can kill us in an instant. Well, that's good to know. Naruto said sarcastically as he noticed the mist getting thicker and thicker. What's up with this mist? The land of waves is surrounded by ocean. This floating mist is ever present. Tazuna answered. Naruto looks around as he continued to stare at the mist. Outside his expression was serious, but inwardly he was cheering. So now they're facing an enemy who's excellent in silent killing and he's using this mist as an advantage to his technique. Unlike those demon brothers, he didn't find them all that exciting, but with this guy he found himself the excitement he was looking for. Naruto felt a pulse of chakra erupt from Kakashi, making the mist less thicker so they can see more clearly. His eyes widened as he sensed fear coming from Sasuke. He looks at him at the corner of his eyes and saw him shaking. Sasuke. Kakashi spoke up, getting his attention. Calm down. I'll protect you with my life. I will not allow my comrades to die. He turns slightly and smiles at him, making Sasuke calm down slightly. I wouldn't be so sure. Everyone's eyes widened as Zabuza had appeared in the circle, eyes closed and sword ready to strike. He opened his eyes. It's over, Zabuza said, causing Kakashi to turn around. Watch out. When Zabuza was about to strike Tazuna, Naruto used his telekinesis to keep Zabuza in place while Kakashi stabbed him from the back. Zabuza grunted in pain, making Naruto look at him before he looked down. His eyes widened when saw water leaking and no blood. He quickly looks behind Kakashi and saw the real Zabuza behind him. Kakashi. Naruto jumped back, releasing the clone. Kakashi turns around, just as the fake Zabuza turned to water, just in time to see Zabuza cut him in half. Zabuza smirked at his accomplishment before his eyes widened in shock as he saw Kakashi turn to water. He saw through his illusion and copied his technique. HMPH, not bad. He suddenly felt the cold steel of a kunai press against his neck. Don't move, Kakashi said. Now it's over. Nice try. Zabuza spoke up calmly. Kakashi's eyes widened as he felt Zabuza appear behind him. But I'm not that easy to fool. Another clone. Sakura exclaimed as it turned to water. The demon swordsman swiped his sword in order to cut Kakashi's head clean off. But he dodged it and kicked him in the chin, sending him flying into the lake. Zabuza then dashed off in order to go in for the kill but stopped as he noticed something on the ground. Trying to slow me down, huh? Zabuza asked as he stopped running and turns around. HMPH. Foolish. He jumps and went into the lake. Damn it. Naruto swore as everyone else looked shocked. Kakashi came out of the water. This isn't normal water. It's dense, heavy, he thought as he looked at it. Ha! Fool. Zabuza appeared behind him, doing hand signs. Water prison jutsu. No. Kakashi exclaimed as he turned around and found himself inside a water sphere. Escaping to water. Really bad idea. Okay, that's it. Naruto was about to run but stopped and blocked a kick from Zabuza's water clone. He narrowed his eyes at it. So back to this thing, huh? He reached into his pocket. Hey Sasuke, you listening? Yeah, I'm listening. Good, 'cause I got a plan. Naruto smirked. A real plan this time. A real plan? Sasuke asked, staring at Naruto. Kakashi's eyes widen in shock. What are you doing? You have to get out of here. Your mission is to protect the bridge builder. If you stay and fight, he'll. Music. His World E3 version, Sonic the Hedgehog, 2006. And I told you I don't give a damn. Naruto said. I do things my way. And that means making sure everyone gets out of this alive, including you, Kakashi. His answer shocked Kakashi to the core. Hey number brow, put this in that bingo book of yours and remember this face. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. The future Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village. And Squad 7 are the ones who took you down. Everyone stared at Naruto with surprised expressions. Sakura felt some sort of confidence well up inside of her. Tazuna had brand new respect for him. Naruto did a hand sign. Now, Shadow Clone Jutsu. Multiple Naruto appeared and at the Zabuza clone, dogpiling it. The clone then attacked, making the Naruto clone scatter and disappear. The clone heard movement and turned its head before its eyes widened as it saw a tree, covered in cyan glow, charging at it. It jumped out of its way before it dodged another tree. Hey! The clone turns around and saw Naruto on his sword. He made a teasing face at it, making it angry as it tried to hit him, but he jumped on his head and did flip. He reached into his book bag and tossed an object in the air. Sasuke catch, was all he said, before he disappeared in a poof of smoke, revealing it was a clone. Sasuke looks up and grabs the object. He looks at it and his eyes widened. So that was the plan. Not bad, Naruto. He moved his hand just as the object starts to active itself, revealing it to be a large shuriken. Demon Wind Shuriken. Windmill of Shadows. Sakura smiled in excitement at seeing such a cool-looking weapon. A shuriken. You wouldn't even touch me with that. The water clone said. Sasuke jumped in the air and threw the shuriken at the clone, as it stood still. Its eyes widened as the shuriken went past it. So you're aiming for the real thing, huh? The real Zabuza asked. Smart. But not smart enough. He caught the shuriken in his hand. His eyes widened as he saw another one. A second shuriken in the shadow of the first. The Shadow Shuriken Jutsu. The second shuriken is on target. And he can't catch this one. Sakura thought. As the shuriken got closer and closer, Zabuza jumped over it as it went past him. I told you a shuriken can't hit me. He told them as Sakura had a shocked expression while Sasuke smirked. The shuriken continued to fly. A poof of smoke appeared and Naruto was in its place, holding a glowing ring, shocking everyone, except a smirking Sasuke, to the core. Zabuza turns around with a shocked expression. What? Naruto grips the ring tightly as he began to glow yellow. Take this. He turns into a spinning ball and dashed at Zabuza with incredible speed. He landed a direct hit on Zabuza's stomach, making him gasp out in pain as the strange technique pushed him back and made him fly upwards. Naruto then kicked Zabuza further in the air before he took out the Chaos Emerald. Chaos Control, he thought as time stopped. He flies behind Zabuza and used a powerful axe kick on his back, just as time returned to normal, and sent him crashing back to the lake. Splash. Zabuza crashed into the water, but he used his chakra to make him stand on the surface. He glares up at a free-falling Naruto, who was smirking in a cocky manner and wagged his finger back and forth. Zabuza was about to throw the shuriken at him but stopped when Kakashi appeared and blocked it with his bare arm, as he glared at him. Music fades. Naruto, that was an excellent plan you made. Kakashi said. Ha, damn right it was. Naruto said, his ego starting to show as he landed to where the others were. The perfect distraction to get no brow off his game. You gotta seriously love the shadow clones. And that awesome gold ring. I knew that thing's powerful but not that kind of powerful. Alright, you don't have to brag about it. Sasuke said with a smirk. It was just a fluke. Tazuna yelled comically. Call it whatever you want, those two were perfect out there. They communicated without even talking to each other. Though it looked like the two hate each other, they looked like they were a perfect team out there. Sakura thought in awe. She then thought back on what Naruto said about that gold ring. What exactly was that? Where did Naruto get it? How did he use it to gain such power boost? Nonetheless, it's excellent. You've matured, haven't you? Kakashi asked. Hey, I've always matured, Naruto exclaimed. I just don't show it. Now kick this guy's butt so we can drop Tazuna off. Believe me, Kakashi said as he glared at Zabuza, his Sharingan glowing. I will. Kakashi and Zabuza have clashed with kunai and sword in hand respectively. Zabuza then went in as he tried to roundhouse kick Kakashi only for him to duck it and do a couple of backflips away from him. Zabuza then starts to jump a few feet away from him and was doing hand seals at a fast pace. Kakashi, thanks to his Sharingan, began to copy what Zabuza was doing at the same fast pace as he was. Naruto narrowed his eyes at S hand seals. He scoffed. They call that fast. Water style. Water dragon missile. Both shinobi shouted. The Genin and Tazuna saw two of the same water dragons rise from the sea, glaring at each. They gave out a roar and charged at each other. Zabuza's dragon was pushing Kakashi's backwards, proving to it that it's going to win. However, Kakashi's dragon pushed also letting it know that it's not going to give up. They continued on for what seems like minutes until Kakashi's dragon pushed even more while giving out a mighty roar. But then, both of the dragons just exploded and splashed. The massive splash made Naruto scream comically as he was lifted in the air. He looks down and saw water torpedo heading towards a tree, before it slammed into it. He heard a yell of pain, which sounded like Zabuza and saw him embedded into the tree by kunai. He also saw Kakashi on top of a tree branch above Zabuza. Way to go, Senator. Huh. Naruto gasped along with everyone else as they saw two needles appear and stab Zabuza in the neck. Kakashi and Naruto turned their heads to where the needles came from and saw a male ninja. He wore pinstripe outfit which stopped at his knees. Over this, he wore a green haori with white trimmings, and around his waist a brown sash with a fringe trail wrapped around his waist twice. He also wore light brown platoon sandals with straps in the same color as his kimono and nail polish on his fingernails and toenails in matching blue-green color. His long hair was gathered in a white bun holder, while two locks of his hair fell loose framing his face, bound with metal hair cuffs at the ends. He wore a hunter nin mask, which was white with thin, curved eye holes and a red wavy design in place of the mouth, as well as a symbol etched in the top. You were right. It was his last battle, the young man said as he got everyone's attention. Naruto flipped in the air and landed on the ground softly. He turns to Zabuza and saw Kakashi already beside Zabuza checking his pulse. Well. No vital signs. Kakashi answered Naruto as he glared at the masked man, who bowed to him. Thank you. I have been tracking Zabuza for a very long time. Waiting for this chance to finally take him down. Judging by your mask, I can see you're a tracker ninja from the Hidden Mist Village. Kakashi stated. Impressive. You're well informed. The masked man said. Tracker. Huh? Naruto asked as he appeared in front of the others, a dead serious expression on his face. I heard of you. You guys have a special role, right? When a rogue ninja like Zabuza leaves their villages, with so much of the village's secrets, it's the tracker ninja's job to find those rogue ninja of their respective villages to hunt and eliminate them. Sakura stared at Naruto with a surprised expression. How do you know that? You weren't even there that day back at the academy. Just like that, the serious expression from before dropped as Naruto face faulted to the ground comically. Oi, they have things called books, ya know. Besides, there was a personal reason why I didn't come that day. You are correct, the masked man said. I'm a member of an elite tracking unit of the village hidden in the mist. It was my duty to stop Zabuza. Kakashi's eyes were narrowed. But in any case, Naruto said as he looked up at the masked boy. What the heck, man? He yelled, getting everyone's attention. How the hell were you able to do that? Zabuza is at the same level as Kakashi-sensei, yet you took him down with only 2 needles. He was our enemy, not yours. Sakura and Tazuna had comical shocked expressions from what Naruto said while Sasuke just muttered, moron, under his breath. Easy, Naruto, Kakashi said as he stood up, walking beside Naruto, hands in his pockets. Come on, sensei, this kid took down Zabuza with 1 blow, so what does that make the 3 of us? Naruto asked as Sakura looked down in thought. But then again, this kid. He looks up at the masked boy. Even though he's our age, he's still strong enough to take down someone like Zabuza. He felt Kakashi rubbed his head. That's right. In this world, there are kids, even though younger than you, are stronger than you. Kakashi said. They're also stronger than me. That made Sasuke grit his teeth to hear something like that. Naruto and Kakashi looked back at Zabuza's body and saw the tracker ninja picking the corpse up. Your struggle is over for now. I must deal with the remains. The tracker nin told them. There are many secrets in this body. They must not be allowed in the wrong hands. Please excuse me, this is farewell. Huh, hey, wait a sec. Naruto ran to stop him before the boy disappeared. And, he's gone. He deadpanned with a half-lidded expression. He sighed and shook his head. So, what happens now? Aside from taking the drunk builder back to his bridge to finish it. Oh, well, you guys can stay at my house and rest up. Tazuna said, smiling big. Think of it as an apology for getting you into this mess. Alright, let's get a move on. Kakashi told everyone as he covered his left eye. He took a few steps forward but stopped and fell to the ground, making everyone gasp. Kakashi. Naruto blinked as he and the others ran to him. Oh crap, Kakashi. Later. The group have entered Tazuna's house. While they entered, they met up with Tazuna's daughter, Tsunami, who was cooking dinner, and told them about what happened. Naruto and Sasuke took Kakashi to a room. It's only been a few minutes, but Kakashi was starting to wake up now. Luckily, Naruto and the others entered and saw Kakashi and Tsunami. About time you woke up, sleeping beauty. Naruto smirked as he and the others sat down around him. Next time try and take it easy on using that Sharingan thing. He's right, sensei. Your Sharingan is amazing, but if you put much strain on it then this will happen. Sakura agreed. Sorry, Kakashi groaned. Something is definitely up though. About that tracker guy, Naruto said, back in his serious voice, getting everyone's attention. What are you talking about? Sakura asked in confusion. Tracker ninja are supposed to dispose of a rogue ninja corpse completely. If the body holds that many secrets of the village, then they're obliterated on the spot, via burn to a crisp or eaten by an animal. Naruto explained. But that guy, he didn't do it. He just took Zabuza's body and ran off somewhere. Naruto's correct, Kakashi said. Think back on the weapons he used for the takedown. Do you remember it? Throwing needles. Sasuke's eyes widened. No way. Exactly. Kakashi nodded. None of it adds up. What are you all yammering about? Tazuna asked. You demolished that assassin. Here's the truth. Zabuza is still alive. Kakashi answered. Sakura and Tazuna screamed with comical shocked expressions and Naruto had a comical deadpanned expression. Tsunami, a blue-haired young woman, gasped. Yup, called it, Naruto stated, leaning back on the floor, staring up at the ceiling. But Kakashi, you said his heart stopped, you checked it yourself. Sakura exclaimed. His heart did stopped, in a temporary state. Kakashi said, thinking back from earlier. The weapons that Tracker used are called Senbon. They can pierce deeply but rarely kill once they hit a vital organ. In short, our little Tracker wasn't trying to kill Zabuza but save him from Kakashi-sensei when he tried to deal the final blow by using the Senbon to stab him in the neck and take him away. And now we got a powerful assassin and his sidekick to deal with. Naruto said in annoyance. Honestly, he didn't want to hear any of that crap anymore, add to the fact that he was about to fall asleep. However, an excited grin formed on his face as he stood up. Oh yeah, not only are dealing with Zabuza but the Tracker guy too. Time for some major butt kicking. He did a kick after he said that. Alright then, Sasuke, Sakura, it's time to prepare ourselves for our fight. Let's get some training done. Bonk. Ow, what the hedgehog? Naruto yelled as he grabbed his head. The heck was that for Sakura? That's for being an idiot. Look at Kakashi-sensei. Do you honestly think he can give us some last-minute training to make us stronger to fight Zabuza? Sakura asked. Naruto rolled his eyes. Yeah, what? You think that just because he's like this means he's not gonna train us? Naruto, Sensei could barely defeat him even with his Sharingan. We have to be reasonable about this. Sakura exclaimed. Cha, is this idiot trying to get us killed? Inner Sakura asked. Sakura, Kakashi spoke up. Why do you think I was able to stop Zabuza? Because you all helped me. You've grown. He turns to Naruto. Naruto. Yeah. Kakashi I smiled at him. You've grown the most. Hey, Naruto grinned. Just watch, things are gonna get better, believe it. I don't believe it, and nothing's gonna get better. Everyone turned to the voice and saw a little at the door. He wore a green overalls with a yellow shirt and a simple pair of sandals. He also wore a blue and white striped hat under the brim of his eyes. Who's the kid? Naruto asked as Tazuna sat on his knees with his arms out. Inari, where've you been? Grandpa. Inari ran to him and hugged him. Inari, that was very rude. Tsunami scolded him. These ninja helped your grandpa and brought him home safely. It's okay, it's okay. Tazuna exclaimed, rubbing his grandson's head. I'm rude to them as well. No kidding. Naruto muttered as Inari looked at them and turned to his mother. Mom, don't you see these people are gonna die? Gatō and his men are gonna come back and kill them. Inari exclaimed. Say what? Naruto glared at him. Listen and listen, good kid. You're talking to Naruto Uzumaki, the hidden leaf, no wait, the world's ultimate ninja and the future Hokage of the Leaf Village. He pointed at himself and grinned. Ultimate ninja. Sasuke, Sakura and Kakashi all deadpanned at Naruto's self-proclaimed title, which he ignored. The hell? Tazuna asked, staring at Naruto as if he was dumb. Ain't no way some thug is no match for a hero. There's no such thing as a hero. Inari said. You're just full of stupid ideas. Stupid ideas that I'm gonna. Naruto stops as he sensed the presence of two emeralds nearby. Huh. If you want to stay alive, you should head back where you belong. Inari finished as he left the room, completely ignoring his grandfather, who was calling out to him. Naruto still remained where he was as he stared off into space. Naruto. Sakura shook him. Getting no response, she shook him again. Naruto. Huh. Naruto turned his head to Sakura. What is it? You were staring off into space. Are you okay? Sakura asked. Oh yeah, of course. Naruto said. Hey listen, I'm gonna head out real quick, I'll be back soon. He said as he left the room. He could hear noises upstairs and went to go check. As he got closer to where the noises were coming from, he could hear that it was sobbing noises. He peeked into the room and saw Inari, his back facing him, holding something in his house. Daddy. Naruto looked down at the floor as he silently left the house, his hair shadowing his eyes. Once he left the house, Naruto took out 2 Chaos Emeralds. The emerald in his left hand is green, the one he found at the day he took the bell test, while the one on the right is yellow, which he found a few days later on top of the Hokage mountain. Naruto looked down at the emeralds and saw they were glowing brighter and brighter as he went to the same direction. The ultimate ninja stops as he saw his reflection in the water, making him realize he was standing in front of a lake. He looks down in the lake and saw something glowing purple and red. Huh. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw the glowing lights were coming up to the surface. Both red and purple chaos emeralds came out of the lake glowing brightly before they floated towards him. Whoa. Naruto muttered as he saw both emeralds floating in front of him, spinning around his body before they went inside him, along with the emeralds he had in his hands. He gasped as he started to see another vision. The vision, this time, shows a cave, not too far from where's he at, and apparently there's something inside it as there's a glowing rainbow aura around it. Once the vision ended, Naruto shook his head and rubbed his forehead. Oh man, what a rush. He stopped and turned to the direction of the cave. Time to see what this thing is. He took off in a blur and in the next moment he arrived at the cave. Once he entered the cave, his eyes widened in awe as he saw floating attachments, that looks like they belong to the heel of his sneakers, in front of him surrounded by rainbow aura. One closer look at them and he saw how that were some glowing green lines on them. Whoa, what are those? Naruto asked as he walked in front of the heels. However, once his foot stepped into the rainbow aura, it erupted, causing Naruto to cover his eyes. When he opened them, his eyes widened as he saw the heels were gone. He looked around before he looked behind his sneakers and he gasped as they were now attached to them. You've found the light speed shoes. Now you can perform the light speed dash. The light speed dash lets you race towards rings at light speed. As long as there's a trail of rings you can go just about anywhere. A feminine voice said to Naruto, making him blink and look around. Hey, who said that? He began to get scared thinking that it was a ghost. He turns to the entrance of the cave and saw a trail of golden rings right in front of him. Naruto blinked. Where the hell did they come from? He stares at them as he recalled what the voice said. The light speed dash lets him race towards rings at light speed. He looks down at his new upgraded sneakers. Light speed dash huh. A grin appears on his face as he approached the rings. When he did, he tried out his new technique and he found himself dashing as he collected all the rings, not seeing that he was leaving after images of himself. He found himself back in front of the lake. Awesome! Naruto exclaimed as he looked at the light speed shoes again. He then raced back to the house. Unknown to Naruto, he was being watched from afar by someone in the shadows. Next day. Today is a new day. The three genin found themselves standing in a forest in front of their sensei. Kakashi, still not being able to stand on his own, supported himself with a set of wooden crutches. What exactly are we doing here? Sasuke asked. We're gonna do a little training exercise today, Sasuke. Kakashi replied. So what's this training we're gonna be doing, sensei? Sakura asked. Kakashi's eye curled up in a smile. Well, I thought we'd do something fun today. He threw a hand out behind him to the trees. We're going to do a little tree climbing. The genin's expressions were a bit underwhelming, to say the least. Say what now? Naruto asked. Could you repeat that? Sakura deadpanned, unsure if she'd heard Kakashi-sensei right. Did he seriously want them to climb trees? How is tree climbing training? Naruto asked, voicing the thoughts of everyone there. In fact, with my speed I can run up them all day if I wanted to. Heck, I could even use my telekinesis to fly up there. Oh, Kakashi sounded as if he'd remembered just why it was training, as if they believed that. Sorry, I guess I forgot to mention, no hands allowed. He stared at Naruto. Same with your telekinesis and speed, Naruto. No hands, no telekinesis, no speed, Naruto asked with an outraged expression on his face. Then how the hell are we supposed to climb the tree? The other two nodded with his assessment. Oh no, wait a sec. Naruto said in realization. That's right. You use chakra. Shinobi generally regard the feet as the hardest place to channel chakra, even more so since the feet are usually covered by sandals. Thus it is that much harder because you have to force chakra through the rubber. Of course, it varies from person to person, but I guarantee that all three of you will fall at least once. The masked Jonin turned to the tree behind him and proceeded to walk straight at it. When he got to it, Kakashi just kept walking, straight up at a 90-degree angle. He finally reached the lowest branch, which hung high over their heads. The teens stared at him, their mouths opened. Trust me, he called down to them. This isn't as easy as I make it look. On the plus side though, when you're done with this and get all the way to the top, your chakra control will be much better and you'll be that much stronger. Then he dropped 3 kunai down to the shinobi members of the group and they got to work. Use those kunai to mark your progress. I don't expect each of you to reach the treetop on the first try, also I would recommend a running start to gain some momentum. No problem. This should be a piece of cake. Naruto grinned, twirling the kunai on his finger. Less talk, more action, Naruto. Kakashi told his student. Naruto nodded and all three formed the ram hand seal, the ground around their feet glowing blue from the slightly flaring chakra. Let's do it to it. Naruto grinned. The genin took off running towards their respective trees. Sasuke made it only a few steps before the amount of chakra he was using blew him off the tree with a small explosion of wood. Naruto tried to run up but he fell, while Sakura made it to the very top. What the hell? How did Sakura make it to the top while we got blown away? Naruto asked in comical shock and anger as the girl stuck her tongue out playfully. Kakashi cleared his throat, getting everyone's attention. I can explain that, Naruto. When you put too much chakra, the surface's own energy will repel you off, too little and you'll never stick. The reason Sakura was able to go so far is simple. Females tend to have small chakra reserves, which in turn means their chakra control is enormous. Kakashi explained. That is so sexist. Naruto deadpanned, before he realized something. Crap, I was so busy training my other powers, I didn't even bother to train my chakra. Shit. You and Sasuke as males tend to normally have high chakra reserves, which means average to below average control, especially you, Naruto, seeing how you have large chakra reserves than all of us. This is the main reason why most of the best genjutsu specialists and medic nins tend to be female. Kakashi eye smiles at them. If I recall, there was a certain someone who said he wanted to be Hokage one day and as a self-proclaimed ultimate ninja. Seems like Sakura might have a chance to have both those titles, don't you think? Naruto grit his teeth comically as a large vein appeared on his head. There is no way in hell someone is gonna take the title of ultimate ninja. That's his as he came up with it first. Especially his Hokage position. As for the great Uchiha clan, they might not be so great after. Kakashi said to Sasuke as he huffed. Naruto and Sasuke then turned to each other, eyes narrowed. Seems like they're motivated. Kakashi thought. Meanwhile, secret hideout. In a hidden base up in the treetops of a forest in Wave, Zabuza was resting his body, his faithful tool Haku watching over him and trying to speed up his recovery. Haku, you have all the finesse of a butcher. Did you have to hit my neck? Zabuza, I didn't want to scar your body, besides the neck was easier to target during the chaos of your battle. Haku said with an innocent smile. You're a sadistic one, that's for sure. Zabuza mumbled, getting a giggle from his tool. A voice from the doorway drew their attention. It seems ninja from Wave are overrated, it seems. You got some nerve showing your face around here after taking a beating like that. Gatō, a small pudgy dwarf of a man, stood there in his pressed suit with two samurai bodyguards flanking him. You can't even clean up for your miserable subordinates, the demon, yeah right. Zabuza kept quiet though he palmed a kunai under the blanket covering him, knowing he would have no problem taking the dwarf's arm off if he so much as even thought about touching him. Both Gatō's bodyguards reached for their swords only for Gatō to motion for them to stop. Hold it, you two. So what, Zabuza? Got nothing to say for yourself? No last words. Slowly Gatō reached for Zabuza's neck, inching closer and closer. Zabuza gripped the kunai in his hand and was about to swing before Haku grabbed Gatō's arm and squeezed hard, breaking the pudgy man's arm. Ah! Gatō screams in pain as he fell on his knees. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. You will not touch Zabuza. The look in Haku's eyes were as a pure cold-hearted murderer. It even made Gatō shiver in fear just looking at them. The businessman screams more as he felt the hand gripping him tight before he struggled to get away. By doing so, two emeralds dropped out from his jacket pocket, one blue and the other turquoise. Gatō's bodyguards both began to draw their swords, but in an instant their swords were in Haku's hands and the blades against their throats, drawing a small line of blood. You don't want to do that. Not when I'm angry. This kid is some kind of monster. Gatō and his guards thought before moving away from Zabuza and Haku. Gatō quickly went to the emeralds and used his good hand to put them back where they belong. Zabuza, there had better not be any more mistakes. Understood. If you fail again, don't even think you can come back here. All three left and for a minute no spoke. Haku, there was no need for you. I know, but it's too soon to finish him off. If we cause a commotion here, we'll have to run again. And besides, he doesn't deserve to touch you. Zabuza looked at the teen for a moment before snorting, trying to go to sleep. The forest. Land of waves. Oh come on. Naruto roared as he kicked the tree in anger. I almost had it that time. Sasuke couldn't understand it. He was an Uchiha, not only that he was the rookie of the year, so why was tree walking so damn hard for him? He glared at the tree, which he was sure was glaring back at him for all the foot-shaped holes and slash marks that were now in it. Sakura was allowed to go in to eat while both he and Naruto weren't allowed until they made it to at least where Sakura had gotten. The two of them then glared at each other before they dashed off at their trees again. They both reached their mark, with Naruto being a bit higher than Sasuke. Come on. Almost. Naruto whispered before he sighed and sat down. Thank you, Sakura. Hey Naruto. Naruto turned to Sasuke as the Uchiha heir kept looking away from him and he had some red dusting his cheeks, which made Naruto raise an eyebrow at him. Do you think? Naruto blinked before he went, oh. A cheeky grin appeared on his face. Oh, I get it. You want some help with this thing and you want to know what Sakura told me. Sasuke grumbled but nodded. Naruto hummed. Not telling ya. Sasuke glared at him comically while Naruto still had that cheeky Sonic grin. But since we're teammates and all, I guess I can help. Naruto instantly appeared and wrapped his arm around Sasuke's neck, much to his annoyance. All right, listen up. Next day. Naruto was snoring softly. He groaned when he felt the sun hitting his face, making him cover his eyes with his hand. He looked around and saw he was in the forest. What the hell? When did? Oh yeah, he closed his eyes as he remembered. After finishing training yesterday, both him and Sasuke were even more fired up to compete each other. As they made it to the house, they ate so much food last night that they puked it out. It was also then that they learned what happened to Inari to make him become that. Apparently, his father, or more accurately his stepfather, was a well-known hero in the land of waves. He had done some many things for their village that everyone loved and respect him. However, when Gatō showed up, he caught Inari's father and beat him in submission. Gatō even got everyone in the village together to witness the execution of their hero, and Inari had a front row seat. Since then, the village and Inari hadn't been the same again. So Naruto made a vow. He left the house and swore to everyone that he would make the kid believe that heroes exist. Man. Go away, son. Naruto muttered before he heard chirping from birds. He then felt a hand grab him. Hey, wake up. Naruto groaned as he opened his eyes, and what he saw made him blink. He saw a beautiful woman. She has long black hair, pale skin and large, dark brown eyes. She wore pink Japanese clothes. Both were staring at each other for a few minutes before Naruto stood up. Hey, he waved to her. He then began to blush a little. I mean, what are you doing here? I was gathering herbs, the woman said. Later, Naruto decided to help the woman gather some herbs. Phew. Naruto sat down on the grass. You sure do gather herbs, huh? Of course. I guess you could say it helps calm my mind. The woman said. But I was surprised when I saw you sleeping out here. Naruto chuckled. That's 'cause I was training. Training. You're a ninja. I'm not just any ninja. Naruto grinned as he pointed at himself. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the world's ultimate ninja. Well, it's nice to meet you, Naruto. I'm Haku. The woman blinked. Also, ultimate ninja. Yup. And last night I was training on this stupid tree walking exercise my sensei had me do. Naruto scratched his head and closed one eye. I thought it would be easy, but I guess I was wrong. All because of this stupid chakra of mine. Guess I still have some work to do. Why do you want to train so much? The woman asked. Naruto twitched as his expression slowly turned serious. I want to get stronger. So that way I can become Hokage of the Leaf Village, so that way everyone can respect me. He then grins to her. And I want to prove this stupid kid a lesson. And his smile vanished as he looked away. Another reason. The woman stared at him before she looked down at his hands and saw he was holding what looked like a purple star charm. Does your other reason have something to do with that star charm? Naruto's eyes widened as he looked down and saw he was indeed holding onto his star charm. He was shaking as memories began to flash in his head. Did it belong to someone precious to you? Naruto's lips trembled as an image of a girl appeared. Oh, how he wished to see her face. Let's play Naruto. Her happy face. I swear, you're so naive. Her stern face. Come back here and face your punishment. Her comical angry face. I promise, we'll be bestest friends forever. Her gentle smile. Naruto put the charm on his chest and kneeled over slightly as though he was in pain. It just hurts. It hurts so much whenever he was thinking about her. His heart would always be in pain every time he thought about that day. The day he failed to keep his promise to her. The day she was taken from him. The woman watched Naruto as he was breathing heavily while keeping the charm close to his chest. That charm. It meant a lot to him, she could tell. Whoever it was that gave it to him, something must have happened to them. When a person has something precious they want to protect, only then can they become stronger. The person who gave you that, are they precious to you? Of course she is, Naruto exclaimed as he stood up, glaring down at the woman. She means everything to me. She was the first person to ever acknowledge me, the first person I've ever played and had fun with. To accept me for who I am. She's he looks down. My best friend. And what happened to her? She was. Her crying face appeared in his mind as half her body was vanishing. I don't really know how to explain it. Naruto admitted sadly before a determined expression appeared on his face. But I do know she's out there somewhere. She's waiting for me. That's why. I have to get stronger so that way when I find her, I'll be able to keep my promise. I see. The woman smiled as she stood up. That's good. I hope you find her someday. Having precious people in your life and meeting new ones can always make someone grow stronger. It's not just raw power itself. It's the bond you form with people, that's where true strength lies. Naruto's eyes widened at the wisdom the woman spoke. He looks at his charm and a small smile appeared on his face. He then grinned at the woman. Right, I hear ya, but what about you, lady? The woman smiled. I too have someone precious to me. I want to protect him and help him make his dream come true. She stood up. Goodbye. I hope we meet soon. She walked away before she stopped. Oh, by the way, I'm a boy. Naruto's eyes popped out of his sockets and his jaw dropped as he the boy. That's a dude. I just said all that stuff to a guy. He yelled inwardly. No way. No way. No way. What the heck is going on with the world? I want a do-over. A do-over I say. I mean. Smack. Ow. Naruto looked up and saw Sasuke was there. The hell was that for? You want to pick a fight? Did you forget about breakfast? Sasuke asked. You're such a loser. Naruto stared at him before he huffed and turned away but gave him a smirk which made Sasuke raise an eyebrow at him. Later. Naruto. Sakura called out as she and Kakashi were in the forest, looking for him. Knowing Naruto he could be anywhere. And Sasuke hasn't come back. I wonder where they are. Here. A kunai sailed to them as it landed in front of them. They looked up and saw Naruto was relaxing on tree branch on a very tall tree. Ha, how'd y'all like me now, sensei? I did it with chakra. Whoa. An amazed Sakura whispered as Kakashi stared in silent surprise. Check it out, y'all. Naruto stood up and fell backwards, making Kakashi's eye widen while Sakura screamed. Ha, got ya. He used his chakra to stick to the tree branch as he stood upside down. You idiot. You really worried us. Sakura yelled at him. Whatever. This is the power of the ultimate ninja. Ha 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 ha. Naruto laughed in victory before he began to feel air. He then fell down. Uh-oh. Kakashi's eye widened. You just had to do it, didn't you? Show off. Sakura shouted comically. Crap, crap, crap. Naruto wailed his arms before he realized something. He had telekinesis now. Oh wait. He stopped when he felt someone grab his ankle, stopping his fall. Ultimate ninja. More like an ultimate loser. Sasuke stated. Shut up. You're just jealous I thought of the title before you. Naruto exclaimed as he glared at Sasuke comically. Kakashi I smiled at the two while Sakura was in fangirl mode. Afterwards. It was now dark outside as Kakashi and Sakura were at Tazuna's house, all of them waiting for Naruto and Sasuke to return. The door opened, revealing the two as Naruto grinned. Hey, we made it to the top. He said. Good. Kakashi nodded. Starting tomorrow, you two will be Tazuna's bodyguards. Awesome. Naruto said before he fell back, dragging Sasuke along with him, as everyone, except Inari, laughed at them. Later, Naruto and Sasuke got up to the table eating dinner with everyone. Naruto was ignoring what everyone was saying as he was more focused on the boy he talked to earlier. What heck was that even about? Who was that guy anyway? And why did he feel familiar to him? But why? Naruto blinked as he heard the soft whisper. He turns to Inari. Why what? He asked as the kid slammed his hands on the table. All this stupid training is just a waste of time. Inari exclaimed. Gatō's got a whole army and he will destroy you. His outburst caused everyone to stare at him. These cool things you say, they don't mean anything. Inari continued. No matter what you do, the strong always wins and the weak perish. Naruto scoffed. Oh please kid, you're not even a ninja so you have zero idea on how we do things. Why don't you shut up? Just looking at you makes me sick. You don't know anything about this country. You're always laughing and goofing around. You don't know what it's like to suffer and being treated like dirt. You probably haven't lost someone important to you. Inari shouted at him. Slam. Everyone gave startled gasps as Naruto appeared in front of Inari and gripped him by his collar as he slammed him into the wall behind them, making cracks appear. Naruto himself had his eyes shadowed over. Let me tell you something, you little punk. He spoke in a cold dark tone, that made his squad's eyes widen in surprise at hearing such a tone coming from him. There are people all over the world who are suffering just as much you, if not worse, and they've lost people important to them as well. Memories of that day flashed in his mind. Someone very important to me disappeared right in front of my eyes and I don't know why. I believe that someone or something took her away, and I've been trying to search for her every goddamn day. I even had to sneak out of my village multiple times to go and search for her myself before the ninja there had to drag me back and tie me down on my damn bed. That made Sakura and Sasuke's eyes widened in surprise while Kakashi's eye was narrowed. So those rumors were true. What he's talking about is that there were rumors about Naruto sneaking out of the village, sometimes during day while in the middle of night. They say that he was planning on leaving for good while others say that he was looking for someone. I swore that once I became a ninja I would go out and find her. Naruto continued. Before you even say she might be dead, she isn't. I know that deep down in my heart she's alive because I have this. Naruto dug into his pocket and took out his star charm. This was the first gift I ever received from anyone in my village. She made this for me and I made something similar to it for her. She said that these charms would lead us back together again if we ever got separated and I believe her. Whenever I hold this in my hand I can feel her presence. It's faint but it's proof she's out there somewhere and she's waiting for me to come find her. Naruto still had his head lowered. Unlike you, who's nothing but a whiner, I'm still fighting. Fighting to reach my dream and to find her. I don't know your father but he was a hero in this whole country. If he was still alive right now, he would still be fighting Gatō. He was shaking now as he grit his teeth. But instead of doing that, you're just sitting here whining and complaining like some sorry little victim. As far as I can tell. Naruto now raised his head and glared at Inari darkly. You're nothing but a coward. And your father would be disappointed that you're just crying your eyes out and not fighting to take back your home. That made Inari's eyes widen and tears to gather as Naruto released him. Naruto. Sakura stood up, glaring at Naruto. That's going way too. Stay out of this, Sakura. Naruto said darkly as he glared at her before he turned and left the room, slamming the door hard. Sakura flinched from the tone and the glare she received from him. It's been a long time since she's seen that look and heard that tone from Naruto during academy days. To be honest, she hoped that she would never meet that version of Naruto again, because she was afraid of him. And she has never been afraid of Naruto before. But that friend of his that he was talking about, now that she thought about it, she remembered seeing a girl talking to Naruto after school was over and the two would leave together. She even came to the academy during class at point. She hadn't seen her in a while and that was before Naruto's sudden behavior change. Naruto. Sasuke was in the same boat. That explains why Naruto has been quiet on some of those days back at the academy and more violent. There were also times when Naruto hasn't even been to the academy all day. He left the village to go and search for this friend of his. He wouldn't lie, he would do the same thing if it meant finding him of all people. But Sasuke knew he wasn't strong enough back then. Even today he's not strong enough to fight him yet. He also had no clue or the whereabouts of his location. Kakashi watched his student leave the room as a sigh escaped his lips. He then turns to Inari, who was sobbing on the floor. Naruto was sitting up on the roof as he sighed. Maybe he went too far with calling Inari a coward and saying his father was disappointed in him. But the stupid kid had to understand that the world isn't all black and white. There are people out there who are suffering more than him. That's how life works. We gotta suffer at some point and we have to learn how to overcome it. Naruto took out his charm and looked up at the moon for a moment, before he closed his eyes. Am I right? Blaze. Ending 1. The Shining Road, English version. Instruments. As his eyes were closed he didn't see the charm glowing a faint purple. Elsewhere. Inside a beautiful-looking castle, a young girl of 13 years is seen sitting outside her window as she looks down at her kingdom, seeing a festival happening as fireworks were lighting the sky. She sighed to herself as she turned and was about to walk away. Am I right? Blaze. But stopped as a gasp escaped her lips. Oh my gosh, she felt it. It was faint but she felt. No, she heard him calling out to her in a faint whisper. She takes out a yellow star charm as she puts it close to her chest. She looks up at the full moon. Naruto. She didn't notice her charm was glowing slightly. The world around us is so magical. But now it's been placed under a spell. The shot of the Hidden Leaf Village is shown at night. However, the sun starts to rise in the distance. My love, come with me and together we shall search to find a charm. We'll travel to the land of our dreams where forbidden dreams just may come true. Naruto is sitting on top of the fourth Hokage's mountain head as he stares at the rising sun. The wind starts to blow as it moved his hair to the side. He looks down at his hand, staring at his star charm, a sad look on his face. He closes his eyes and puts the charm on his chest for a moment, not seeing it glowing slightly. When we're alone tomorrow, we will sneak away and secretly meet. Up on top of a hill, where there are birds everywhere and we can be all alone. At the same time, a princess is seen at her castle, staring at the rising sun as well, a sad look on her face. She walks back to her room and picks up her star charm from her bed, placing it on her chest and closing her eyes, not seeing it glow. I know someday, I'll hold your hand. While we sit alone in the morning mist. And the seal in our way, of our shining road will be broken. Back in the Leaf Village, a younger Naruto opens his eyes and saw he was in a mist. He walks forward, looking around in confusion. Unknown to Naruto, the princess, who got younger also, appeared behind him and was looking around as well. They both stopped walking as they felt each other's presence. They slowly looked back at each other with surprised expressions. Naruto ended up smiling happily as he ran to her and grabbed her hand, bringing a smile on the princess's face. The two ran off together, before they disappeared. Till the end of time. Naruto and the princess, in their older forms, stood back to back, eyes closed and smiles present on their faces. In their hands, were their star charms. The sun has begun to rise as it started to shine on a castle. Inside one of the castle's bedrooms, sleeps the princess, a blanket covering her whole body. The sun had fully risen in the sky as it beamed inside her bedroom. Her bedroom doors opens up as one of the castle's butlers came in. Your Highness, it is time to get up. The butler said as the girl groans in annoyance. Your Highness. The butler's tone turned stern. It isn't that, the princess said in annoyance. How many times have I told you not to call me that, Michael? Exactly a dozen times. Michael gave a smile. But you are the princess and as such must be treated as so. We've been through this many times now, Princess Blaze. Blaze sat there and sighed to herself once more. Of course. She removes the blanket as she yawns, while covering her mouth and revealing her appearance. Long waist-length lilac-colored hair with dark purple tips, a small gem on her forehead and beautiful golden eyes. She looks up at her butler Michael, an elderly man who looks like he's been with her family for generations. If you would, Blaze asked. Of course, Princess. Michael said as he turned around and walked out. I shall be back to check up on you. He left the room, closing the door behind. Blaze sighs once more as she puts her hand on her brow, massaging them. I swear, she shook her head and walked to her bathroom, to get cleaned up. She took a shower first, then came out and brushed her teeth, which oddly enough looked similar to a cat's fangs. She walks out of her room, towel wrapped around her as one of her maids came in and dropped her clothes off on her bed. The maid bowed to Blaze before she walked out. Blaze herself was about to take the towel off and change into her clothes before she stopped as she turned to her dresser. On the dresser was the yellow star charm she got from her friend a long time ago and the other was a picture. Blaze walks up to the picture and picks it up, smiling softly as it was a younger version of her, smiling happily, and next to her was a spiky blonde hair boy, with a big happy goofy grin on his face as he wrapped his arm around her. She puts her finger on the boy's face as she looked at him. How long has it been since we last saw each other? She asked sadly as she hugged the picture. Naruto. She still couldn't get over of what happened last night. She knew she wasn't imagining it. She heard him call out to her last night despite the loud festival happening. It was as if the charms they made were helping them communicate with each other. Naruto. She miss him. She miss him so very much. He was the first person to accept her for who she is. The first one to accept her curse. Her first friend. The first person she ever formed a bond with. Oh, how she miss him. The goofy grin he's always wearing whenever he's up to something mischief and would always drag her with him. A giggle erupted from her as she remembered all the pranks they pulled together back then and always managed to escape the ninja really quick. There's also that time when. She blinked and shook her head as she set the picture down and returned to get dressed up before a determined expression appeared on her face. Naruto, you were calling out to me. I know you did. I promise. I'll figure out a way to come back to you. The princess looks up. Please wait for me. Unknown to her, Michael was outside, ready to come and get the princess before he heard what she said. A small smile formed on his face. Naruto Uzumaki. Michael gave a soft hearty chuckle. The princess would always tell stories about the two of them and the pranks he would always pull on people and drag her with him. It would seem our dear princess has found her Prince Charming. Ah tilde, young love indeed. He walks to her door and knocked on it, earning an enter, as he walked in. Though he can't help but wonder what this mysterious young man was doing now. Land of Waves. Naruto was snoring loudly as he tossed and turned in his bed. He groaned in annoyance as he felt the sun hitting him in the face. He pulled the blanket over his head but it wasn't enough as the sun continued to glare down at him. All right you bastard, I'm up. Naruto exclaimed as he glared at the sun. Damn, I can't catch a break. Naruto quickly changed out of his pajamas and into regular clothes as he jumped out the window and made his way along the roof of the house where he could see Tsunami being held hostage by two thugs wielding katanas, a frightened Inari about ready to charge them. Hero time. Naruto exclaimed as his legs turned into a figure eight before he jumped up and used his spin dash in the air. He launched himself at one of the thugs' face, sending him flying off the pier and skipping across the water like a pebble before he fell in. Naruto. Inari said in surprise just as the self-proclaimed ultimate ninja landed in front of him. Here's a little something you need to know, kid. Heroes arrive at the last second, kid. Naruto grinned as he gave him a thumbs up, making the kid smile. You little shit. Can't you see I have a hostage? The other thug yelled. Hostage? Naruto asked, raising a brow while a smirk formed on his face. You're seriously holding a toy doll as a hostage? The thug looked down and saw he no longer had the boy's mother in his arms but a toy doll. What the fuck? When did? The thug didn't finish as Naruto used his homing attack and knocked him out cold. My secret. Naruto smirked before he turned to Inari. Kid, help me tie him up. Both of them managed to tie the thug up. Okay, now where did my team go? Naruto asked. They and Grandpa left to go to the bridge. Inari replied as Naruto groaned. Without even waking me up, he said as he handed Inari his kunai. To protect your mother in case he tries anything. He looks to where the last thug was currently. Not sure about the other guy, but if anything he probably drowned. Okay, see you later. Don't wanna miss all the action. He was about to run but Inari grabbed the back of his shirt, making him turn to the kid. Naruto, Inari said, looking at the ground. I'm really sorry about last night. Don't worry about it. Naruto smiled, rubbing Inari's head. You did a really good job trying to stop these guys. I'm really proud of ya. He then grinned. And so your pops. Naruto. Inari choked out, tears welling up in his eyes. He covered his eyes to keep the tears from falling out. Oh great. I told myself that I wasn't going to cry again. And what's wrong with that? Naruto asked, causing Inari to look at him. He smirked down at him and winked. Those are tears of happiness, dude. It just means that you're happy and don't forget it. Okay. Inari beamed happily. Naruto grinned before he ran off to the bridge. Time to get this party started. Meanwhile, Kakashi was busy handling Zabuza again while Sakura guarded Tazuna and Sasuke was currently facing Haku in what appeared to be a dome of mirrors. Damn, Kakashi thought. I knew I should have woken up Naruto. He would have fully recharged his chakra by the time we got here. Just as Zabuza was about to charge Kakashi, a lone kunai landed in front of him. He was about to ignore it until he saw the exploding tag attached to it. Shit. Boom. Zabuza backed away just in time to avoid the explosion. He looks ahead and narrowed his eyes as he saw a silhouette appear in the mist. That brat. What the hell? Tazuna asked. What was that? Sakura asked. So, he's finally showed up. Kakashi thought. About time, loser. Sasuke grunted. He's here. Haku thought. Number 1 hyperactive knucklehead ninja. Huh, what's up with that lame title? A familiar voice asked as the smoke began to clear away. Music. It doesn't matter, Sonic Adventure. I think you mean. The smoke gave away to show Naruto standing there with his arms crossed and a confident grin on his face. The world's ultimate ninja. Naruto Uzumaki. Yeah, let's party. Naruto. Sakura called out happily. Sheesh. Tried to give me a heart attack. Tazuna exclaimed. He has the element of surprise and he ruins it, only Naruto. Kakashi deadpanned but he chuckled. That boy, Haku thought as he remembered his encounter with him. Naruto began to exercise as he grinned at Haku. Alright Hunter Nin, so how about we have that fight now? Because right now, I'm getting pumped up. And once I take you down I'll be taking down your boss over there. He pointed at Zabuza. Too arrogant Naruto, Kakashi thought. Music ends. So what do ya say? Naruto asked as he got into a fighting stance. Sorry. Haku apologized as he turned to Sasuke. But first I must deal with him. He walked into the mirror, shocking Naruto for a moment. What the hell? Naruto asked before his eyes widened as multiple needles came and attacked Sasuke as he cried out in pain. Sasuke! Sakura yelled. Naruto had a serious expression on his face as he looked at the ice dome mirrors. What the hell were those? Some sort of secret technique or something. This guy was definitely tough. Naruto, Sasuke think. You need to attack from the outside and the inside at the same time. Kakashi thought as he watched Naruto observe the dome with a serious expression. Naruto grinned. That's it, he said quietly. Inside the ice dome, Sasuke looked down in thought, thinking of a plan to escape. Yes, it's about position. Naruto and I are in the same position and if I attack. Damn, Naruto exclaimed as he appeared in front of Sasuke, shocking him comically. This guy messed you up pretty bad, huh Sasuke? He wrapped his arm around him, laughing and rubbing his head. Don't worry, for I am here to save the day. So much for that plan. Sakura had a dumbfounded expression while Kakashi had a deadpanned expression showing in his eye. Naruto, you sneak up on your enemy, not your ally. Kakashi said as he closed his eye tiredly. Sasuke got Naruto's arm off of him. You are so stupid. You're a shinobi, think before you act. Think. I don't think I just go. Naruto yelled back. Besides, I'm the one who came in here to try and save your sorry ass. Naruto, if we were both inside here, Sasuke growled before he turned away. Forget it, I'm sick of your goofiness. And I'm sick of that attitude of yours. Naruto yelled as he reached into his pocket. And I came all the way out here to give you this. He took out an item box and threw it at him, catching him off guard. What the? The item box hit Sasuke, but instead of feeling pain or falling backwards, the box disappeared and Sasuke felt himself getting healed and slightly get stronger as sparkles were around him. He stood up and looked over his body before turning to Naruto. What was that? Remember that gold ring I used on Zabuza a few days ago? Naruto asked back as Sasuke nodded. Though he had to admit, he completely forgotten about that ring and he did want to know where he got them from. Well, long story short, I found that box, the one I threw at you, and it had 10 of those gold rings inside. Naruto chuckled. I'm telling ya those things come in handy. Oh yeah, Sakura said as she remembered Naruto holding a gold ring and used it to beat Zabuza. Huh, I knew I forgot to ask Naruto something. Kakashi thought as he wanted to ask him about that ring. Whoa. Naruto and Sasuke had to dodge as a barrage of Senbon came flying at them. I am sorry, but it is time I end this. The Hunter Nin began going from mirror to mirror, making it hard for either to keep up. Music. Radical Highway, Sonic Adventure 2. Oh yeah, let's go. Naruto used his spin dash and charged at one of the mirrors, ignoring Sasuke's warning. He got a mirror that Haku was in before he vanished and the glass shattered. Naruto got out of his spin dash and looks in confusion as the mirror quickly reformed itself. The hell? Cheating bastard. He did a spin jump and did a homing attack on the mirrors only to result in the same thing as he was floating in the air and watched the mirrors reformed. Damn it. Naruto cursed before his eyes widened as many Hakus appeared in the mirror. Oh crap. Haku and his reflections launched a barrage of needles. Naruto used his telekinesis to stop them. What? Haku asked in shock before he saw the cyan aura glowing around Naruto. He stopped them. How did? Ha, nice try. This is the power of my telekinesis. Naruto laughed as he shot back all the needles at the mirrors only for them to be deflected by the mirrors as they fell down. Where did he cried out in pain as he got hit by the needles from above, making gold rings come out and fell down. He looks up and saw Haku disappear before he looked at the rings scattered around him. What? Sasuke asked in complete confusion as the gold rings were on the ground before they began to disappear. The rings came out of him. Where the hell did Naruto find these things? Hey, those were my rings. Shadow clone jutsu. Multiple Naruto appeared and they all charged at each reflection in the mirror. Get him. The real Naruto was among them as he reached into his jacket pocket and took out one of the Chaos Emerald. Chaos control, he whispered. Once he did that, everyone and everything were completely frozen. He looks at the mirror's reflections to try and spot the real Haku. He already knew that those reflections weren't clones. They couldn't be, so how was he able to get into all those mirrors at the same time? Unless, Naruto continues to look around before he saw something that caught his attention. It was the Hunter Nin, and he was coming out of the mirror. Found you. Time returned to normal as Naruto moved to where Haku was at when all his clones poofed into smoke. Peek-a-boo. He kicked Haku in the midsection, sending him into a mirror. He got me. Haku asked as he held his stomach. You got him. Sasuke said in shock. I got him. Naruto replied in his dead serious tone before he whispered to Sasuke. At first I thought he was using clones to attack us. But it turns out, those are just his reflections. Reflections? Sasuke asked before his eyes widened in realization. That's right. Meaning, we have to make this guy come out. Naruto said before he ran forward, trying to exit the dome. His eyes moved between the mirrors before Haku appeared. Come on. Naruto runs to the side just as Haku kept up with him in the mirrors. He looked to his left and saw Haku before he vanished. No you don't. Chaos. Naruto above you. Sasuke called out. Naruto quickly moved his left hand up as he was covered in cyan aura before he stopped a few needles coming at him. He looked to the right and saw needles coming at him. He moved his right hand and he stopped them. Damn. Naruto growled. He looks around. Where is he? Behind you. Sasuke yelled. Naruto's eyes widened before he felt pain from the needles. Arg. His aura disappeared as the needles that he stopped fell on the ground. But that wasn't enough as more needles came out, but Naruto managed to dodge them thanks to his amazing reflexes. He smirked as he grabbed Haku's sleeve from a mirror, earning a gasp. Sasuke. Now. Naruto pulled him out and threw him at Sasuke. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Sasuke spat out a fireball at Haku, who managed to dodge it just in time, but managed to slightly get his pants burned. He then got into a mirror. Yes, we managed to get him. Sasuke smirked. Yeah, Naruto said as he tiredly stood up before he fell on his butt. Damn, I guess using my telekinesis took some out of me. He then rubbed his forehead. And a minor headache. Enough of this. Haku said. It's time we end this. Naruto stood up, wiping the blood of his face. TCH, you got that right. He grinned, before he reached into his pocket. It's time we put an end to this battle. He took out a gold ring but unfortunately his star charm came out as it fell on the ground. Huh. There. Haku quickly dashed out the mirror and took the lucky charm just before Naruto reached out to it, knocking him away and into a mirror as he bounced off, letting go of the ring. Naruto. Sasuke went to his side and helped him stand up. Naruto looked to the spot where his star charm fell and his eyes widened as it was gone. No. Give it back. He shouted angrily at Haku as many of him appeared holding onto it. I said give it back now. Naruto ran to one of the mirrors and punched it hard, making it crack. He looks around trying to find the real one only to get even more angry as Haku and his reflections waved it tauntingly. You want it? He asked. Come and get it. You. Naruto angrily charged at using a mirror using his homing attack, only for it to bounce him back before he tried it again with many others. Knock it off, you idiot. He's trying to make you lose your head. Sasuke yelled. HMPH. Haku said as a barrage of needles came out and attacked Naruto. Ah! Naruto fell back down harshly as he gasped in pain, making blood spit out his mouth. Damn idiot, Sasuke thought before he noticed Haku getting ready to launch another barrage of needles. He quickly got to Naruto, picked him up and jumped out of the way. Once he landed safely he dropped Naruto. You might as well give up. Haku said. There is no way for you to escape. Shut up. Naruto looked up, glaring angrily at Haku. I'm never gonna give up. If I did, then I would never be able to face her again or be able to reach my dream. Now, give me back my charm. You'll have to take it from me. Haku said as Naruto growled at him while he tried to stand up, only to fall down. Sasuke looked around the reflections, trying to think of a solution out here, before something glowing caught his attention. He turned to it and saw it was the gold ring that Naruto was about to use on him. He then thought back on their first battle with Zabuza. Naruto used this ring and it gave him an extra power boost. Which means, Sasuke said as he ran to the ring and grabbed it. He looks up and gripped it in his hands as it glowed brightly. I can feel it. He closed his eyes before they were snapped open, revealing the Sharingan. Impossible. Those eyes. The Sharingan. Haku asked in shock. Sasuke did a few hand signs. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. He spat the fireball out but his eyes widened in awe as his fireball got bigger and had a golden-like aura around it. Once the fireball touched a mirror, a large explosion erupted as it destroyed the mirrors along with the others surrounding it, before they were repaired. Whoa, Sasuke said as he looked at his hands, seeing that the ring is gone. That's the power of those gold rings. Haku appeared and observed Sasuke. Was that the same jutsu from before? It looked more powerful than ever as it destroyed some of his mirrors. No, it was that gold ring. Whatever it was, it gave him an extra boost in power and it caused him to awaken the Sharingan. In other words, that's what Naruto Uzumaki was trying to do before. Speaking of, he turns to him and saw him stand up as he glared at him. I must take him down and then he's next. Haku dashed to Naruto through the mirrors as Naruto took a defensive position. No, he's attacking Naruto, Sasuke thought. Music ends. Naruto was getting ready to dodge the needles before he was pushed out of the way. What the hell? Naruto looked up at Sasuke and saw he was riddled with needles. I swear, you really are the ultimate loser, Sasuke said weakly. Why? Why did you save me? I was gonna dodge them. So why? Naruto demanded. Truthfully, I don't know why. My body sort of moved on its own, even though I've always hated you. Sasuke fell back just as Naruto caught him. Damn it, I can't die here. I still need to kill him. My older brother. Memories of his adventures with his squad started to flash in his mind. Do me a favor, Naruto. And survive. Survive and fulfill your dream. With that, Sasuke stopped moving, leaving a silent, wide-eyed Naruto holding him. Even though these two were always at each other's throats, the two of them would never admit it. But they were best friends. His eyes widened further as a younger Blaze appeared and she was in the same position as Sasuke, making him take heavy breaths. Your friend died like a true shinobi, protecting someone that was precious to him. Haku said. Naruto growled as red chakra flowed around his body, changing his once blue eyes to a blood red with a slit in them, his teeth into full fangs, and his nails into claws. His whiskers were more defined, giving him a feral appearance. The cyan symbols on his hand was glowing crimson. You'll pay. Naruto spoke angrily. You'll pay for this. I'll kill you. Insert song. Almost dead, Shadow the Hedgehog. Haku was for once scared. This malevolent red chakra that surrounded the blonde red streaked boy was practically oozing killing intent. What chakra is this? The red chakra seemed to coalesce into the shape of a fox's head above Naruto's body while looking at Haku. Impossible. His chakra is physically manifesting itself. And what an appalling chakra it is. Haku watched as the wounds inflicted on the boy seemed to close on their own, steam rising off of them as they sealed shut. His wounds, they're healing themselves. What on earth is he? Naruto looked over his shoulder at Haku, his bloodlust evident in his eyes as he glared at the mask-wearing nin. Both Kakashi and Zabuza have been fighting on the bridge before. Both felt the malevolent chakra that washed over the bridge. Is this Zabuza's doing? Kakashi asked before his eyes widened as he sensed the familiar malice of this chakra. No, that power. So foul, and evil, yet familiar, it can't be. This chakra I'm feeling, Something about it fills me with dread. Is this Kakashi's doing? No, it seems bigger than Kakashi somehow, but who is giving it off? Zabuza clenched his sword in his hand tightly, fearing an attack from all sides by whoever was emanating that powerful chakra. Kakashi turned to the mirror dome. Naruto. Can it be? Is the seal broken? No, it's been loosened. The Nine-Tails Fox's power is being leaked out of the seal and the creature itself isn't coming out. He reached into his pouch, taking out a scroll and throwing it in the air. Good. That means we still have a chance. Maybe. Zabuza, I'm a busy man and you're a busy man. We've both got a lot on our plates, so let's stop screwing around and wrap this up. One big move, winner takes all. Kakashi unraveled the scroll, smearing some blood from his earlier cut across the length before rolling it back up and focusing chakra into it. An intriguing notion. What's left, Kakashi? Show me what you've got. Naruto was on all fours as he growled, glaring at Haku, a snarl beginning to form when he saw his star charm still in Haku's hand. The bloodlust in those eyes. Haku thought, this is not the same child I met. Naruto gave off a feral roar as Haku got prepared to fight. He charges at Haku in a mad dash, as after images appeared behind him. Haku threw several Senbon needles at the charging Naruto, who with a mere roar deflected them away from him. The Hunter Nin used this chance to move to another mirror, completely surprised at what he just saw. He deflected them without even touching them. Haku drew 3 Senbon and charged towards Naruto, who merely raised his hand and needles had a crimson aura around them. He gave a roar as he swiped his hand, sending the needles backs, causing cracks to form on the mirrors. He dashed to a mirror and before turning into a spin dash, completely shattering it. Haku came out from one of the shards above him, kunai drawn and ready to stab him. But Naruto just backflipped away and looked up at him. I've got to make it to the next mirror. Before Haku could even try to make it, Naruto had grabbed a hold of his arm, squeezing with all his considerable might. Those eyes. With a roar, Naruto crushed Haku's arm, making him lose focus for a moment, which is all he needed to punch him in the face, sending him through one of his mirrors, which made him break the justice, making the other mirrors shatter as well. Song ends. Naruto looked down at the star charm he got back before he looked up. He took off once he saw the Hunter Nin get up, charging towards him with the intent to finish him off. He would have succeeded too had the Mist Nin's mask not shattered, revealing the boy he had met the previous day. Naruto's features went back to normal as the fox's chakra dissipated from his body. You're that guy the first saw the other day. You're with Zabuza. Quote. Why did you stop? Naruto blinks. I murdered your comrade, your friend, someone you care about, and you still spare me. Naruto looked over and saw Sasuke's needle-ridden body, hair shadowing his eyes. He then punched Haku again, only for him to fall. What happened to all that power from before? You can't hope to kill me with that force you put behind that punch. Finish me off. Zabuza has no use for a weak shinobi. Haku told him. Why waste all that devotion on him? He doesn't care who he works for or who gets hurt as long as he gets paid. Is someone like that really precious to you? Naruto asked. I was precious once. Haku told him. When I was little, I lived with my parents in a snowy little village in the land of water. But when I got old enough, something happened. Blood. My blood. What are you talking about? Naruto asked. My father killed my mother and tried to kill me. The land of water has been plagued by a civil war of sorts, with the two sides being those with bloodline abilities or Kekkei Genkai and those without. After the war, those of us with Kekkei Genkai were hunted down, and those of us who survived did so because we hid our abilities. I'm sure that boy I killed grew up knowing the pain I speak. We are special, we are powerful, but most of all we are feared. My father learned that my mother came from a clan that had a bloodline, and before I even realized what happened, I had killed my father. Then it came to me, I had to accept it, which was the hardest thing. Accept? What? Naruto dared to ask. That I was alone in the world, shunned, unwanted. Didn't you tell me you wanted respect from your village? If someone, just one person, not only did that but acknowledged you, even cared for you, wouldn't that one person become the most precious person in the whole world to you? At that moment an image of Blaze and Iruka flashed through Naruto's head. Zabuza adopted me, knowing who I was and what I was. The very thing people hated me for, he didn't. In fact, he cherished it, he wanted it. I was so happy that I wanted to stay by his side and forever be his tool. Naruto, please, take my life. Naruto's eyes widened. Kakashi flipped through hand seals while still holding the scroll before slamming it down on the ground. Summoning Earth style. Fang Pursuit Jutsu. That posturing will get you nowhere, Kakashi. I have you completely in my spell. A small sound alerted Zabuza as several ninja dogs erupted from the ground, each biting him to hold him in place. When your eyes and ears fail you, you can always follow your nose. This jutsu is specifically made for tracking, it's why I went out of my way to bleed during our little bouts. My nin dogs have your scent, the fog is lifting and your future is clear. Your future is death, Kakashi explained. Ha, I've had enough of your bluffs, Kakashi. Zabuza growled. Who's bluffing? Kakashi asked. You're going to die one way or another. You're willing to let Wave suffer to advance your own ambitions. That is not what a true shinobi does. Spare me the philosophy lesson. I'm fighting for my own ideals and I'm not about to stop. Zabuza told him as he struggled to get out of the dog's grips. Kakashi flipped through 3 hand seals before his right hand became covered in lightning chakra. Your future is death. What are you waiting for, Naruto? Do it. Kill me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not going to kill you. I'll knock some sense into you, yeah, but kill. Come on, dude. You can't just expect me to do something like that. Naruto exclaimed. Naruto, the day I met you in the forest I was thinking we were the same. Surely you can understand. I'm sorry you have to bloody your hands. Haku apologized. Forget it, Haku. I'm not going to kill you over something like that. Naruto said in a stern tone. You may see yourself as a tool, but in front of me, I see a person. A person who's been alone throughout his childhood but found someone who saved him from that loneliness. Once again Blaze appeared in his head. Haku, if Zabuza wanted to, he would have killed you right then and there, but he didn't. Why? Because he saw something in you. Not your abilities, just you in general. You say that Zabuza is precious to you, but did you even bother to think that Zabuza considers you precious to him as well? And I think he would be sad if you died. Haku's eyes widened slightly from hearing that. He never once thought of that before. Yes, Zabuza is precious to him because he saved him from his loneliness. He wanted to believe that it was because of his bloodline as the reason for him taking him, so he decided to become his weapon. But was that really the case? Did Zabuza truly take him in because of his bloodline, or because he felt sorry for what happened to him? Your life is your own. Instead of living it as a weapon, why don't you live it as a human? Naruto asked, a soft smile on his face. He raised his hand up to Haku. It's what makes life more fun, don't you think? Haku stared at the offered hand before looking up at Naruto's smiling face. He felt his lips twitch upwards along with his good hand. He slowly reached up and was this close to taking it before he stopped and turns his head to the sound of 1,000 birds chirping. Haku, Naruto asked before he too heard the sound. What was that? Quote. I'm sorry, Naruto. With his lone hand, Haku flipped through hand seals and conjured a mirror and vanished, making Naruto's eyes widen. No, wait. Kakashi charged towards Zabuza, intent on thrusting his lightning blade through him. However, his eyes widened in shock as he found his hand through Haku's chest. Zabuza. No, Kakashi exclaimed. Well, Kakashi, you said my future was death, but it seems you were wrong again. Zabuza grinned. Naruto could see figures in the mist and rushed towards them only to see Kakashi's hand through Haku's chest, making his eyes widened as he gasped. Haku. Zabuza grabbed his sword and swung it towards Kakashi, who shunshin away with Haku's body where he laid it down and closed his eyes. Hey, what the hell happened, Kakashi? Naruto's wide angry eyes stared at Kakashi, who only shook his head. He risked his own life to save Zabuza. The Jonin replied sadly, much to Naruto's disbelief. No, Naruto grit his teeth as he punched the ground. That damn, stupid, fucking fool. After what he just said. Why didn't he? So it seems you were able to get away just because poor Haku was already dead. Zabuza said. Naruto's eyes went wide in anger as he was about to charge at Zabuza. Bastard. Naruto, stay out of this is my fight. Kakashi told him, making him back down for now. Naruto, you're alive. Naruto turned to see Sakura guarding Tazuna as she waved at him. His eyes widened as he went stiff. Oh shit, I forgot about Sakura. What about Sasuke? Sakura asked. Naruto's silence, plus him turning away, didn't sit well with Sakura, who froze as if her whole world was now shattered. Kakashi was listening in, and when he didn't hear Naruto respond to Sakura's question, he knew what it meant. Don't let yourself get distracted, Kakashi. Zabuza charged at Kakashi, who ducked low and kicked him in the gut, knocking the breath out of him. Music. Grief and sorrow, Naruto. Sakura, I'll stay with you, so you're not disobeying your sensei. Tazuna said as Sakura nodded nervously. Both Sakura and Tazuna ran past Naruto, who kept his head away and was shaking, his fists clenched tightly. Sakura and Tazuna both saw Sasuke's body covered in needles. Sakura felt his body and it felt so cold. Tazuna could see the girl was fighting to hold it in. It's okay to let it out. There are times when you just have to cry. Don't hold it in for my sake. Sakura was silent for a moment before she spoke. I used to always get perfect scores on my tests. One of these tests had a question. What is rule number 25 of shinobi conduct? And like always, I simply answered it. No matter what happens, a true shinobi must never, ever show their emotions. The mission is the only priority. Carry that in your heart and never ever shed a tear. Sakura broke down, Tears of sadness dropping on Sasuke's face. But Naruto was right. Those rules are so cruel. So this is what a shinobi is, how horrible it is, to make children go through that. Tazuna thought as he watched the pink-haired girl cry over her teammate. Naruto grit his teeth. He looks back at Sasuke's body and turned away. But then blinked as he looked back. From here, he could that there were some needles in his neck. Which were the pressure points. Which means. Naruto sent a deadpan expression at Sasuke's body before he face-palmed in disbelief. You gotta be shitting me. Music ends. Zabuza couldn't understand it. Kakashi was batting him aside like he was a pest and try as he might to hit him he couldn't seem to land one blow on the copy nin. Before he even knew what was going on Kakashi had his hand on the back of Zabuza's neck and plunged two kunai into each of his major arm muscles. There now you can't use either arm. Kakashi said. Well, he's certainly made a fine mess of you. What a pity Zabuza. A voice called out at the end of the bridge, getting everyone's attentions. It was Gatō and his whole army of thugs. Naruto's eyes as he sensed two Chaos Emeralds and he narrowed his eyes at Gatō. Gatō, what are you doing here? And why did you bring all of them? Simple, there has been a slight change of plans, or of your plans anyways. You must have guessed I never did intend to pay you. It's such a hassle hiring skilled shinobi, so expensive and their village and friends tend to be upset when you kill them. Nukenin on the other hand, no one cares what happens to you when the job is done. When you ninja wear each other down, common thugs can finish the rest, it's a good business plan, cheap and effective. Hiring you was probably my worst mistake. You're no demon, a baby demon maybe. Kakashi, it seems I am now unemployed which means our differences are settled. Zabuza stated. Yeah, looks like it. Kakashi agreed. There still is one thing to do. Gatō walked over to Haku's corpse and started kicking it. Naruto's eyes widened in anger from the action. His legs turned into the figure eight as he dashed to them but was held back by Kakashi. Stay away from him. Naruto, cool it, there are a lot of them there. Kakashi told him. So, I can take them all. Hey Zabuza. Naruto turned to Zabuza. Why are you standing there like an idiot? Are you seriously gonna watch and let him do that? Be quiet fool. Haku is dead. What does it matter? That fat sack of crap is treating his corpse like a dead dog on a street. Don't you care about that? Haven't you two been together for years now? Kid, you don't understand how the shinobi world works. Haku and I were used, that's what happens to shinobi. I didn't value Haku for himself, but for the power his blood carried and what his talents could do for me. I apologize for nothing. Bullshit. Naruto appeared in front of Zabuza and gripped him by his collar. Okay, enough Naruto. He's not our enemy, leave him alone. Naruto ignored Kakashi and tightened his grip. He really cared about you, you jackass. After everything he did for you. He lived for you. Memories of his encounter with him flashed in his mind. You were the most important person in the world to him. And you're here telling me that he didn't mean nothing to you. I don't believe that crap. I know you care about him as well, cause if you hadn't you would have killed him the day you two met. And what about me or other genin out there my age? What about Sakura? He pointed at the girl, who was weeping on Sasuke's chest. If we get stronger are we going to end up exactly like you, just tools? Forget it. Tears were now falling from his eyes. Haku threw his life away and for what? For your dream. Well what about him? Why doesn't he have one? He's a human isn't he? He has every right to have a dream. But he doesn't. He didn't care about it. But you just tossed him aside, like a broken tool. That's not fair. That is wrong. You are wrong for not telling Haku how you truly feel shinobi code be damned. You talk too much. Naruto looked up at Zabuza and could see he was crying just like he was, making his eyes widen. Your words cut deep. Deeper than any blade. When he fought you, his heart was breaking in two. That is the honest truth. He was always too soft, too kind. He felt pain and sorrow. And now, curse him, I feel them too. And I feel something else. I feel content that this is the way it ends. I'm glad my last battle was against you. You're right you know. Zabuza ripped the bandages off his mouth with his teeth. We may be shinobi, but in the end we're just simply human, with all the feelings involved and I have now lost everything. Boy, would you lend me your kunai? Naruto wiped his eyes and tossed it to the missing nin, who caught it with his teeth, and took off towards Gatō and his men, who looked really scared. What are you all waiting for? Kill him. Zabuza flared his chakra which like Naruto's seemed to transform into a monstrous shape scaring all of the thugs even more. A demon. Gatō thought he was safe behind his men until he saw Zabuza slaughtering them all with just a kunai in his mouth taking swords, picks, and other weapons in his back. Gatō could only watch in horror as Zabuza stabbed the kunai into his chest. Why won't you die? If you're in such a hurry to be with your little friend, go alone. Gatō yelled. I have no intention of going to the same place as Haku. I'm taking you with me to hell. Even a baby demon in life can grow up into a real demon in hell. Zabuza pulled the kunai out and in one swift motion cut off Gatō's head, staring the rest of the thugs in the face, his eyes hardened, daring any of them to charge him. Looks like this is goodbye for now, Haku. Thanks for everything, and I'm sorry. Zabuza fell to the ground, leaving a stunned Naruto, who then turned away. Don't look away, Naruto, that was the end of a man who lived his life fully. Kakashi told him. Naruto looked at him for a moment before he turns to look at Zabuza. A small smile appeared on his face as he thought about a certain blue hedgehog. Yeah, living life to the fullest. Isn't that right, Sonic? Sakura continued sobbing over Sasuke's body, which unseen to her had twitched. Sakura, your arm is heavy. Sakura blinked once, then twice just to make sure it wasn't a dream. Sasuke really was alive. Sasuke. Sakura, you're hurting me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm alright, how's Naruto? And that creep in the mask? Don't try to move. Naruto's fine and the boy in the mask is dead. What? Did Naruto? No, I'm not sure. The boy died protecting Zabuza from Kakashi-sensei. Naruto. It's Sasuke. He's alive. Naruto blinked and turned around. He then deadpanned at them. Yup, I knew it. But he did give a small smile. Aren't you forgetting something? You just killed our meal ticket. Now the only way to break even is to loot the town. The thugs yelled out as they went to charge into town. A lone crossbow bolt landed in front of the group of thugs. Naruto and the others turned to see Inari and the villagers all armed ready to defend their home. Music. His World Instrumental, Sonic the Hedgehog, 2006. Stop right where you are. This is our home. Come one step closer and you'll die where you stand. One of the villagers yelled. Oh snap, Inari. Naruto smiled, seeing the boy taking charge. A hero always arrive at the last second, you know. Inari said as a grin forms on Naruto's face. He then formed a familiar cross-hand seal. Mind if I join you? Shadow Clone Jutsu. Over a dozen Narutos stood there ready to fight the thugs. I can't manage anything solid with my chakra this low, but a bluff should be enough to scare these guys off. Kakashi thought. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Kakashi style. Over 100 copies of Kakashi stood all armed with kunai and doing hand seals. Now shall we? Naruto grinned evilly as he cracked his knuckles. Never mind. Run away. The thugs started running and jumping over each other to get off the bridge. They had all seen what Zabuza had done to them and he was one ninja, never mind the hundreds that were now on the bridge. Oh yeah, chaos control, Naruto whispered as time stopped. He runs to where Gatō's body was and reached into his shirt pockets and took out the turquoise and blue emeralds. Yes, 6 down, 1 to go. I'm on a roll here. He chuckled. The bridge was safe now, and Gatō was dead, meaning Wave was now safe. Everyone including the ninjas that helped protect them could rest easy. 1 week later. Insert song. You're My Hero, Sonic 3D Blast. A week later Sasuke was resting his body. Kakashi had wanted him to take it easy due to the injuries that Haku had given him. While they weren't life-threatening, moving around too much would mean he would have to be bedridden for that much longer. Sakura would always stop by to visit him and Naruto would come just to tease and mess with him, much to his annoyance. While Sasuke was in bed, Naruto, Sakura and Kakashi have been helping out the villagers repair their homes and giving out some food, while also making sure many of Gatō's thugs were completely gone. Squad 7 stood there in front of Tazuna and his family. The bridge was now completed due to Gatō being killed and the bridge builder had decided to see the team off. You guys are welcome back here at any time. Tazuna told them. Sweet. We'll come and visit whenever we can. Naruto grinned happily. Naruto, you better visit. And good luck in finding your friend. I want to meet her. Inari said as Naruto gave him a thumbs up. You know it. As the team left, Tsunami stood there with her father and her son and wondered something. Father, what are we gonna name the bridge? I was thinking, the Great Naruto Bridge. After the boy who brought hope to our once shattered land. I think that's a wonderful name. Tsunami said. Squad 7 were on the road as they walked in complete silence. Well, that was one awesome adventure. Naruto said happily. And we still got more waiting for us. Hope you guys are ready. Everyone shook their heads at him before Kakashi remembered something. Song ends. Oh yeah, Naruto, I've been meaning to ask you about those gold rings you have on you. Kakashi said, which caught Sakura and Sasuke's attention. Now that senseis mention it, Sakura said. I never heard about those rings back at the academy. That's because no one in the shinobi world knows about them. Naruto said, surprising them. I know a little bit about them, so I'll tell you what I know. He reached into his pocket and took out a gold ring, showing everyone it. You see, these rings are very special. They're very much different from the normal ones. Okay, so what's special about them? Sasuke asked, looking at the ring with interest. He was honestly surprised by the awesome power boost the rings gave him during their battle on the bridge. It was so great that it made his jutsu become more powerful and deadly than it was before. And he wanted to know more about them. Within these rings hold a completely unknown unspecified energy. Whatever this energy is, it's not chakra. Naruto explained, shocking them. Since it resides in the gold rings, I call it ring energy. Ring energy, Kakashi said, looking at the ring with interest. Whoa, that's cool, Sakura said, staring at it in awe. Sasuke was wide-eyed about it. The first battle with Zabuza, our fight with Haku, that was us using ring energy. Yup, Naruto nodded. Not only that, ring energy can also be used to power up some machines. But when organic beings like us use it, then it can rejuvenate your stamina and abilities. When me and Sasuke used them, they gave us a temporary extra power boost. Plus when you collect the rings, they'll protect you from taking damage until you run out of them. Really? Sakura asked. It's true. Sasuke nodded, remembering how the rings popped out of Naruto from when he took damage. When Haku attacked Naruto, I saw the rings pop out of him before they vanished. They can also be used for money, Naruto added, especially since I don't have to waste mine to get some ramen. Kakashi and Sakura had surprised expressions on their faces. They didn't think for one second that the rings could be used for money. Where exactly did you find these rings? Kakashi asked. Naruto shrugged. Beats me. These things popped up some time ago and I'm the only one to discover them. It was the truth. Ever since he inherited the hedgehog's powers, the rings started to pop up everywhere. Naruto knew for a fact that these rings came from their world and they somehow ended up here along with the Chaos Emeralds. It was like objects from their world is coming here. Noted. Kakashi said, looks he got something to tell to the Hokage. Sakura looked at Naruto and looked down at his pocket, seeing his star charm. There was something always bugging her since Naruto revealed he had a friend in his childhood. Hey Naruto, Sakura called. Yo. I have a question. It's about your friend. The one you mentioned before. Sakura said, getting him to stop walking, making them stop too. What about her? Naruto asked, his back still turned to them, since they don't want to see his face. Well, I wanted to know, who was she? What was she like? What happened to her? Sakura asked, making Sasuke and Kakashi curious as well. Naruto scratched the back of his head and sighed. Might as well tell them. Well. Flashback. Hidden Leaf Village, 7 years ago. Her name's Blaze. We met a while back when I was at the park. I was just sitting on the swings by myself as usual. 5-year-old Naruto is seen sitting on a swing by himself as he watched the other children play with each other or with their family. A kid came by him with a ball in his hand as he looked at him. His father, a shinobi, came by and quickly grabbed his hand, telling his son to don't talk to him, making the young Naruto look down sadly, before he looked up and saw people staring at him as he heard the whispers. I just sat there and watched as the children played. I was gonna get up and leave the park but then. Naruto's eyes widened as he felt someone push him. He looks behind him in shock as he saw a girl, around his age, pushing him on the swing. She had lilac-colored hair in a bob cut, with long bangs framing her face and the tips being dark purple. She had golden-colored eyes and a ruby gem on her forehead. She wore black tight shorts and a yellow shirt. She also wore golden bracelets on her wrists. Naruto stared up at her with shock and surprise, but it increased when she smiled at him as she kept pushing him. I was shocked that she was actually pushing me. I was even more shocked when I saw her smile at me. Before I knew it, she told me her name. Hi, I'm Blaze. What's your name? She asked happily as she kept pushing him. Naruto continued to stare at her with a surprised look on his face. She introduced herself to him. But wait a second, didn't she know who he is? He looks around and saw many grown-ups staring at the two. He then looked down, his haro shadowing his eyes. What does it matter? Naruto asked sadly. Your parents are just gonna take you away. No they won't, Blaze said as she stopped pushing. Huh, Naruto blinked and turns to her with wide eyes. What do you mean? My parents aren't here, Blaze answered in an emotionless tone, surprising Naruto, before she smiled again, wanting to change the subject. So what's your name? Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto said shyly. Blaze giggled. That's a funny name. Hey, my name's not funny, Naruto exclaimed as he got up from his swing and pointed at her. It's a cool name, ya know. Blaze covered her mouth to stop the giggles that erupted from her lips. Your name means fish cake. It's a ramen topping. Naruto's face turned red in embarrassment and anger. Oi, it's Maelstrom. My name means Maelstrom. The old man told me so. Fish cakes. Blaze cheered as she pointed at him. Maelstrom. Naruto argued, pointing at her. Fish cakes. Maelstrom. Maelstrom. Fish cakes. My name means fish cakes and that's final. Naruto declared as he crossed his arms. Okay, have it your way. Blaze said, shrugging her shoulders as Naruto smiled smugly. She smirks at him and whispered in a low voice. 3, 2, 1. Naruto's eyes widened comically before he glared at Blaze. Hey, you tricked me. Yes, I did. Blaze still smirked. The two stared at each other for a couple of seconds before they puffed their cheeks out and laughed together. Blaze suddenly grabbed Naruto's hand, stopping him as he turns to her. I like you, Naruto. Come on, let's play. She ran to the park while still holding Naruto's hand. Naruto was shocked. This was definitely something new to him. He didn't expect anyone, let alone a girl, to say they like him and invited him to come play with them, while holding his hand. He looked at her smiling face. She looked really happy to have made a friend. Friend? Is that what Blaze wanted? Him to be her friend? No one ever wanted to be his friend before. He tried to be friends with the others but their parents told them to stay away from him. He looks down at her hand before holding it as well. Slowly a big happy grin appeared on his face as he ran alongside her, both of them laughing, not seeing the shocked or surprised looks from those who were watching them. Since then, the two of us became best friends. The time we spent together, I began to learn more about her. She kinda had this elegant air around her. She was always calm and level-headed, but she did have this fiery temper that always made me run away from her whenever I did something stupid. Various scenes of Naruto and Blaze playing appeared as it showed them pranking someone, Naruto pranking someone, and her sighing at his antics. Naruto was running away, a comical scared expression on his face, as Blaze chased him around, a comical angry expression on her face. The two of them were at Ichiraku's ramen enjoying a nice single bowl of ramen together. Blaze giving a tear-eyed Naruto the star charm was seen. I wanted those days to last forever. But one day, Blaze and Naruto were on top of a hill watching the sunset. But then Naruto saw sparkles coming right next to him. He turned to Blaze and his eyes widened as he saw her glowing. She just started glowing. I told her about it and she got scared, telling me that they were calling her back. She was panicking as she said she didn't want to go back and wanted to stay. She started to cry and hugged me. Blaze? Naruto asked nervously as his eyes began to water. Blaze sobbed into his shoulder. I'm sorry, Naruto. She then began to float in the air as she grabbed Naruto's hand. No, I don't want to go back yet. Please, let me stay a little longer. Blaze, what's going on? Naruto asked as he gripped her hands, not wanting to let her go. It's okay, Naruto. Blaze smiled despite the tears flowing. I want to say, thank you for being my best friend. Thank you for accepting me. I promise, we'll meet again. I don't know when, and I don't know how. But we will. Naruto's eyes widened as Blaze's hand disappeared and she began to float away. Blaze. He cried out to her, tears flowing as he reached out to her. Naruto. Blaze cried back as she reached her hand out to him before she vanished into the sunset as a crying Naruto watched in shock. Flashback ends. I went to the Hokage and told him about it and he sent some shinobi out to look for her. I couldn't eat, sleep, or nothing until I knew they found her and she was safe. But, when he told me they couldn't find her, I broke down, Naruto said as he looks down. He continued to walk as the others followed. Kakashi looked at his student sadly, knowing the feeling of losing friend. Sasuke felt sorry for Naruto. And Sakura had a teardrop from her eyes. Naruto. Sakura wiped it. After that, I looked for her around the village myself. I even snuck out to go to other villages to find her. But the old man found out and he sent his ninja to come after me. I was constantly being watched over by them for a while until they figured I'd given up, which I never did. Naruto continued. And then that's when, you guys already know. He said sheepishly, referring to his behavior from back then. Sasuke and Sakura both tensed up as memories of those times came flooding back, the angry glare that Naruto would send to anyone that would take that charm of his and the vicious beating he would give to anyone who would talk smack about him, his charm or that girl. They still couldn't believe that was the same knucklehead who would always pull pranks. Kakashi meanwhile was neutral. He was always away on a mission or minding his own business, but he did often see Naruto attacking someone. Afterwards, Naruto spoke up, getting everyone's attention. I told myself that I would get stronger. I would keep on getting stronger and stronger, so that way I can become a great ninja and keep reaching my dreams of being Hokage. He looks up at the sky. And most of all, go out there to find Blaze. Nobody didn't say anything. If anything, from the way Naruto said that, it sounded like he was in love with this girl, even though he hasn't noticed yet, since he was dense as hell. Quote. She must be really special to you, huh? Kakashi asked, I smiling at him. Yeah, Naruto smiled. She really is. So then why wasn't she at the academy while you were? Sasuke asked. Hey, yeah, I think I remember seeing her one day to bring you something. And that was it, Sakura said, looking up thoughtfully. Yeah, I asked her that. Naruto scratched his head, and she said that she didn't want to be a ninja. When I asked her why, she just said, The air around them just shifted all of a sudden, making Naruto look around. Whoa, did you guys feel that? He didn't receive an answer. Guys. His eyes widened as he saw them frozen in place, surprised expression on their face. He walks up to Sasuke, waving a hand in his face, stepping back in shock as there was no reaction. What the? This is chaos control. He felt a presence behind him, making him look back as a boy, his age, appeared before him, with his back turned. The boy slowly turns around, showing he was wearing a mask. Who? The boy raised his hand and in the next second, Naruto was blasted into the air. The Chaos Emerald suddenly came out of Naruto, glowing brightly, and went behind him. They opened up a portal and Naruto got sucked in. The boy looked up at the portal, a look of surprise hidden beneath the mask. TCH. He vanished, just as time returned to normal. Squad 7 blinked as they looked around. They all felt something happened to them. What just happened? Sakura asked as she looked around. It felt like the air was just. She didn't know how to explain it. I felt it too, Sasuke said. Where is Naruto? Kakashi asked as his genin blinked and looked around. He was just here, Sakura stated. Naruto, where are you? Sasuke called out. Naruto, this isn't funny. Come out now, Sakura called out. Kakashi looked around before he heard something fall from the sky. He looks down and saw the gold ring in Naruto's lucky charm, making his eye narrow as he picks them up. What in the world? Did they just fall from the sky? Kakashi looks up before his eye widened when he saw a blue portal in the sky before it vanished. He turns around to Sasuke and Sakura, seeing that they looked up as well with wide eyes before they turned to him and saw the objects as their eyes widened in realization. Sensei, Sakura asked as he nodded. I don't know what happened just now, Kakashi started as he looked back up. But whatever or whoever made that portal in the sky took Naruto away. Sakura and Sasuke gasped. Where did Naruto go? Naruto groaned as he sat up and shook his head. What the hell? Who was that guy? He stood up and looked around before his eyes widened as he saw a grassy field with lots of flowers, totems, and rivers. He also saw a bunch of gold rings. Where in the hell am I? Naruto shouted in the heavens. Unknowingly, he was on an unknown island in the middle of the ocean. His voice echoed out across the entire island as many animals went into hiding. Naruto continued to look around. Why does this place look so familiar? That's when he saw the brown checkered ground, which made his eyes widen. This place. Memories of the day he met the 3 hedgehogs flashed in his mind. It was the moment when Sonic changed the scene of his mind that brought familiarity to this place. This is Green Hill, from Sonic's world, Naruto exclaimed, before he gasped. Wait, am I in Sonic's world? He shook his head. No, that's impossible. The rings and Chaos Emeralds are from Sonic's world, but they're in my world now, meaning that it's gone. Naruto looks around. So what's going on? He begins to walk around, exploring the place. Wow, Naruto said as he touched a flower, smiling. No wonder Sonic chose this place in my mind. It's beautiful here. Still, I can't believe Green Hill is real. And it's here in my world. Wait till the others hear about this, especially Blaze. He stops as his eyes widen. Blaze. Now that's he somewhere unknown and away from the others, he can use this chance to try and find her. Or at least a clue that can point him in the right direction. He reached into his pocket to take out his star charm, only to blink. Naruto pat his pocket again to make sure his mind wasn't playing any tricks on him. What? He touched all around his pockets and he couldn't feel his star charm anywhere. No, it's gone. What happened to it? Naruto looks around the grass to see if it dropped out of his pocket, only to see that it wasn't nowhere. His eyes widen as the image of the masked boy came into his head. Shit. The 4th Hokage's legacy cursed through grit teeth. That guy in the mask. When he blasted me in the sky, it must have fallen out. He sighed in annoyance. Damn it. I hope Kakashi-sensei and the others got it. His eyes widened. Oh shoot. I gotta think of a way back home. Sensei and the others might be worried sick about me. His eyes widened further. Oh, I almost forgot. The Chaos Emeralds. Naruto closed his eyes to try and summon them but he couldn't. He couldn't feel their power. They're gone. No way. He remembered when the 3 emeralds came out and formed a portal behind him after he was blasted away. Did they disappear after the portal was formed? If that's true then that could only mean that the Chaos Emeralds was the one who brought him here and not the masked boy. So then, why did they send me here? Naruto asked. Before he could think this further, he heard noises not too far from his location. He quickly runs there really fast and his eyes widened when he saw a man and his machines trying to capture little animals. But these animals were different. While it was true they are animals, they just look more. Naruto didn't know how to describe it. They just look different than the ones he saw. Naruto turns to the man with the rotund egg-shaped body. He wore red pants and leggings which fade to black. He also wore yellow shoes that has black stripes on it, white gloves, a bald head, pince-nez visors with blue lenses, a bright pink nose, and a very bushy gray mustache. He also wears a black shirt, the sleeves being yellow, with an oversized yellow collar, and white buttons on his pants. He was sitting in a floating mobile machine. Naruto's eyes widened, with an expression of disbelief. Dr. Eggman. He spoke in a sync voice of Sonic, Shadow and Silver. He blinks in confusion before placing a hand on his chest. Why did he know that man's name? He never met the guy. And why did he hear the hedgehog's voices when he spoke the name? But, he looks like Dr. Eggman, except he looks older. Naruto doesn't even know who the hell this Dr. Eggman guy is. Yet somehow, he does. Get back here, you little critters. Dr. Eggman laughed as he chased after them. All I want is to put you inside my badniks and make them powerful. That just made the animals cry out as they ran faster, though some of them were captured by his robots. Not on my watch, Naruto said, ignoring his previous thoughts for now, as he did a spin dash and charged at the robots. Yes, good, my little badniks. Gather them. Dr. Eggman exclaimed in excitement before he heard something. He turns to it and his eyes widened as he saw a yellow blur come past him, spinning his mobile in place as he screamed, not hearing the destruction of his precious robots. Once he stopped, eggs were floating around him. He shook his head and a shocked expression appeared on his face. What? His robots were destroyed as pieces were all over the place. My badniks. Who would dare destroy my precious badniks? That would be me. Eggman turned around and his eyes widened as a child was there, arms crossed, a glare on his face and the animals hiding behind him. What? Who are you? My name is Naruto Uzumaki, the world's ultimate ninja and future Hokage. Naruto introduced himself. Now what do you think you're doing, Egghead? Eggman raised an eyebrow at the ninja part, but a tick mark formed on his head at the nickname. Egghead, how dare you? He stood up and bowed mockingly. My name is Nega. Dr. Eggman Nega, the greatest scientific genius in the world. If you please. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Eggman Nega. At least he got the name right, but that still leaves on how he knows it when he haven't met him, and for some reason he feels like groaning at his self-proclaimed title. Plus his name was mouthful. Sure, whatever you say, Egghead. Now what are you doing to these animals? Why I need these animals to power up my badniks. Nega then glared at him. But because of your interference and destroying my badniks, I lost them. Yeah, well, good thing I did show up. Naruto said, glaring at him. Is that why you're here? Just to kidnap the animals and put them inside your robots? Oh no, my boy. Well, that's just a bonus. Nega said as Naruto narrowed his eyes. You see, I came to South Island to find and gather the legendary miracle gems, the Chaos Emeralds. Naruto's eyes widened. He knows about the Chaos Emeralds. And they're all on this island. But that's impossible. Nobody in this world knows about them yet. They didn't even show up that long. There's no way. There's no way that's possible. Him knowing Eggman's name, that strange feeling his chest, Eggman Nega himself knowing about the Chaos Emeralds. Could Nega actually be? Ah, it would seem you know about the emeralds. Nega said as he noticed Naruto's silence. Yeah, and what if I do? Naruto crossed his arms. So you do know about them. Nega smirked. That's good. Good for me that is. Now tell me, where exactly can I find them on this island? Naruto blinks as he stares at Dr. Nega. I don't know. What? Dude, I got separated from my team and was teleported here against my will just now. Like I don't even know where the hell this island is. Naruto deadpanned. Nega was silent before he coughed. Well, that doesn't matter. He grinned. Because once I discover the emeralds location, I will use their powers to take over the world, or better yet, I'll destroy it. Like hell I'll let that happen. Naruto shouted as he threw several shurikens at Nega, but his mobile had a shield around it and it deflected the shurikens. Ho 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 ho. Nega laughed. Sorry ninja boy, but you don't have a choice in the matter. He then flies away. I'll make sure to destroy your village first. Naruto growled as Eggman Nega disappeared. So he's gonna use the emeralds to destroy this world, huh? Nega definitely don't know who he's messing with. He grins confidently. Stopping an evil man from taking over or destroying the world. This sounds like a good excuse to have some adventure and save the world at the same time. Hey, okay Eggy, let's go. Music. Green Hill Zone, Sonic the Hedgehog. Naruto runs down a straightforward path, crossing a bridge as he gathered some of the rings that were floating around. He stopped as he saw a fish badnik jump out of the water and tried to get a bite out of him. Hey, Naruto used his homing attack and destroyed it, along with the second one that jumped out, releasing the animals that were trapped inside. Okay, if I see any badniks, destroy them. Naruto told himself as he continued on his way. Naruto made it to a hilltop before he used his spin dash to make it to the top, collecting some rings in THR process. Man, this place is beautiful, despite the fact that these robots are here. Naruto commented before he punched a flying badnik, destroying it. He grinned as he saw a loop, making him smirk. Booyah! He went through the loop, making him cheer. The others are gonna be so very jealous when they hear about this. Naruto laughed. He looks ahead, seeing the robots were now coming at him. He grins as he used his quickly runs past them in an instant. The next, they exploded. Now I need to find out where to find the Chaos Emeralds on this island. Naruto said as he ran forward, grabbing a few rings. He used Saw Spring and he jumped on it as it launched him up on a moving platform. He looks down seeing that there was a pit full of spikes, making him wince. Do not wanna go down there. Naruto said as he used his telekinesis to move faster before he got off the platform and took off running. Now back to what I was talking about. The emeralds could be anywhere. What the? Naruto stopped talking as he saw a floating giant ring right next to a signpost, with a picture of Eggman Nega on it. Okay, that's weird. The giant ring is weird and the signpost is ugly. I'll fix that, he said as he ran past the sign, making it spin in place. It stopped as Naruto's image appeared on it. There we go. Naruto turns to the ring. Now, what's up with this giant ring? I wonder. He jumps to it and the moment he did, the ring transported him. Music. Special stage, Sonic the Hedgehog. Whoa, Naruto screamed as he was floating in an unknown place. He looks up at the sky as it keeps changing shapes. He looks around and saw he was inside a crystal maze, and it keeps spinning around. What the heck is this place? Naruto asked as he looked around. He gasped as he sensed a Chaos Emerald nearby. A Chaos Emerald is in here. I get it. The Chaos Emeralds must be inside this secret zone and Nega doesn't know about it. Naruto grins as he used his spin jump to make his way through the rotating crystal maze. He navigated through the maze. He was surprised to find rings inside there, so he made a grab for them while also following the signal to the emerald. Naruto found the emerald but it was hidden behind some colored blocks. So he used his homing attack to destroy the blocks and grab the emerald. Yes, Naruto cheered as he held a blue Chaos Emerald in his hand. He looks around him before he gasped as the maze spun faster and a bright light appeared making him cover his eyes. Music ends. Naruto opened his eyes and saw he was back in Green Hill Zone. He looks down at his hand and saw the Chaos Emerald. Okay, now I know that the emeralds are in that secret zone. All I gotta do is just find those giant rings and they'll take me there. Naruto said as the emerald disappeared within him. Naruto heard something and he looks ahead to find Eggman Nega ahead of him. Nega, he shouted as he gave chase. Nega turned around and he had shocked expression on his face. How did you get here quickly? I'm just too fast for ya doc. Naruto exclaimed as he jumped up and attacked him from behind. Ow, hey, Nega yelled. Alright boy, if it's a fight you want then it's a fight you'll get. Music. Boss Sonic the Hedgehog. A giant brown checkered ball came out of the bottom of the mobile. Nega then swung the giant ball around, hoping to smash Naruto with it, but he managed to dodge. Naruto jumps on a platform and jumps off of it as his hands was covered in sparks. Chaos Spear. He launched a barrage of yellow spears at Nega's mobile as it shook from the damage. Nega spun his mobile really fast as he charged at Naruto. Whoa, Naruto quickly dodged out of the way as the ball destroyed the platform he was standing on. He watched as the mobile did a flip and the ball was coming at him, wanting to smash him. The ultimate ninja dodged again as he jumped on the ball and used his homing attack to hit the mobile multiple times. That does it. Nega pushed a button and a second ball came out. He then charged at Naruto, so he can smash him with both balls. Naruto grinned cockily as he easily used his reflex and acrobatic skills to easily dodge them. He jumps on one of the balls and began to mock Nega by making goofy faces at him, making a vein pop out of the mad scientist's head. Little brat. Nega's eyes widened as Naruto easily caught a ball in his hand before he pulled it out of the mobile. What? Hey, catch egg face. Naruto threw the ball at the mobile, causing it to be badly damaged. Because of that, many explosions were seen as the mobile got badly damaged and the second ball got destroyed. This isn't over yet boy. Eggman Nega swore as he flew away. Music. Green Hill Zone, Sonic the Hedgehog. Believe me, this is far from over. Naruto said seriously as Nega vanished from sight. He looks ahead and saw large capsule. The hell is a capsule doing here? Naruto asked. He runs to it and examined. He looks up at the switch on top of it as he jumps on it. The capsule exploded and the animals came out of it. So that's it. Naruto realized. This capsule was used as a containment for those little animals. That way, Nega would take the animals and put them inside his robots. Now I know what else to find on this island. He looks up and another giant ring appeared. Time for the next emerald. Naruto jumps inside the ring as it vanished. Music. Marble Zone, Sonic the Hedgehog. Naruto jumped out of the giant ring as it vanished. 2 down, 5 to go. He then runs ahead a path as he looks around at the scenery, seeing some ancient marble buildings. What's up with this? Oh shit. Naruto quickly jumped to a platform to avoid getting melted alive by the lava. Damn, I did not. Oh come on. The platform he was on began to burn itself as it was floating in the lava. But because of his weight, the lava began to burn the grass. Shit. Naruto jumped on more platforms till he made it out the lava river as he landed on the ground. Phew, that was close. He looks down at the lava. I gotta be more careful. Who knows if more lava are around. He turns around and runs off. Music end. Hidden Leaf Village. What? A shocked Hiruzen asked. Naruto is gone. Iruka exclaimed. Squad 7 has returned from their mission and Kakashi gave the report. Hiruzen was disappointed in himself for not realizing about that and was slightly disappointed at the squad that didn't return immediately. But then again, Naruto was the one who convinced them to keep going because Tazuna needed help and he wasn't going to just abandon those who need it, which made Hiruzen inwardly smile proudly. That boy has such a heart of gold. However, Hiruzen noticed their missing teammate and he asked them where Naruto was. Iruka thought out loud that Naruto was probably at the ramen stand, but the mood suddenly dropped as he and the Hokage saw the expressions on Sasuke and Sakura's face while Kakashi had a deep frown on his face. Kakashi told Sasuke and Sakura to head home and he explained to them what happened to Naruto as they were on their way here. Yes. Kakashi nodded. I don't know how it happened but one second he was there but the next he wasn't. He reached into his pocket and took out the gold ring and star charm. He sat them in front of the Hokage. This was all that was left. The Hokage looked at the gold ring with a slightly confused expression before he looked to the star charm, making his eyes saddened as he remembered a younger Naruto rushing into his office and introducing his new best friend. Iruka looked at the items as well and he had a confused expression. Where did Naruto find that gold ring? And that star charm? Why does it look? That's right. It's that charm that Naruto had brought with during those days at the academy. He remembered how Naruto had stopped pulling pranks for some reason and would simply stare at that charm, a dead look in his eyes, during the whole class, not paying attention to any lessons that were given. And when someone tried to take it from him, be it an adult or child, civilian or shinobi, he would violently attack them, leading some to go to the hospital. Hell, even Iruka tried it to take it at some point and Naruto viciously attacked him in front of the whole class. Naruto even tried to stab him in the eye with his own kunai before he got held back by a nearby instructor. Only to prove bad when Naruto almost broke the man's arm off. But before Naruto could do that, he saw the charm on the floor and let him go to get it. He walked back to his desk as though nothing happened, shocking them and the whole class. Iruka still remembers them. Those cold, lifeless eyes of Naruto's. Those were the eyes of someone who had lost someone very important to them and was angry at the whole world. Whenever Naruto was like that, it literally took several Chunin, along with little Jonin, to come and calm him down before the Hokage came in, but it just kept getting worse as Naruto was moving all over the place, taking them down. And this kid was still in the academy. But then again, like before in the classroom, there were times that after Naruto is finished attacking whoever took the star charm, he would pick it up and walk away, glaring angrily at anyone who would dare try to take it. Iruka shivered from those memories as he remembered the rumors going around saying that when Naruto attacks those that touched his star charm, he had red eyes with a slit pupil. They even said he had faint red chakra flowing out of him. Iruka won't lie, but he himself saw those eyes as well, he just didn't want to admit it. Lord Hokage, I have a question. Kakashi spoke up. And this might be bizarre. Yes, what is it? Hiruzen asked, curious about this bizarre question. Well, is there someone who has the ability to stop time? Kakashi asked. Hiruzen and Iruka blinked at the question. Your pardon? Hiruzen asked. I can't explain it, but before Naruto vanished, we had felt this strange sudden feeling. Like the air around us just shifted. When the feeling vanished, we saw Naruto was gone in an instant. Kakashi told him. I saw Naruto's things drop from the sky and picked them up before looking up. I saw a blue portal in the sky before it vanished. Sasuke and Sakura can vouch for me as they saw it too. I think that's what happened to Naruto. Hiruzen was confused now. A blue portal appearing in the sky. He then had a look of understanding. And you think that whoever made that portal in the sky to make Naruto disappear had the ability to stop time to do so? It's all I could think of. Kakashi admitted. Hiruzen hummed. A shinobi with the ability to stop time. That's just impossible. There was no shinobi in recorded history with the ability to stop time itself. But Kakashi was right. It was the only logical explanation. Plus, as years go, the shinobi world is changing after all, with young shinobi with new amazing gifts that's never been seen before or popping up. So it's possible. Lord Third, please allow me and a squad to go out and search for Naruto. Iruka pleaded. As much as it pains me to say this, Hiruzen started. I'm afraid I must decline. But Lord Third. Think about it for a second, Iruka. Kakashi spoke up. We are dealing with an unknown shinobi, who probably has the ability to stop time itself. This same shinobi is also the one who transported Naruto somewhere far away. Kakashi's right. Hiruzen nodded. Naruto could be anywhere around the world. For all we know, he could be in another village or another country, maybe some even place else that we have no knowledge of. In the spring yard zone, Naruto was in his spin ball as he was forcibly being bounced back and forth between the bumpers. Achoo. Naruto suddenly sneezed as he got of his spin ball but was still being bounced. This is ridiculous. Oof. We also have no clue of his whereabouts or whoever it was that took him. Lord Third. Iruka said, eyes widened. Are you saying that we should just? No, absolutely not. The third exclaimed in anger, making Iruka flinch slightly. He sighed. I'm saying, we just have to hope that Naruto finds his way back home to the village. Or, Kakashi said as he stared at the star charm. Wherever Naruto ended up, he might be using this chance to try and find his childhood friend. Hiruzen's eyes widened while Iruka had a confused expression. What are you talking? Iruka's eyes widened as memories came flooding in his head. He briefly recalled seeing Naruto playing with someone, a girl, a long time ago. She would even be in front of the academy when the day was over and the two would leave together. I see, Hiruzen said sadly, a knowing expression on his face. So he told you about her? Yes, Kakashi nodded, looking down. Naruto really miss her. Of course he does. Hiruzen smiled softly as he picked up the purple star. After all, she was the first person to accept Naruto for who he is, and the two of them formed an incredible that I haven't seen in years. So then, that girl from before really was Naruto's? Iruka asked. It actually did make sense, now that he thought about it. Naruto looked very excited to leave whenever the school day ended. He always assumed he was off pulling more of those pranks, but now to think that Naruto actually made a friend, and it was that girl from before, filled Iruka up with joy. His eyes widened in realization. Wait a second, if that girl from before was Naruto's friend then that means, Iruka looked at the star charm. That star charm. Yes, that was a gift Naruto got from his friend. Kakashi said. On his birthday to be exact. Hiruzen added. Before she vanished 2 days later. That made Iruka silently gasped in surprise. I see, he said softly, understanding shone in his eyes, as he turns to Hiruzen. Then Naruto's violent behavior from back then. That's right. The god of shinobi sighs and tilts his hat down. To be honest with you both, because of that violent behavior, Naruto was this close to releasing the 9 tails. Iruka gasped while Kakashi narrowed his eye. I know this because I and a few others saw it firsthand when he unleashed its power on our shinobi when they tried to stop him. An image of a feral Naruto covered in red chakra appeared in Hiruzen's mind. He picks up the star charm, showing it to the other two, or more specifically showing it to Iruka. It's thanks to this star charm that we managed to calm Naruto down and cease the 9 tails' influence on him. But because of the villagers and some of the children taking it in front of him or even talking about her, it kept getting worse. And I'm one of them. Iruka thought sadly as he looked down. If I recall Lord Third, didn't you went out somewhere with Naruto when it started to get worse? Kakashi asked curiously. Yes, me and Naruto had a little heart-to-heart. Hiruzen smiled. After that, he returned to being the happy ball of sunshine that we know and love, determined to finding his friend when he becomes a ninja and reach his dream. Iruka looked back at the item. So that's why Naruto was so protective of that star charm and became the way he was. It was a gift from his precious friend. On his birthday no less. It also explained that dead look in his eyes from back then and why he was so quiet, which wasn't Naruto-like at all. His best friend had vanished. Because of it, Naruto must have been deeply hurt and saddened by it and tried to leave the village to go find her, only to be brought back. He couldn't even imagine what Naruto had gone through. The first friend he ever made, the bond he formed with her, just vanishing all of a sudden. No wonder Naruto was like that and became violent to everybody, him included. And now he's out there in the unknown and is no doubt looking for her. Iruka looks up at the sky from the window. Please be safe, Naruto. South Island. Labyrinth Zone. Music. Labyrinth Zone, Sonic the Hedgehog. Naruto held his breath as he continued to run underwater. Out of all the zones I've been through, this is probably the hardest one. He thought with a half-lidded expression. He saw a fish robot charging at him before he used his spin attack to destroy it. He'll admit though the last 2 zones he went to were interesting, especially the spring yard zone, though that zone was really annoying. The marble zone was extremely hot, probably because of the amount of lava that was there. Plus he had to underground at one point and he used his chakra to stick to the ceiling because of the lava river that was there. But he managed to get out underground and found a giant ring along with the same signpost like in Green Hill Zone. So he changed the signpost and entered the giant ring. He got the third Chaos Emerald after that and he managed to find Eggman Nega. And he had a robot that he uses to spit fire at him. But hey, it was easy and he managed to destroy it. Nega escaped again and he another one of those capsules there. He destroyed it releasing the animals and jumped to the giant ring. With the fourth emerald in hand, Naruto found himself in the spring yard zone. The zone was fun to be in, it was just annoying because of those bumper thingies that were all over the place. But hey, he managed to make through in the end and did the same thing he did in the last two zones. Change the signpost, enter the giant ring and got the fifth emerald. Then he fought Nega, destroyed the capsule, and exited the zone. And that's how he found himself in the most difficult zone. The labyrinth zone. Naruto thought it would be easy just like the rest of the zones. But he was wrong. He was so very wrong. He found himself trapped inside this maze-like zone and it was starting to annoy him. He found a signpost but there was no giant ring, so he continued onwards. Naruto's face beginning to turn purple and his eyes turned comically. Air, I need air. He looks and saw a large bubble. He quickly runs to it and gulped it in his mouth. Phew, that was close. The ultimate ninja looked up and his eyes widened when he saw the surface. Thank you God. He jumps on the platforms above his head, destroying the robots. Naruto jumps out the water and lands on a platform, soaked to the bone. He spun around really fast before he stopped. He was dry now but his hair was an afro. I hate this zone. Naruto said blankly. I really do. He shook his head as his hair returned to normal. He heard noises above him, making him look up. Nega. He jumps all the way up and attacked Nega's egg mobile, as he called it. He landed a direct hit from below causing it to shake. What? Nega looked down in shock as he saw Naruto using his telekinesis to float, watching him as he went higher. No, not you again. Yes, me again. Naruto grinned as he used his homing attack to attack Nega again, making the egg mobile shake again. Knock it off, Nega exclaimed. Oof. His egg mobile got hit again. Can't you see I'm trying to escape? Escape what? This butt kicking. Naruto grinned as he attacked again. No escape that. Nega pointed below them, making Naruto look down as his eyes widened comically. The whole passage was flooding below them. And it was flooding really fast. Holy crap, Naruto exclaimed. He could clearly see that was no air bubbles, meaning that if he were to fall in, then it's game over for him. Naruto looked up at Nega and was about to attack him again but stopped when he had to avoid a spike coming from one of the platforms in the way. Another reason why he hates this zone, traps. All these goddamn traps everywhere. First, this zone was a maze, then there were traps and now the place is about to be flooded. This zone was a pain in the ass. Ho 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 ho, Nega yelled as he disappeared from sight. Hey, Naruto quickly gave chase, making sure he avoided the spears and fire-spitting statues while making sure to stay away from the water. Naruto was almost close to Nega and he attacked him once more, making his egg mobile explode as he screamed while Naruto landed on the platform. No, you'll pay for this, Nega yelled as he escaped the passageway, with Naruto following after him. Naruto was staring up at Nega before rockets came out of his egg mobile, making his eyes widen, and Nega blasted away past a capsule. The man's machine sure moves fast. Naruto commented before he smirked. But I move faster. He jumps on the capsule, destroying it and releasing the animals before he jumped off it and dashed to the next zone. And hopefully more of those giant rings. Music ends. Meanwhile. Sol Kingdom. You look beautiful as always, Princess Blaze. A maid said as she walked right next to her. Blaze sighed and looked down at her attire. She wore a purple ball gown with a petal overskirt, a ruffled white petticoat, and long triangular sleeves. Of course, she said. Blaze and the young maid were walking to the throne room, the maid with a smile and Blaze with an indifferent expression. It was time to see what her father want. She usually likes to be alone but she thought having company would be nice for a change. I do wonder what the king would want though. The maid continued, looking up curiously. It isn't like him to call you. And he looked really happy too. Blaze sighed but felt her lips twitch upward slightly. This maid is just too cheery. A serious frown came afterwards. She was right. Why did her father seem happy to be calling her? A little too happy to say the least. It's most likely a marriage proposal. Since she's at that age, it would be time for her to find a suitable partner for her. It's been that way for a long time. But she knew that those suitors would only want to marry her because they wanted to have them. The Sol Emeralds. The greatest treasure of her kingdom. Them along with the jeweled scepter. Each Sol Emerald possesses unlimited amounts of great power and are sought out by heroes and villains alike. It is said that the Sol Emeralds have the ability to transform one's thoughts into power, but is unknown to what extent, which is why many want them. However, that was many years ago. During times of war, before the shinobi world was even born, the Sol Kingdom has been cut off from the rest of the world. It doesn't even exist on the map. After all, during those times many people wanted to have power to win those wars or have it for their own selfish gain. So they sought out the Sol Emeralds. But it never came to that. The reason? It's because for many centuries the Sol Emeralds always had a guardian to protect them. And those guardians, they were of royal blood to the kingdom. As the centuries passed, a guardian has fallen, either by dying to protect the Sol Emeralds from outsiders or by old age. But that wasn't the end. As the royal lineage continued on for centuries, so has a new guardian, and they continued to protect the emeralds to this day. And who was the current guardian? It was Princess Blaze herself. As per custom, the princess of the kingdom has held duty of guarding the Sol Emeralds, meaning that Blaze's mother, her grandmother, and those former guardians of the past were princesses when they guarded the Sol Emeralds before their time came. After her grandmother passed before she was born, her mother was an appointed guardian, and she took the role very seriously, as well as her role as queen. Just like her. But sadly, her time has passed a long time ago, and her father, the king, took it upon himself to guard the Sol Emeralds. However, due to him using a very special power of his, one that Blaze has not inherited due to her connection with the Sol Emeralds, he aged faster than normally. This gift also helped him create a barrier around the kingdom, so that way no outsider can know of their existence. However, the barrier is starting to weaken each day. After all, the outside world is ruled by shinobi, assassins who move in the shadows and use an energy known as chakra to do amazing techniques. If those shinobi find out about their kingdom and the Sol Emeralds, then war would break out throughout the nation. And he didn't want that to happen. And despite Blaze being the appointed guardian, he never wanted his daughter to suffer such a burden, especially after her mother died. So he will protect the Sol Emeralds. Until his last breath. We're here, Your Highness. The maid interrupting Blaze's thoughts. The two were in front of a door which led to the throne room. Blaze turns to the maid. Thank you for escorting me here, she said. Of course, Your Highness. The maid bowed before she turned and left. Blaze rolled her eyes in annoyance before she turned to the door and entered. She looks up at the throne. There in front of her, sat her father, the king. He has gray hair with tints of purple in there, along with a beard. He wears a white suit with thin, black stripes, and a red cape, and white shoes. He wore a crown, and by his side was Crane. He smiled softly as he saw his daughter. Blaze. Hello, father. Blaze smiled softly as she bowed to him. Is there a reason why you have called for me? Yes. The king nodded as he stood up, grabbing his cane. He walks down as Blaze had a worried frown. Walk with me, child. He walks past her as she turns around and walked right next to him. As you already know, you are the current guardian of the Sol Emeralds. 7 gems with unlimited powers beyond the which we have ever seen. Yes, I know of this. Blaze nodded. But right now, I decided to ignore the customs of the kingdom and to protect the emeralds. And once I pass, then the barrier I placed around the kingdom will disappear, letting the shinobi world know of our existence. The king continued. I have been thinking about this long and hard, and I believe it's time for us to become allies to these shinobi. Father, Blaze asked in a surprised tone. However, as of now there are shinobi villages and countries out there with a corrupted leader, and I worry that we might make friends with the wrong people. The king said sadly, before he smiled at his daughter. That is until now I remembered. Blaze blinked. The king reached into his pocket and took out a picture, which made Blaze gasp. It was a picture of her and Naruto together. A long time ago, when you ran away after your mother passed, you somehow ended up in a shinobi village. You told me this was called, the village hidden in the leaf, correct? Why? Yes, father. Again, I must apologize for my behavior back then. Blaze said as she looked down, but the king shook his head. Don't be, my dear. In fact, I'm really happy. The king said as he looked at the picture. You made a friend in that village. One whom you formed a bond with and can trust. I believe you told me that he was the first person to accept you as you are despite your gift, yes? Yes, that's right. Blaze smiled softly as she remembered that day. At first, he thought it was a jutsu, a technique that the ninja of his village uses, that I was doing, but when I explained to him it wasn't. A younger Naruto had an awe expression with his eyes replaced as stars. She silently giggled. He looked like a child that's been giving a birthday present and was amazed by it. As he should. The king chuckled. After all, you did inherited your gift from your mother. Now I believe you met the Kage of that village, yes? Blaze nodded as she remembered meeting the third Hokage. He's a kind old man who cares a lot about the people of his village and does whatever he can to help them, especially Naruto. It shows how much he loves them all and how far he's willing to protect them. The king smiled and nodded. Yes, those are the signs of true ruler. Kindness, compassion, and protective of their homes and people. The third Hokage of the Leaf Village is a trustworthy ally, which is why I want you to return there. Blaze almost tripped in her step as she looks at her father in shock. I beg your pardon, father. You heard me, dear. The king laughed softly. From one of our travelers in the outside world, I heard that these Chunin exams were coming up. The Chunin exams, from what I understand, is an exam where genin, who are young ninja your age, are given the chance to show their strength to see if they are worthy to move to the Chunin rank. But it's not just strength alone. They must also have knowledge and skills. Blaze had a look of understanding of that. Of course it would make sense for the exams to be based around that. Being a genin and becoming a Chunin is like you're graduating. However, in order to see if you are worthy of being a Chunin, they must test you and see for themselves if you have what it takes. Not only that, but he also told me that the exams would be held at the Hidden Leaf Village this year and a lot of other ninja from various villages will be there. The king continued. I would like for you to go there to represent our kingdom, even though we aren't part of the shinobi nations. What? Blaze asked wide-eyed. But father, what about you? You are the king, surely you can go. The king stroked his beard. You are correct about that. However, I must stay here in the kingdom and watch over the Sol Emeralds. Besides, he looks to his daughter and winked to her. This could be your chance to meet your friend. Blaze softly gasped at that. That's right. With this chance, she'll be able to meet Naruto again. She already started to wonder what he might be like after all these years. Knowing him, he's probably still pulling pranks on everybody and eating those ramen. She giggled softly as her cheeks turned red. The king looked at his daughter, when he heard her giggle, and smiled when he saw her cheeks turn to red. So he was right after all. This Naruto might be a special friend to his daughter. When shall I leave, father? Blaze asked. You can leave right now if you want. The exams won't begin until the first day of July. The king replied. Blaze nodded before she noticed that they were in the castle garden. Wow, they were so wrapped up in the conversation they didn't know where they walking to. Oh my, it seems we talked a lot. The king said as he noticed the garden. He then turns to her smiling happily. Well then, hurry along, my daughter. We wouldn't want to keep your friend waiting, do we? Blaze was silent before she went and hugged her father, making him smile softly as he returned it. Thank you, daddy, she whispered. I love you. I love you too, my dear. The king said as Blaze took off, the king watching as she does. He looks down at the picture, staring at the young happy boy with a smile. Naruto Uzumaki. To think a descendant of the Uzumaki clan still lives. He closed his eyes as an image of a younger him meeting a man, with red hair, appeared in his head. Thank you very much for befriending my daughter. It's no wonder the Sol Emeralds brought you two together. South Island. Scrape Brain Zone. Sheesh. This place is crazy, Naruto exclaimed as he dodged an incoming giant saw. The Scrap Brain Zone. Now this was the most challenging zone ever, due to its many traps and a large amount of robots. Naruto quickly deduced that this was Nega's base. There were also factories all over the place, meaning that's where the robots were being made. Once he defeats Nega, then he'll blow this place up. The last zone he went to, the Starlight Zone, that was probably the most coolest zone he ever been to. All the tracks also made him go faster and faster. It was also easier to collect rings and destroy robots when he runs past them. But he did end up hitting a wall and fell on top of those exploding robots and lost some rings in process. But hey, it was still fun. He also managed to find a giant ring that were in the zone and went through them. Now he's got 6 of the 7 emeralds. Another giant ring hadn't appeared since then. So then where the hell is the 7th emerald? Naruto asked himself as he jumped to avoid a flamethrower before he destroyed more robots. I know I managed to get 6 through the secret zone. But the labyrinth zone didn't have any giant rings. Stupid maze. Naruto grabbed a few rings and slid down to avoid a giant saw. Does Nega have it? No. If he did, I would have sensed, especially when I fought him in Starlight Zone. He looks up and saw an entrance to a base. Time for the final showdown, Nega. He grinned as he spin-dashed inside, avoiding the traps. He stopped when he saw Nega standing in front of him, on the other side of the doorway, a grin on his face and a switch in front of him. Welcome to my humble abode, Naruto. Nega said. How do you like it? I'm no contractor, but this place doesn't look up to code, Doc. Naruto then smirked. But don't worry, once I beat you and blow it up, then everything will be nice and peachy. He then spin-dashed at Nega, but then a green energy wall appeared between the two, knocking him back. Okay. Didn't see that coming. Naruto groaned. Sorry, my boy, Nega said. But lately you've been a real pain in my egg. Because of you, I wasn't able to locate one Chaos Emerald on this island, and it is due to your interference. Naruto frowned. Looks like he was right. Nega doesn't have the last emerald. But no worries. Once I'm through with you, I'll be able to locate the emeralds. Nega continued as he grinned. So until then, have a nice fall. Nega jumped on the switch in front and the floor beneath Naruto's feet collapsed. Oh, Crap. Naruto screamed as he fell into the darkness. Naruto had a half-lidded expression on his face as he laid down on the floor. Fall. Pun. Funny. He got up and shook his head. He walks ahead and he an annoyed expression. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. He was in the labyrinth zone again. Except this place was gray. And it looked really difficult than the last one. Alright. Naruto cracked his neck and grinned. Let's get this over with. He dashed forward as he got through the weird labyrinth. He destroyed a bunch of robots that were down there, releasing the animals that were trapped. He even avoided some spikes that were in his way. He stopped however as his eyes widened comically. The water is purple. Water shouldn't be purple. He looks across it and saw the path to move forward. He looks down at the purple water. He sniffs it but then turns sickly green. It even smells purple. The ultimate ninja stated. And I don't even know what purple smells like. A cyan aura appeared around Naruto as he flew across the purple water before he landed on the path and ran forward. As he did, he destroyed some more robots and was getting ready to get out of the pathway when the purple water started to rise faster. Naruto had no choice but to cover his breath as he was in the water. But he used his spin dash to get out of the pathway and out the water. He spat the water on the ground and shook his body. Step 1. Kick Eggman's ass. Step 2. Find a way off this island. And step 3. Take a nice long shower. The stink will come off. He said as he looked up and saw a hole in the ceiling. A smirk appeared on his face as he used his spin dash to get out underground and back up to Nega's base. Music. Final zone, Sonic the Hedgehog. Where are you, Nega? Naruto asked as he made it out the fake labyrinth zone and was in a laboratory. Once he made on the edge of the platform, a force field appeared right behind Naruto. He looks behind it, eyes narrowed before he turned back around and moved forward. He screeched to a halt however when he saw an engine piston come down from above him, making his eyes widen comically as his nose touched it. He quickly jumps back just as the piston went back up to the ceiling. What the hell was that? Naruto asked in shock. That was my engine piston. Nega's voice was heard. And now it's time I turn you into a ninja pancake. Naruto felt vibration, making him look down on the floor before his eyes widened when he saw it was slightly moving up. Whoa. He quickly jumped out of the way as two pistons came out at the same time. However, one of them had Nega inside it. He quickly used his spin dash and attacked the piston, but it quickly went back down. Hey. Naruto heard movement close to him. He looks down saw he was standing between two large circles. One was coming up and the other was coming down. He stood in a straight stiff posture as the pistons came down on Naruto and missed him. Having trouble, Naruto? Nega asked, from within one of the pistons. He laughed mockingly as the pistons returned. Get back out here and fight like a man. Naruto exclaimed as he stomped on the pistons. He heard noises coming from above him and he looked up in exasperation as he saw electric generators charging up. Of course. The generators sent 4 spark balls at Naruto as he quickly dodged them. Okay. Time for me to stop playing. He held his hand out as a Chaos Emerald appeared. He smirked as he heard the pistons getting ready to come out. Chaos. The pistons came out. Control. Music ends. Time had stopped. Naruto looked to one of the pistons and saw Nega inside, grinning evilly. Naruto grinned as he did multiple homing attacks on the piston. In a blur, he then launched a bunch of chaos spears at it before he stopped to charge it the last one up. He then threw the biggest spear at it making it become more damaged. Time was about to return normal, so Naruto quickly took a marker out and draw doodles on Nega's face as he chuckled evilly. Time soon returned to normal and the piston Nega was in, was getting completely destroyed as multiple dents appeared around and scorch marks were on it. Nega was screaming as his pistons were exploding. He quickly got out and jumped into his egg mobile. No way. I can't believe this. Nega exclaimed as he was making his escape. Believe it. Naruto exclaimed as his hand was charged with yellow chaos energy. Chaos spear. He launched the attack on the egg mobile, causing it to explode. No. Nega screamed in anger as he machine lost power. He looks at his reflection seeing the doodles on his face and he went red. I hate that ninja brat. He then fell into a bottomless pit. Naruto grinned down at the pit as he rubbed his finger across his nose, completely ignoring the destruction of the scrap brain zone. He turns around and runs out. Music. Credits Sonic the Hedgehog. Naruto races out of the destruction of the scrap brain zone before he found himself back into Starlight Zone. Then he managed to get back to the Labyrinth Zone and ram across the ocean. He returns to Spring Yard Zone in that moment and then came to Marble Zone. He soon found himself back in Green Hill Zone as all of the animals followed after him, the moment they saw him. Yes, Naruto cheered in excitement as he stopped in an open field. He then break danced as the animals cheered for him. Alright, I beat the bad guy. And I got my first adventure by myself. He turns to the animals. Pretty cool, huh guys? The animals cheered once more as they crowded around Naruto. He kneels to them as he began to pet them while some managed to get on his head and shoulders. Haha. Yup. This deserves one great. Naruto stopped as he realized something. His eyes widened further. Aw man. I still gotta find out where the last Chaos Emerald is. Wah. Naruto trailed off as he saw the 6 Chaos Emeralds appear before him in a circle. He immediately had a vision of Sonic standing in his place, looking up at the emeralds, before it vanished. He watched as the Chaos Emeralds floated to the air above Naruto. They began to spin around really fast and in a flash of white, they vanished. Naruto's eyes widened in shocked awe before he looks around and saw lots and lots of flowers around the zone. Whoa tilde. Naruto whistled as he looked around. This is beautiful. He looks up. I didn't know they can do that. He puts his hand under his chin. So what happens now? The Chaos Emeralds must be somewhere else by now. There was only 6 Chaos Emeralds on this island and the last one wasn't even here. On top of that, when all 6 came together, they disappeared. Which means he's gonna have to find them again. Another thing is, he's stuck on this island. Even using his telekinesis to fly home won't be it since he hasn't fully mastered it yet. So how can he? Naruto felt tugging on his pants. He looks down to one of the animals, a squirrel called Ricky, looking up at him and pointing in a direction. The Ricky let go and ran to the direction he was pointing at. He looks back at Naruto and made a noise before he ran off. Hey, wait up. Naruto quickly followed after the squirrel. After following the animal for a good minute, Naruto stops and stares in awe at what he saw. Cool, Naruto said as he went to examine the vehicle. It was an old vintage biplane with a red fuselage and 2 gray main wings attached with a pair of poles on both sides. The red fuselage has a power plant with a gray tractor screw, small orange forward-pointing arrows close to cockpit, and the word, Sonic, written in white on both sides with stretchy F-letter labels underlining them. The cockpit has only one seat. Its empennage has 2 small horizontal stabilizers and 1 vertical stabilizer, the latter emblazoned with an emblem of a bumper with wings. It also has 3 wheels, 2 under the lower main wing and 1 below the empennage. Naruto stopped his examination as he saw the word, Sonic, on it. Sonic. He puts his on the biplane but gasped as a vision of a younger Sonic jumping in the plane and flying it appeared in his head. This is Sonic's airplane. The tornado. What was the tornado even doing here? Sitting all alone like this. How come he never spotted it? Oh, maybe the animals were looking out for it. Yeah, that makes sense, I think, Naruto said. He looks up at the sky then back at the plane before a grin appeared on his face. He jumps into the pilot seat and his eyes widen as he saw a compass in front of him. And it was pointing west. Alright then, Naruto said as he put his hands on the wheel. West it is then. He began to start the plane up and he cheered when he heard the engine start. He looks at the squirrel and waved at him. Thanks a lot little guy. Stay safe. He began to drive before starting to take off. The Ricky waved goodbye to Naruto with a bright smile on his face before he ran off to join his friends.